Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TTS Warhammer 40k stream, where we're here for the Alpha League playoff quarterfinal match between DEATHGUARD and other DEATHGUARD. Um, I'm here with the Pants999 as my co-commentator. My name's Tusel, and yeah, pretty sure it's going to be a great match. Spicy, festering, disgusting. That's the Pants. As you can tell, he's a very cool individual. They've just rolled up the map, and tell us about it, if you would. Yeah, it's also interesting with the no loss shooting that they have, right? There's a lot of kind of open firing lines, but it's not that as relevant as it might be otherwise. Um, Although they do, I don't know if they just have the the big shooty no loss guns, or whether they're taking anything else that goes from range. I think they're just melee armies aside from that, right? Yeah, and it means you can push forward without worrying about it. And do you expect there to be any deep striking? Mm. I can actually spoiler that with relaying my experience playing against Seal in the playoff in the group stage, where he did use his Death Shroud to deep strike and rod, and sit there behind my Custodes army with me having no way to deal with them whatsoever. So, um, anyway, that said, let's move on to the armies, shall we? They're chatting and doing their thing. Why don't we first go with Seal's army and run through that? This is a siren. Excellent. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. First time. I do apologize. Um, let's get it done. Growing pains. There you go. That is the scoreboard for. There it is. It's up. It's running. We got the mission. Pants is already doing it. Yep. Now I just need to get you guys on the audio. Audio input. Output. Sorry. There we go. I am sorry. Pants said some hilarious and very insightful stuff for you guys. It was amazing. You really missed out. They didn't even hear that. Okay. This should be capturing my audio, my desktop audio, so I do not know why it is not. So sorry. Right, can you talk? Nope. For gosh sake. I'm so sorry, folks. Give us just a second, and I'll work it out. Just muting myself for the minute. Alright, guys, I'm muted.
Yeah, that should probably do it. Yep.
Howdy!
Mm-hmm.
Howdy, everybody. Tell us, chat, how are you hearing us now? Huzzah!
Yep.
Thank you for your patience, everybody. Not anyone else. Who are they hearing?
Say your name, say your name. No one is around you. Okay, so this is Toosle talking. Hello, Toosle testing, Toosle. Pants, now you talk and say things.
Hello, I'm Pants. This is a thing that I'm saying.
Okay. Like,
Splendid.
there you go.
Thanks,
So,
everybody.
Literally removing it and re-adding it. That is well done, Streamlabs. Fantastic.
So that is twice you fixed things by basically turning it off and on again.
That's absolutely insane. I'm so sorry, everyone. This is a bit of a shambles, but you know, could be worse. Could be Brexit. All right.
Why, thank you, Major Monotone. Very kind of you to say so.
If you're being complimented on the way you're talking by someone called Monotone, I'm okay. Anyway, we won't go there. Right. So let's get into this properly now. We do have lists. They were posted there, and Pants has just posted them again for you, which means that it's working without delay, which is fantastic. So you may have heard the patter at the beginning of the stream, which is, if you didn't, it was fantastic, it was amazing, it was riveting, it was fantastic. But we're going to move on and get to the list very quickly and run through it before the game starts. So very quickly, on the south side here we have Seal, and we can just talk about his list. Pants, if you wouldn't mind doing the honours.
It's very shooty. So, as far as DEATHGUARD goes, we've got triple Plague Burst Crawler for an awful lot of indirect fire goodness, and the staple of so many lists these days, a Contemptor with double Volkite, who'll naturally be backed up with the Tallyman to improve its shooting, who has the both the natural ability to awaken something for +1 to hit, but also has the Toll Keeper to give core units, like, you say, Contemptor Dreadnoughts, exploding 6s.
Which are pretty good with that volume of fire. And then there's also the my least favourite friend, the Foul Blightspawn, for the Fight Last. And some Death Shrouds, which look like they're starting up in Deep Strike for a bit of threat around the board.
How we love Foul Blightspawns.
They are so good. And then you've also got over here, I remember these well, a couple of Fetid Bloat Drones. Their quick movement speed and ability to really shred things in combat is something to not look forward to if you're on the opponent's side.
12 attacks at strength 7, AP 2, damage 2 is not something you really want to be on the receiving end, but that's going to be damage 1 against everything in this army. So there is...
Except Poxwalkers. Good at mowing that bit of flesh.
This is true. They're very good at dealing with Poxwalkers, but they're not as effective into DEATHGUARD, into the mirror match, as they are into everything else, which is something to bear in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side, we have Mini Moogs' list. It is a lot more in your face. Get forward and hit you. You've got an Outrider detachment for all those fast attacks, and that's actually going to be Fetid Bloat Drones and the Greater Bloat Drones as well, which I think he's already deployed over here.
Those Greater Blight Drones being the Forge World units that are very similar to the standard Codex Bloat Drones.
How they are greater, we are not.
They are.
They're
Well,
even faster! 14 inches.
They do have a 14-inch move, which is pretty potent for DEATHGUARD. That's, I think, the fastest thing short of a flyer that they have.
You do not want that thing floating at you at hyperspeed as well. Only 2 Plague Burst Crawlers, so less shooty. But then you've got a little patrol detachment which has 9 possessed, which are lining up over there. We'll see what he decides to do with them.
Yeah, it's an interesting pickup in the list. It's something that not a lot of DEATHGUARD players are running, this sort of possessed bomb, but it seems to have done quite well for him so far.
Yeah, absolutely it has. And one of the other fascinating things to pick up about the list is that there are some reinforcement points. He has not gone for the full army. So
yep, and with this many Nurgle demon engines, there's only one thing that he could be possibly bringing.
Yep, absolutely. Those of you who aren't aware, Pants, if you could run us through this little fella over here.
Yeah, so Minimux has got space in his list to summon Epidemius, one of the Nurgle demons who particularly likes mirror matches. What Epidemius does is he basically buffs demons when demons kill things, in particular when Nurgle demons kill things. And the great thing about DEATHGUARD lists is that most of the vehicles here, the Plague Burst Crawlers, the Blight drones, those are Nurgle demons, as well as being vehicles. So Epidemius is going to watch them kill a bunch of stuff and then start throwing out army-wide buffs, like improving their toughness. If you thought toughness 8 Plague Burst Crawlers were hard to kill, try toughness 9 ones. And then also improving the strength of the Blight drones to make them even deadlier in combat. So it's going to be very interesting because even Seal's kills are going to count up Epidemius's tally.
Well, his kills with the demon engines.
Yes, but there's plenty of those in
and
Seal's list as well.
And his demon prince.
Yeah, it's kind of taking one of the things that his opponent does and saying, well, do you want to do that, really?
Well, he just has to be careful not to finish units off with those Plague Burst Crawlers or those Fetid Bloat Drones. If he can damage them a lot and then kill them with something else, then he'll be basically denying Epidemius free buffs.
Which is one of those things that is generally pretty good, forcing your opponent to play around something they don't want to, and particularly if it's slightly unnatural, like with no loss artillery. Quite often you want that to be picking up the thing over here or there that you failed to kill with other things. And
this is true, absolutely, yeah.
On the head, doesn't it? All right, well let's go through the secondaries, shall we? Interestingly, they've gone similar but a little bit different. On Minimoogs' side, you've got engage on all fronts. Obviously, he's got the fast bloat drones that are going to be zipping about, and super speedy race car Forge World ones. So it makes sense. You can chuck one up into a table quarter. It's also good on this map because you start with the ability to get into 3 table quarters very easily. Assassination, which is interesting, into DEATHGUARD. Why do you think he's gone for that one?
Well, you think about it, there's maybe Bring Him Down might have been another option for him. Does have quite a few characters, and I guess he's planning on trying to snipe those. Actually, how many characters does he actually have?
Just 4, I think. So there's 13 points available, which isn't terrible.
It's not terrible. If he can get all of them, then he'll be in a good place. The question is how many plans on getting all of them.
I think it might be a combination of that, not having the most, the any good kill secondaries or any kind of other plans, coupled with I want to get in your face anyway, and if my game plan is going ahead, then I should be killing them. But it certainly can be an interesting one because it forces you forward, which he wants to do anyway. And then he's got data intercept, of course, the mission specific, get forward onto objectives, leave something doing the action, fairly reliable to get points. Although does I believe tie in quite often with the go first win rate on this map. Which can be interesting.
Yeah.
The combination of the primary game and data intercept is going to be a particularly interesting element of this match, with Minimoogs having the greater speed, but Seal having the vastly higher model count and significantly more obsec.
And also significantly more wounds on the table.
Yeah, that's true. That is a very, very fair point. And then on the other side, we've got Seal, who also taken the mission specific for the reasons we just outlined. Retrieve Octerius data, which is similar-ish to the engage on all fronts. More difficult to score engage with his slower list, but the rod means that the Terminators can come down and rod if necessary, and then they're likely to survive because they're so tanky, to then move on and do things. And then to the last, which is the 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, which the list is really designed for.
Hey Corkin, is it me who's noticeably quieter?
Hey Corkin, is it me, the second one, the one called Tusel?
Or is it option number 3?
It's the goat!
It's the goat. It's not Pants. It's Tusel. Fantastic. That is great.
I've told him so many times on his own stream that he's too quiet.
Oh, really? That is interesting. I don't... Okay. I think we're gonna have to do that. Let's see if that works. Is that any better? Please do. Speaking straight into the mic, ASMR. Hello. Please let me know if that's any better. I have a fancy standalone mic that requires me to lean forward and sit up like a real person, which is awful.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only sausage.
There is only. I really think the Emperor should like turn it off and reboot. But yeah, anyway. All right, so I'm going to keep talking, and if I'm still quiet, please do let me know, and I will continue fiddling on it in the sidelines. So the pants, why don't we go through a little bit of the deployment here? Thank you, Corkin, appreciate that. If we go through a little bit of the deployment here, then we can kind of maybe see what the plan is. If you look at Moogs' deployment, you've got the possessed right on the front line. He's no messing around here. You know exactly what they're going to do, which is come forward. And then looking over here, you've got the Death Guard bloat drones, greater bloat drones even, ready to take this corner, threaten that objective, get you the engage points nice and easily. Same one over here, should be fairly safe hiding behind the cover. And it's mainly about these small units and where they go all over the map. Similar kind of thing over here for Seal. It looks like you got the Poxwalkers ready to push up. Same thing, except you expect them to get shot, and the possessed you hope survive getting shot, I would imagine. And look at this. There's a bit of protection going on for this bloat drone over here. Why do you think he's doing that?
Well, there's a lot of dangerous, fast melee in Minimugs' list. Bloat drones can really slap if they get into you, but they are among the less resilient pieces of this particular army. So trying to make sure that that particularly important unit for harassing this side of the board can't get just taken out by a lucky turn one charge is a sensible idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Got the second Plague Burst Crawler coming down there. Obviously they're towing on the dense terrain, dense cover, so they'll get the -1 to hit. Generally pretty decent against artillery. And it's how much of the game do you think might come down to having 2 Plague Burst Crawlers versus 3?
A lot of it depends on what they do.
Yeah, what they get to shoot at and what roles they get are going to be a big part of this game, because there's a huge amount of point investment in both armies from just in these Plague Burst Crawlers.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Seal's doing is getting kind of double value for that by using them as to the last. So generally speaking, obviously they're tough to kill in and of themselves, and you've got an army that you have to get through before you can even start doing that with most lists that don't have incredible long-range shooting power, say like Las Chickens. Having these be a big killing threat and a large portion of your army, and also 15 points in some games and 10 in most, if not all, at least, is a pretty good way of using that and getting a bit more value, I think.
I actually think he wasn't trying to necessarily hug the bullet drone for trying to protect it from any turn 1 charges. I think it was just trying to deny LOS to these Poxwalkers as much as possible.
That makes sense as well. So on these Plague Burst Crawlers, let's not forget they have the mortars, which are what everyone talks about. But then there is still the entropy cannon. That's going to be a threat to the other Plague Burst Crawlers that you have.
And the entropians are arguably the scarier weapon on the Plague Burst Crawler.
Yeah. D3+3 is pretty good, as anyone who's played Drakari recently will be able to tell you, or AdMech.
Yeah, the biggest problem with the Plague Burst Crawler is no hit rerolls, and you're only hitting on 3s. Yeah. But Epidemius fixes that problem.
Yeah, he does when he gets his tallies up, so that's why it's going to be so interesting to see what Seal does to stop that. And from a purely mathematical perspective, we must remember that Minimoogs is counting twice because he's got a Tallyman and Epidemius. So it's going to be harder for him because maths is hard.
Yeah, especially when you count everything twice.
Ugh, nice. Nice.
Now, interestingly, I'm a little surprised by one element of the deployment here, which is those red cultists on the left. I had assumed that they would be deploying in order to do a turn 1 rod in the top left quarter, but the last cultist is not quite over the line, so they're not going to be able to move far enough turn 1.
Do you think that that is a mistake, or do you think that...
Well, we've just seen why it was done. It was to leave space for this Contemptor. But if... Rod is something that Seal has obviously designed this for, but it's still a little problematic. And if Minimugs can find a way to shut that down by killing the relatively few units that are actually able to perform actions in this list before they have the opportunity to take those actions, then that could be a problem.
Does he not have the movement to get that last cultist over the midway point, do you think?
Nope.
No, it's a 6-inch move, and it's from the middle of the board, right?
Yeah, when you go 6-inch move, you have to start in the table quarter you want to rod in,
Yeah,
and that last guy has not done that.
It's just one guy letting the whole team down. And it's Kevin the cultist. But I guess that makes sense if you want to keep the Contemptor there. I mean, he's looking to get range, and I imagine be behind the -1 to hit dents, because I think for Seal, he's got the bigger range shooting, and those mortal wounds can really make a difference. So if he can get him somewhere safe, I'm assuming there is enough of a gap to go around this way with the Contemptor.
I would think that would be a very tight fit for that base.
That is
that is a 2-inch gap. That is the Contemptor Dreadnought base is, I believe, 2.5.
It should be 50 mil. Contemptors are tiny things.
Interesting. 50.
Maybe it can just fill it then, but
it's not an absolute given that he's bothered about that. I'm anticipating he's actually just going to waltz into the ruin and start shooting through it and be perfectly happy where he is.
That's very true.
Yep. The one consideration is obviously there's a vent right in front of that ruin, so almost anything he's going to shooting at is going to be at -1 to hit.
Yeah, that's sad.
The -1 to hit for yourself as well, pretty bad. Yeah, it's interesting, and the other thing about deploying there is that Minimugs can move the PBCs just down and to the right, and then suddenly you've got 3 bits of terrain in between yourself and the PBCs. But I'm guessing if he gets first turn, he's going to go for the possessed.
Yeah, and just to highlight, thanks to some of the oddities in 40k rules, if that Contemptor just moves slightly forwards into that ruin, then it can draw line of sight to one of the possessed that will go over the ruin. But the rules of dense cover say that if you can draw a line if you can draw a line to someone else in the unit, even if it's someone you can't see that doesn't go through the dents, then you are not -1 to hit. So he's going to have a reasonably easy time shooting those possessed without taking the penalty.
Oh yes, absolutely. But the Plagueburst Crawlers and the Demon Prince and the Blight Drones, on the other hand, not so much.
Indeed.
So are we anticipating... So that's kind of, we think, the plan there for Seal, most likely. He's going to push forward, imagine shoot the possessed. Just the rate of fire and the mortal wounds, get that alpha unit, whittle it down so it does less when it gets towards him. And then, I guess, refuse the right flank or draw Mini-Moogs in. Are we anticipating Mini-Moogs to just fly forward at full speed?
Well, unfortunately, he's listening. I think he kind of has to.
Yeah.
He's certainly taken secondaries that suggest that as a game plan.
And
I don't see how he wins this game by sitting back and fighting a shooting war with an army that has significantly more shooting.
Absolutely. Got to ask the questions, get the sensible answers. I think it is interesting that you've got one army in Seal's army that this, I believe, is his game plan for every match, which is to the last, retrieve Alterius data, and then +1, and there's several different selections there. But I don't know whether Moogs... I mean, you certainly wouldn't normally go for Assassinate, and with the more killy list, it seems like you're likely to have to rely on a killing secondary more often. Do we think that's a reasonable thought process?
Yeah, and it's always a really good idea to try to build secondary choices into your lists so that you can rock up knowing that you have a solid chance at certain types of game plan, regardless of what mission and what opponent you have. But what he's done here is just build in mobility and killing power. So he's got a battlefield supremacy of his choice reasonably locked down that is usually going to be engage. But then, yes, he is reliant on coming up with either good killing secondaries or mission specials for the others.
Well, the other possibility against most lists when you're running this kind of list is grind them down. But that's not going to work here.
Yeah.
So he's very wisely chosen not to take it. I think normally you'd be taking engage in all fronts, grind them down, and then the third would most likely be mission specific or something else to shore up the line. But if you try and take grind them down versus the list he's facing right now, there's no guarantee he scores anything on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we've been talking about secondaries a fair bit here, and you can see him using the death shroud there to make sure he's got his backfield screened. Which list do you think plays the primary better? Obviously, Moogs wants to move forward, take over the board, look at killing the opponent, and that plays just well into the primary and the midboard anyway. But you've got the Poxwalkers, which are also a fantastic primary playing unit for Seal.
Yeah, I think it's relatively tight. I would think I would give the edge ever so slightly to Mini Mugs, but a couple of rounds of bad shooting or not shooting the right weapons into these Poxwalkers to get rid of them early enough could cost him quite significantly.
And that's definitely got to be the target for his Plague Burst Crawlers, you'd have thought.
It's quite hard to get off the starting gates. Like those Poxwalkers, for example, need to roll a 5 on their advance to make it onto the objective they're looking at. So there's a risk of conceding an early 15 for Seal if he doesn't manage to race forwards fast enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the slow-moving problem that they have. Although if they do get shot, you can set them up in weird and wonderful ways and gain ground that way.
Indeed. And there's a common mistake to put some fire into Poxwalkers that are near an objective, only to find in the following command phase that a bunch of them resurrect onto the objective. Whoops.
Yep. If general advice when shooting Poxwalkers is kill a lot of them or don't bother.
Much like Necrons.
Much like Necrons. Much like all enemies of the Imperial. Just promoting a bit of genocide there. So why don't we...
All right. Looks like deployment is complete.
So why don't we be quiet for a minute and let's see what they're saying.
Oh, it's
keeping it tense. Come on, give me one.
Missed.
Ah. Oh, all right, cool. So you'll go first.
I will. I'm red.
So you're red player. Okay, cool.
Okay. And you're probably going to do the same as me, but do I get a command point? I do not.
I will though.
You do indeed.
Okay.
I imagine that.
Okay, that's a clever way. I normally find
Minimux is probably reasonably happy to get first turn.
Cool.
Get able to.
Okay. Well, good luck.
You too, man.
Grab those objectives early.
Yeah, it
and
sounded
put the early pressure on.
Sounded like Seal wanted first turn from his.
Flash outbreak, no
saying,
bombardment.
Yeah, I think.
I was quite like using orbital bombardment because it really fucks people. Really don't expect it, but it's not actually that good.
What's up with the timer?
Isn't Monk's going first right now, and the timer's ticking down.
It's going?
Oh, we had these backwards. Ooh. Okay, right. That might have been all fucked up, but okay, whatever.
All right. Do you want to just keep doing that so I'm blue on the timer?
They're both pretty much. This is 2 minutes.
Corin,
Okay,
absolutely,
cool.
or Corkin, absolutely fair point. With Stranglehold, you could definitely see that.
Okay, so we
get onto 3, push, fight on the other one. That's interesting. And then he's absolutely right. There's some greater blight drones and some fetid blight drones. The greater blight drones are the Forge World.
So I just moved the clock over here, so red's on your side.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, Stranglehold would have been an interesting option for him.
I can leave it over here and just turn it around.
I think he would have been almost guaranteed to get it first turn. But then there's a severe risk he just loses it to the OBSEC of the Poxwalkers jumping onto these points.
Yep. He's got an outrider
So-
patrol, and that patrol has, 10 10 Poxwalkers in.
Movement.
It's not exactly domination, so
Be good.
that is
Comfortably in here.
even better that he got first turn. And you couldn't have known that when you pick the secondaries. You've got to think, if I don't get that first turn, I don't get that guaranteed 3. That might be a problem.
That was way easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, in thinking,
Click and jam it.
well, there's another part of this as well where he doesn't want to necessarily overcommit this turn because then he could be giving the Poxwalkers the easy charges onto these points.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll move
Just to highlight, since it's a little bit hard to see from the top-down view, on Minimugs' side, up the top, we have 2 Greater Blight Drones right next to each other, then a Demon Prince with wings who looks annoyingly similar to drones,
Yeah.
and then a
The
normal
green and
Bloat
the
Drone
red,
just
you're-
underneath it,
you're definitely good.
and then
Blue die.
there's another
Pretty good options.
Greater Blight Drone over on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Just going to do
there's
some
also
zooming in
possessed
so
as
people
well.
can see. We got the 2 greater bloat drones there. They are great.
And the other normal Bloat Drone has just made a move onto the bottom right objective.
Demon Prince over here, standing, facing away from the enemy. That's what he's doing. With a fetid bloat drone there. So he's just surrounded by drones. That's kind of his jam. And then we've got these mephitic blight haulers over here. We've got one bloat
Yeah, I
drone
think these
over
boys
here
can get into
hiding.
it. It's just really sort of
And
like
then
what,
over here we've got another fetid bloat drone. And this is the one that's moved forward onto the objective. And as we can see in the middle, the possessed are
Here, let me do this,
coming forward to play.
and then we can move them afterwards. If you're clipping.
Now that Bloat Drone on the bottom right objective has managed to make it very difficult for any of the Plagueburst crawlers to get line of sight on it, so it shouldn't be eating any entropy cannons. And it is, of course, relatively hard to take down with just mortars, and it'll be very useful for Minimugs if it can survive one turn of shooting, because then he will control that objective until Seal manages to get anything on it, even if the Bloat Drone then dies or leaves.
Yeah, not to mention it's also sitting on dens.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, but the only thing that can threaten it, I think, is the other fetid bloat drone with flesh mower. So it could be a flesh mower on flesh mower violence.
Yes, indeed.
I think that's about the only thing that really has threat range.
Minimugs will need to make sure, however, that he doesn't give Death Shroud an opportunity to just appear on one of the objectives he's vacated.
Forwards, where are we going?
Yeah, that is a real threat. I mean, Death Shroud Terminators are pretty gnarly into both these armies.
So if I'm here, which that will.
Glenn said, you asked whether we think it's even worth aiming the PVCs at the drone in dents, maybe with disgusting force as well. What do you reckon?
Try and cover here.
Yeah,
My
it's pretty hard.
prediction is that, sad though it is, he'll consider that Bloat Drone not to be worth the investment it would require to kill it.
Yeah,
The Possessed are probably going to look like a much more interesting early target for disgusting force mortar firing.
Although we do have to say, that Contemptor Dread can just hop down there, and he's got a bead straight towards it.
Contemptor Dreads also really do not particularly enjoy -1 to hit, though.
That is very true.
Although in this case he will also have +1 to hit.
This is true.
From the Tie Man, right?
3s is not too bad. 3s exploding
too-
6s is pretty decent.
Well, you're going to be -1 to hit, and most of the things in the deployment zone, and then the Possessed Bomb, which is what you really wanted to be shooting at, is now probably it's not an
It's
option
now in,
anymore.
yeah.
So that I do think that bloat drone becomes your second target. It's not your ideal one, but
Yeah, I mean the really sad thing for the Contemptor trying to shoot a Bloat Drone is it's T7.
yeah. So what you
Yeah.
need is some sort of Master of the Infernal to chant at you, give you +1 to your strength, and fire Volkites at strength 7. Imagine that. Imagine a world with that. That would be amazing.
see from this blade.
Yeah.
So we're doubling down on this central objective.
Yeah, and that bloat drone can definitely see these Poxwalkers over over these obstacles.
That gets us those two. Lovely. And then we're
Strat on the
Yes, it can.
What would it be? A 7
Not that
inch
the light drone has that much firepower, but
10 inches.
And as we
and then
talked
it'd be
about,
5.
when
16,
you're
7.
shooting a bloat
Yeah,
drone,
and it would be an
shooting
8
poxwalkers,
onto
you really
fragment
want to be
of
blowing them all
those
up at
guys,
once.
yes. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
fine.
But the bottom line of Blight Reaper Kevin, he doesn't. I think the reality of the situation is he does not have enough on this flank to deal with these Poxwalkers in a single turn. Unless he gets the possessed into them with melee.
yeah, and that might suggest not trying to put anything into them because although obviously they're much
No
too
more
far to
points.
command phase respawn onto the objective, they might command phase
Tiny
respawn
mantle.
into charge range, whereas currently
I'll
Minimux is
advance
safe from a
that
Poxwalker
drone.
charge.
Well, yeah, that's true.
There it is. 30.
Poxwalkers can be a surprising threat in melee, courtesy
Maybe
of the
fastest
strat
visual.
to have them do mortal wounds on 6s to hit.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility that he does go for that. I think the really aggressive placement of that bloat drone, specifically with the fact he has positioned it in such a way so that its wing can see the Poxwalkers, indicates to me anyway that I think he wants to go for some shooting there.
It makes sense. There aren't many other good targets for it.
I think if you weren't going to go for that shooting, you do the same kind of positioning, but you leave yourself on that vent.
On the other side.
That is very true.
Does give you that.
Because he's opened himself up to all 3 PBCs shooting at him for not a
You
lot
know,
of
look at it
gain
this
apart
way.
from being able to shoot those
Me killing
Poxwalkers.
your units with my units is actually good for you.
This is true. This is very true.
Do you think this is
Why not? It win-win.
this is a case
Yeah,
of
no,
going, you know, a trap that
Panic
sometimes
is,
players
okay,
not a trap, but you feel like you should be doing
Demon
something with your
Prince
units, and
will-
therefore you overextend where you don't necessarily need to, or do you think
may
there's a
play it
bigger
little bit
game plan here where he's
Demon Prince on Demon Prince action
trying to
turn one.
force the firepower onto the things he wants?
I mean, it could well happen. But
I'm certainly looking forward to finding out because my natural inclination would not have been to expose such a valuable unit to that much shooting for what appears to be that little
That's
benefit.
true.
But let's see.
Well,
I mean, he must have a game plan here because he's taken this list, what, 5-0 now? 6-0?
Yeah, absolutely.
just flip it. Yeah, and then
This is very much saying, I'm coming
16.
at you, I'm going to be in your
Yeah.
face, you're going to have to do something about
Oh,
it.
this so I can't.
This is some very, very
Yeah.
aggressive
And
positioning here.
possible. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
exactly. Demon Prince will advance.
And that now makes the
Yes. very
movement
good.
of this first Greater Blight drone make quite a lot more sense, in my opinion, because if you're
That's
going for
such risky.
threat overload, then you can force your opponent to make some very difficult decisions. And I talked earlier about the possibility of conceding an early 15, and with Mooks having taken all of the objectives
I
except
would
Seal's home
advance with
objective,
this.
Seal is going to have to
Skull here.
figure out how to split his fire most efficiently to prevent that happening.
Kill this.
Yeah, and these other 2 Blight drones actually do have some interesting shooting angles on the cultists.
Mm. And as I said earlier, getting
He's not screening at all.
getting some of the cultists
Mortars,
down would be
probably,
fantastic.
But mortars do so little damage.
It's also one of the
Mortars
things that
would
you
probably
see
do,
a lot
at
in
most, like,
competitive
3
games is
wounds if I got
that
super lucky.
turn second
I'm actually
15
going to reroll that.
at the end of the game on primary, and
Punish him.
I know that Go First has an advantage in terms of win rate, and we'd expect that certainly on this map, but you don't, if you can force the 15 early
So
on,
he's running like a coward.
or keep your opponent to 5 early
He's
on, then that can
positioning
mitigate
himself like a
the
boss.
later 15 that often happens.
Running like a coward, you know.
It's pretty unlikely with only 8 plus D6 shots available, but wiping those green cultists would prevent Seal from rolling at all turn 1.
Seems reasonable to me. So
Hmm.
then that.
Well, 8 plus 2d6 shots could absolutely.
No, just
wipe
8
those
plus
cultists.
D6. One of the Blight drones is out of range of it.
Oh, yeah, they both look fairly similar ranged. And
Yeah.
he's not quite able to make it in with the.
You really wanted to? I think you're within 42.
Also possible that he advanced with one of these Greater Blight drones.
If you really wanted to, you could pay 1 CP to shoot into this.
Yeah.
And are we-
Although,
Reducing his movement. would be
trying to
quite
just
nice
think about how far he's come.
That is a traffic jam.
Yeah.
I think he may have advanced with at least one of these blade
Not
drones.
good for that. So that's
So,
I'm happy with that.
in terms of the what you
and
said,
then this
Pants,
chap,
about that now it makes a bit more sense with a lot of these things moving forward.
he's not gonna have it till
I'm
over
assuming
the
you're
final
referring
time
to
in
the
terms of
not
shooting.
rule but general assumption that if you're exposing something to shooting, quite often you want to expose a lot of things to shooting. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Exactly, yes.
Isn't it nice to have an EU
And
stream
speaking
where
of
we say
which,
that?
here's the in for a penny, in for a grand. The Plagueburst Crawler is coming out to play as well.
Oh wow.
Which does have an angle on his own, the opponent's Plagueburst Crawler.
But it doesn't have range on it with the entropy cannon, so I'm a little confused as to what's going on here.
6 inches in even.
Yeah, that's true. Only 36 inch range on those entropy cannons. He's
I'd
44 away.
Yeah, 8 minus 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pound the PBCs.
That's not bad.
Are there any Are we expecting any of these? What are the big stratagems we're looking at here? To do some damage or to play around for these players.
I'm honestly not entirely sure what he has planned here. I mean, disgusting force is always with this many Plagueburst Crawlers in the field. Disgusting force is always a potential reality.
Yeah, you're going to see that used every turn, pretty much.
But apart from that, there's a lot of DEATHGUARD stratagems that are interesting, and some of them have very niche uses. Belching fumes is one that particularly could be interesting. Trying to bait out shots onto a Mephitic Blight Hollower and then giving the opponent -1 shots against it.
Tallyman's going to summon and
sounds pretty useful.
Now, what's particularly interesting for me about this PBC moving up is not only is it not in range of with its entropy cannon, it has moved up just far enough that Seal's green PBC, with a maximum move forwards, will get in range with its entropy cannon.
Yeah.
And summon.
Maybe he's just thinking he's going to move it up slowly over the game, and he had to get started at some point.
Yeah, I suspect that was the thinking. But I think
Yeah.
moving it 0.8 inches less would have been sensible here.
I do take mortal wound.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question. I mean, as Glenn points out, they're not to the lasts, so there's a lot less riding on. I mean, obviously you want them to survive and shoot, but there's less riding on them dying, and if you can damage some of the PBCs early or get into their faces more quickly, I guess.
Tallyman did it as well.
Tallyman.
But
Actually, this might be much better play than I've given it credit for, on the basis that he'd probably be quite delighted if entropy cannons went into his PBC instead of his objective holders.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So big old bait.
It's getting literally right on top of the mark.
That's entirely possible. That's in what entirely was thinking. Because you have to think about what's going to be scoring in points this game. It's going to be the Blight Drones. It's going to be getting rid of the opponent's Poxwalkers. Plagueburst Crawlers are not really the things that are going to be doing that job for you.
I don't think this guy's
The Possess Bomb's going to kill a lot of Poxwalkers. The Blight Drone's going to kill a lot of Poxwalkers. The Bloat Drone's going to kill a lot of Poxwalkers. Even your Demon Prince might kill a lot of Poxwalkers. Plagueburst Crawlers with their D6 mortar shots can maybe do a bit of work, but they're not really there for that kind of job.
Yeah, and we talked about the struggle that you'd have to kill Plagueburst Crawlers with Plagueburst Crawlers, or lack of shooting. Well, what's their value then? Their value is getting out there and doing as much damage to obsec movable things as possible. Take that away and you control the board, even if you get tabled.
Outside, I'm afraid.
Okay. Yep. All right.
So I think we'll take.
Okay, so he's done not Cloud of Flies, it is
Plagueburst Crawler. Okay.
Yeah.
-1 hit.
Do you mean Cloud of Flies or do you mean Miasma?
Miasma Pestilence, yeah.
I think that's.
So you saw Miasma Pestilence go off on this Plagueburst Crawler.
Okay. Look at the plagues.
No point smiting, no point gift of plating. Nobody's going to be in range.
Yep.
I don't. Yeah. Cool. So, moving on to the shooting phase.
It looks like that's the only psychic to come out this phase.
See if these boys can actually shoot anybody.
That's a good point. We didn't look at what everyone has in terms of psychic powers.
Easy answer.
Yeah, because we're a little bit behind. Let's just take a look, shall we? We've got the Maniglos for Moogs. We'll start with him because he's going and doing things. Let's have a little look, see what he's got.
Cultist.
By the way, worth highlighting. Look,
It's messed up.
Epidemius has arrived.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but I don't like
that'd
the
be
Fox
why he's
Walkers.
done a summoning.
I'm not
Yep.
realistically gonna get the reroll.
Gift of Plagues, 6-inch to any contagion rate abilities.
I'll help you get it.
Well, the Tallyman summoned Epidemius, not
Oh, of
not the
course.
Malignant
So-
Plaguecaster.
Yes, of course. And the Miasma
Oh,
of
she's
Pestilence is the other
yeah.
one he's got. Makes sense.
Though a Tallyman summoning another Tallyman is a little bit like an accountant going to his boss saying, "You know, these,
He's fine.
We're gonna
it's
need
got,
more
this
priestess.
spreadsheet doesn't work here. I need help."
I'm actually going to double stack and spend 2.
One thing I'd like to know
to
is,
one
with the
strange.
Talon having
Disgusting force.
summoned,
one on disgusting
who is
force.
data intercepting?
I like it, dude.
The Poxwalkers,
Why
presumably.
not? So,
Poxwalkers can't do actions.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess
It
no.
might be
How
this
shot?
bloat drone down here.
Possibly.
Just the one. Excellent.
Super solid.
Good question.
Am I going to triple step, double? Oh, it's so obsessing.
And
yeah.
that's one thing that we talked a
That's
little bit
really
about at the
obsessing,
start of the game, but haven't mentioned for a little while. Epidemius coming
Here
down.
you go, dude. Wells.
We talked about how
Yeah.
Seal has to play around it, but also Moves wants to
Okay,
play
so
into it.
it's
He
6
wants to get
shots,
those
hitting on
kills for
fours if you're in
his
the terrain,
Playbo's crawlers.
Yeah, absolutely he does. And also, not just for the Plaguebearers crawlers. There's a lot. You know, it actually affects Possessed as well.
Yeah, so he really wants. So we're talking about incidental
and then
shooting
also
here with different things.
smashes.
He wants to kill things, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, death a Possess Bomb with +1
Oh, look at
strength.
that!
Oh,
We've just had 6 wounds taken off the green Plagueburst crawler from a mortar.
No.
Wow, that is statistically unlikely. I think is the best word to put it.
Okay.
That
and
means
then
Disgusting
two
Force
together.
came out. So
Yep.
and he failed all 3 saves.
One hit.
and in the Mortals for the other guys.
That's what we're rolling now.
Once again. That's a shame.
2.
Okay. And the rest of his guns are going to be in range for there. Yep. So
Recap. I looked away in the BBC. Yeah, this Disgusting Force came out, targeting this Playburst crawler.
Mortar did work.
He rolled a 6 on the mortar on the number of shots.
3 got
Threes,
through.
that's good.
3 didn't get
and then on
saved.
threes again.
And that, and very importantly, that does not quite bracket that Playburst crawler.
Yeah.
Does have one more wound until it becomes bracketed.
So the question is whether you try and plank it and use this one. I imagine you do.
I mean, he's gonna have to. I think maybe he might have planned to do something else with it, but the other Playburst crawler, that mortar is almost certainly going into that Playburst crawler to try and bracket it.
Yeah. And another little shot.
Oh, so the Poxwalkers are going.
So I'm going to put the Light Reaper cannon from this dude into this Plagueburst.
He's going to try and do the bracketing with the Blight Reaper
He's
cannon.
going for it.
I think it's 5, yeah.
No, it does. 5 brackets them, yeah. So I kind of want to try and drop his movement. So,
Give up.
and then the Flamer will go into the Poxwalkers.
Okay, Flamer's good.
18-inch flamer.
So
And then what
we'll
else?
go,
And that will be
so
blast
Flamer
as
into
well.
Poxwalkers.
No, Flamers aren't blast.
Hits.
Oh, I wish. They should be.
3's from rolling 1.
Nice.
2,
But if you just go ahead and roll 6 anyway, then. So.
Just roll 6 for all your shots. Oh, saves.
and
None?
then into
None of those. They get T-shirt,
Yeah.
Feel No Pains.
Yeah.
2 hits. 5 is
Wait. 4 ups, right?
4 ups, yeah, apologies.
Although, if the Playburst crawler does end up getting bracketed,
Which
does
it
that mean
might.
it no longer?
-2.
It's
Fails.
bracketed!
It's bracketed.
Oh, which means I don't think it has the movement anymore to be able to get in
So,
range of
down to-
That
of
is
Mini
correct.
Muggs' Playburst crawler.
Yeah.
I think that's not
Yeah, that has knocked 3 inches off it.
That being said, there is a stratagem for 1 CP to make that Playburst crawler work at full brackets.
Okay.
So if you move
It's not
4
generally where you
inches, I
you
can still
look
see
at having your
that.
CP going, I imagine. But with the Tallyman and getting CP all over the place, it's definitely something you can do and probably will, I imagine.
The champ.
Yeah, because that Playburst crawler is not dying this turn. That's guaranteed. So I think you're going to spend the 1 CP to make sure that thing can get into range and shoot at no penalty into that Playburst crawler.
Yeah.
Or whatever other target he decides to shoot at.
Yeah.
Do I go for them? Well, that's not in range.
So it looks like he did an advance if he's measuring shots with these guys.
But I don't think that dude's in line of sight. So no is the answer.
Do we
so
think
I think I'm gonna put
that,
everything into the Poxwalkers.
You'll be seeing
First
the
of all,
Poxwalker res
let's say
stratagem
from
coming
this
out from Seal
Okay.
beginning of next turn?
So D6 shots.
Considering he's taking his Poxwalkers off and putting them in a red box, I think there's a distinct chance of something like that happening.
Seems likely.
1 wound, so 6 up shrug. That's it.
Yeah, that might be my microphone.
And then 3, 4. So 4 shots per thing. 4 hits.
Those are on 4s, right? Because you're shooting through this.
Yep. I think that was 1.
It was just 1. Yeah. You just
Yeah.
missed.
So 3
Yeah.
wounds.
Okay. So
And yeah.
another one. Oh baby.
Just the one.
I've just changed some settings around for my microphone because apparently I was still kind of quiet.
And yeah, I think the
Despite
other
my
guy's gonna
leaning
do the
forward
same
and
thing.
chowing down on the microphone, so if that was me, hopefully that's
So
better. If
let's
not,
go
I'm even
with the
louder.
first
Lucky
one.
all of
Let's
you.
go with his combat first.
Now we're going for more Poxwalker shooting instead of the cultists.
Well, you can only use the stratagem once per unit, and you can't use the same stratagem in the same phase.
Yep, so if you're going to have to plink, I guess
Okay,
plink off 2.
And then the flamer.
If you're going to plink them both at the same time, I think is the answer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 2 squads.
4 wounds.
4 6s. Oh.
I'm a little unconvinced about
What's
this
it
bit of
down? Okay,
blinking.
so I
Blinking
use
the
this
reds
number to get
gives
over
them the
here,
chance of making a
and
charge.
ridiculous number to get over
Blinking the greens
here.
Means that they
makes
get on
it
that point.
very likely that they'll get on that objective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you'll be able to.
But maybe
swing
that's,
on
maybe,
some.
I mean, we,
Yep.
for all we know, that's what he wants. He wants them to come forward, mow them down, and suddenly that's all your upset gone.
6 off that. 6 off that. Okay.
Seems possible.
I
Plausible.
think that's in my. Oh no, I've got one more morse to shoot. So who's the morse going into? Let's go.
Right?
Yeah, that guy.
So pretty much everything is in range.
I'm very interested to see how this plays out over the next few turns with this army. The 3 Plague Burst Crawlers we've all seen, the Volkite Dread we've all seen.
Let's start off
You don't see the Possessed Bomb and this many drones around so much, so I'm fascinated to see what the priorities are.
Well, the the heavy drone list is a kind of variation upon a theme that was came out about 4 or 5 months ago. We saw it at one of the Dallas Opens recently.
Okay.
And it took like a first or second, I believe, there. It was either Lone Star or Dallas Open. And Death Guard players have been picking up and sort of refining that kind of theme of doing basically fast mech guard, essentially.
Which is not what you think of when you think of Death Guard.
Okay, so 3 shots. Looking for 3.
Our viewers have a lot more faith in Speedy Death Guard than Shooty Death Guard.
Oh, the poll.
The poll.
Okay, shot.
Interesting. Or do we think that's first turn bias kicking in?
I think we've established that these boys can't.
And
there might be a bit of
Most
first
of the
turn.
predictions were before the first turn.
oh, fair play. All right, fascinating.
That
Hey,
over.
I'm here to learn. I've not played Death Guard myself, so
I'm now gonna roll for my.
Yeah, I myself have played a list very similar to this. Without the Possess Bomb, that was something I definitely did not play with. But the rest of it's fairly
Oh
similar.
yeah, fuck.
our poll was before turns were rolled. All right, Glenn, I take it all back. Chat knows.
The tally man.
Yeah, too late then.
Well, I wouldn't count Seal out yet. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely not.
No, the voting's been done, and we live in a democracy, so pretty sure that's how it works.
All right. Okay, well, that was a good stream. Let's move on to the next.
All right, here we go. Ooh, that's good. That is a good load of hits.
Is that literally all but one?
Or is that?
I'll take it.
That's the. Oh no, that's the
at least
them
you've
coming
Yeah,
back,
that's 6 more of them coming back.
Ain't no better turn.
and
to
they'll be
it.
coming forward. I imagine. Look at that.
This is gonna
The measuring.
just in advance. Do I wanna charge?
Yeah, that was maybe a blunder. I should have gone for the cultists in hindsight, but.
Yeah, 6 of 7 Poxwalkers coming back means they're going to be on that point
If I tr-
and
if I
quite
end up
probably
this,
charging
I
into
can
that
get
Blight drone.
many in.
And I believe there's a stratagem that we'd be looking at in that fight phase.
Yeah, if they do manage to get in on that Blight drone, they're going to be trying to do a lot of mortal wounds.
Yep. So, Pants, you're the walking
Thought they all come
encyclopedia.
back at once.
Can you?
I thought it
Am I
was one
putting
at a
you on the
time,
spot
right?
here to hit you with? Tell us what that does.
I can read it.
It's relatively straightforward.
If any
Poxwalkers
judge
will
wants to
do
comment, go ahead.
mortal wounds to their target on
Is it
sixes to
is
hit,
it one
and
at a
mortal
time or
wounds to
all
themselves
or
on
all
ones to
7
hit.
or 6 at once?
Which
pants on
sounds
you.
relatively balanced, but then you remember that Poxwalkers A have a feel no pain,
Might be dangerous.
and B
They can
res
speak in
models when
damage.
they kill enemy models,
Okay, I can't see
which
the-
isn't very useful when you're going into one tough target, but can often result in them
So stratagems.
finishing a use of that
walk
strat with
again.
more models than they started with, despite rolling a bunch of ones.
Use the
So
stratagem
if
in
we're
command
looking
phase,
at the
select one
unit,
Poxwalker's
you've
unit
got
from your
what is
army
it?
and roll
19, I
7d6s
presume. If
for
that's
each
that's a
3+1
unit of 20
that
minus
unit's
1,
destroyed
2
models
attack
added
each,
back.
38
So does that mean you
attacks.
do them one at a time, or
Do they kill the
models
drone?
added back to
Probably
this
still
unit?
not.
This way can be set up
Depends
within
where
melee
on the
range
charge
of
roll and whether they
units
all
that are
make it
already within
into
engagement range of
attack
that unit.
range.
Each
And
unit
even
can only
yeah,
be
well,
selected
even
for this stratagem
assuming
once
max.
battle. So it does not
Do we
explicitly
think?
say add them all at once.
They are only wounding on
Yeah,
sixes
it
with
doesn't
no
say-
AP.
So the way I'm fairly sure. Wait,
No, they'd be completely reliant
Because
on the mortal
I
wound
think I read on
generation.
Yes.
Goonhammer that you just.
So it's a
use
spike,
multiple
but how much does the
models.
stratagem cost?
It's fine.
Just
so
one.
I've read that it's the
Might as
opposite.
well.
Okay, so that's fine. So
Yeah,
then
and
can we
you're
get a
with
judge?
38 attacks or 40 attacks, you're
Um,
expecting between 5 and 6 mortal wounds to come out of
I don't
it.
think it makes
I'll message
too
into the-
much. I don't think it makes.
So, given
too
that
much of
there'll
a
very
difference
likely be some
anyway.
shooting on top, I
Probably
suspect
just gonna advance him. So this
we've
is
seen
just
the end of that
switches.
blow drone.
Interestingly, though, he's pulling them back a bit.
Which would just make this a.
Oh,
make it a 2.
maybe he just wants to get on there
Someone
and not
just
get in the
messaged
way.
me. Can we get a oh, that's you.
Yeah.
This is fine. Well, I'll just go forward with this.
sorry, we
I
they've
don't
asked us for a
think
judge
that's
call
true. I'm gonna
on the Poxwalker
okay,
strat,
so then
which might
that's
be it.
that for that. Do I
If
wanna
if
do
if one of you
flash
guys could jump in.
outbreak? Flash
Yeah, one
outbreak
sec.
would put me up to 3 inches.
Just going to turn them back up.
So that'll be it for the Poxwalkers. When you do the dead walk again, do you have to set all 6 within 2 inches, or can you chain them like the Necrons? Okay, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, so they all come back simultaneously. Yeah. That's what the pants has just said.
Okay, so they all come back simultaneously. Okay, so then they all have to be within 2 inches.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Was I wrong about that sentence? I thought they came back sequentially.
Alright, so that's it for command phase. So we'll go to unit phase.
No, I
Start
don't
off with
think
an
they
easy
do.
one.
Let's have a
These
quick look.
Poxwalkers.
One stratagem that comes back sequentially.
These Poxwalkers will go forward.
I know that I have had this conversation in a game previously.
For each 3+, one of that unit's destroyed models is added back to it with 1 wound remaining.
So they'll all move forward.
What is our ruling is the main point, right?
Yeah, you're
Absolutely.
Maybe I don't want to do maybe these guys move forward 6 to get on the point.
you're on.
And then
Was
these
that an
guys will move
advance?
6 this way.
So he's advanced them forward onto the point.
I'm okay with that. So then what do I want to do?
Interesting.
This is what now? A 6-inch charge.
Sadly, we don't have this in our FAQ.
That many guys already there.
That is sad.
We do have a post and alpha rulings, though.
So this is now what? 8 inches.
So it does not follow the same rules as reanimation
This is gonna be
protocols.
auto-charge.
They
Yeah,
are all models are set up at the same time.
I could do here.
So you can daisy chain them out because you can have them be coherent at the end rather than at the start.
Exactly. So, is that...
So he was able to chain them out further than he did.
Yes.
10, and then if I wanted to.
Should we go and highlight
Yes.
that?
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Cool.
That's what we ended up doing anyways. Okay, so that's good there. This.
Yeah, I believe that's the only stratagem in the game that does it all at once rather than sequentially.
Alright, let's advance with this Fab Blast File. Let's see what he gets.
Cool.
So we got an advance going on, getting more units on the point. Or
Well,
nope.
I needed a 9 in the
Oh,
beginning.
I'm going to go add
but
this
now
to the
now
FAQ
I
then.
definitely don't need a 9. Yeah, that's within 12. This is
Oh,
within
yeah. So he's out, but you can flame either drone.
12.
Let's turn the players up for a minute. See how they're getting on. What they're thinking.
Well, the Foul Blight Spawn, you said there's some shooting might come out on these Blight drones, and Foul Blight Spawn
Now if I put
definitely has some
that
shooting.
here,
That Plague Sprayer is nasty.
1 inch. Should be protected pretty much on all sides.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
The Demon Prince also has
Uh,
Do
the
you want me to get rid of this?
Plague Skull of Glothilla
Get rid
just
of
to
what?
chuck out
Yeah,
a whole
that's
bunch more
what-
mortal
yeah.
wounds, but he does have to.
So this
get within
voted
6
blow
inches to use it.
drone. I think we're gonna come
Yeah, also that is done
this way.
during the movement phase, isn't it? At the end of the
Okay, so
movement
if I
phase.
smite, closest would be this. I'd have to set him up like over here. But then that's gonna get kind of weird.
Now, one of the things we haven't talked about is
If I keep my options open, I just move
oh,
my 10 this
there we
way.
go. One of the things we haven't talked about
and
is
charge
the
either
going
way,
second
this is
impact
gonna
with
be a
the
big
deep
charge.
strike.
Okay, so then we gotta go this way.
Yep.
Now we're
It,
just gonna have
it,
to go
it
for
quite
an easy
often
charge.
can make a difference.
Because I
Can mean
need to
that your
contest this point, 'cause
your
right now
opponent's
for
had 2
data intercept,
turns to
you're
do
on,
stuff
like,
to you and get out on the
0,
board,
5,
as opposed
right, so now you
to
go down
just the
4.
1.
Oh, no, you
If
can
you're
contest
going
it.
second.
Okay, so
But
yeah.
actually, I think in this situation, it's
Okay,
not so bad because
Remember,
you know
it's
this
tag and
list
run
wants
on
to
this
come
one
forward
as
and
well.
get in your face, and one of
Oh, to
the
control the point?
bits of value that the deep striking
So
Terminators are
question.
going to give you is that
Check.
they force your opponent to hang around and
Contemptor, if
screen
I
a bit
just
where
move
he doesn't
8
really want to.
inches and then touch
Yeah, that's
it
absolutely
here.
true. That being said, has
Alright,
done
we'll
pretty good
advance
job
with
of screening out
these,
most of the board.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't advance.
Very
with
true.
Cool. Oh, this is all messed up.
Do you want the courses?
Because I need to do rod.
You got the green ones to do it.
Yeah,
red
but
one.
they need to do data intercept.
Ah.
It's a disaster.
So it's I don't know if you
Even- yeah,
guys
the
can
red
hear that,
ones
it's fairly
aren't-
quiet, but he's just talking
aren't gonna
about
do rod 'cause they're
the
light.
requirements needing to do rod
Yeah,
and
'cause
data
it's-
intercept.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
got to
'cause
have
they
those
be over
units
6
that do
inches away,
actions.
They can't
Yeah.
move 6. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
And
These
a
guys are
limited unit
reflecting,
number.
so they are
That's a
going to
problem.
Advance. All right, so red cultists will advance.
Yeah, I mean, endgame we could
They get
see
a
some of these
9.
Death Shroud Terminators being
That's
used
one
to
of
rod, which would be a shame to say the
Rodding
least.
is the plan for them. That's why they're in deep strike.
Yeah,
is
that's
true.
what he did against me. But it's
Just
not
a
what
little bit,
you.
but he's
I
on.
mean, you want them killing things as well.
So,
They're terrifying.
okay, so then we're just
That gives you my
Or at least absorbing fire.
numbers
Yeah.
rather than because they're
Yeah,
not obsec,
exactly.
are they? Yeah, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they're not, so
absolutely.
they're
What you don't want is one of them
Straight
coming
damage.
down, rodding, and then you have to move forward and data intercept somewhere.
But they perform actions, which is what I need. The question
Or them
is-
coming down, rotting, and then spending the rest of the game trying to chase something down with their
So that's
ponderous
2,
movement.
And then I get
Yeah,
7.
absolutely. And there's also quite a bit of the dense cover here in the quarters where you would expect them to come down. So can be difficult to
You did say you
get
were
back
gonna
and be
move the,
relevant.
Contemptor, you could have moved him before if you want.
So this is I mean, so far the turn has gone, I guess, as we would potentially have
So 6
assumed
for
or expected. I guess the interesting
3
thing for
and
me here
6.
is where are we expecting this Contemptor
Okay.
Dread to go?
Well, it's already interesting that he's managed to advance far enough with the cultists to get one onto that objective. Now, cultists do not have obsec, but the combination of one cultist plus that bloat drone is 2 models versus the 1 model that Minimug says on there. So he's managed to
Data room.
stem the pain of the primary war.
And then
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Guy, 1.5.
And
As long as he remembers to put something on his home objective, because there isn't anything on there at the moment.
Are the cultists not
Okay,
quite
so
in
that's
range
all
of that?
that,
No,
that's
they're not.
cool.
I don't want to bring it up to
I
highlight
can
that.
advance with this
but,
malignant playcaster.
I'm pretty
and
sure
that's
they're
gonna
currently
give
not
me
quite
some
on.
They are
smites.
not.
I can set them up
That is correct.
exactly equal from each one. Okay. Mali P is gonna advance.
Do we know if they
Oh,
spent the
24
CP at the
inches
start of
for
his
this
turn
guy.
to
Cool, around
get
there.
that Plagueburst Crawler full
Mali P gets all the
No.
movement
full
in
bracket?
the world.
The fact that he's on 9 and he finished the last turn on 9 suggests no. I think he's just gained 1 and spent it on the dead walk again.
Yeah, I think you're right.
9.6.
Which I think, I mean, it's difficult to say. I mean, CP is valuable during a game, but having that be able to move and shoot at no bracket would have been probably a big deal this turn.
Just that's
Indeed.
Well, there's, quite often one of the things, I guess, that you think about in 40k is the front-loading nature of it. You've got most of your army early, and that's when you want to do the most amount of things. There's never going to be a more valuable turn to do it, realistically, than now. Particularly with the amount of fire you need to take out any of these units. But maybe he's got other plans for the CP, and he just doesn't think it's going to be worth it.
This is just probably the only guy.
I think I have another explanation.
Okay, so I
Just
guess
going to
the
go
thing
double
is-
check. Yeah, that strat doesn't work on BBCs.
That might be why then.
Does it
There you
not?
go.
So
Is it not a
I
machine
think-
spirit?
It is machine spirit. So that is just for your land raiders and your predators.
It's gonna give me
Those things that we see all the time.
Indeed.
no. Okay, so it's gonna be -1 no matter what, because he can't fit through here and he can't walk through that.
There he goes.
So I think even if I work
The
on
Contempt to
this
Dread,
over here,
pushing up.
yeah, I think so.
in front of your base. Okay, so then that does not matter. So okay, I'll still
Getting
put
on
here
the
that way
terrain,
on
as we
-1
said.
to hit pretty much.
I
no
guess
matter
going
what
for
she
that
said.
guy.
I think only
Yep, landing on that shots on that flight drone on the point there.
That'll be the
Interesting.
thing over
He's
there.
taken him off the
Tally
objective, but I think
man, I
he's
wanna
saying
go
here
for
is
12 inches,
I don't
which
want him
is
able to keep reliably getting over to
possible.
this corner and scoring engage
So
and
he'll
things.
move his 5.
Well, also, I mean, he doesn't have necessarily that many other options of where he wants to shoot stuff this
Why
turn.
would that not get him with 12?
He could go for long shots onto Plaguebear's Claws, but it's -1 to hit. Can't shoot the Demon Prince because it's lookout sword. He doesn't really have a possible angle on the Possessed.
Where these guys were at.
He could shoot the Poxwalkers way at the back there, but that's a waste of a Volkite.
It's fine. It is what it
All the
is.
characters are
He
protected.
actually won't touch.
He only really has the 2 Blight Drones to be able to choose from.
So that's
Although-
that.
Although I
So
guess,
probably
I mean,
what I'm gonna do
would you
on this
expect
turn
with the
is I'm
-1?
gonna
You probably
almost
wouldn't expect to wipe those
sacrifice,
Poxwalkers. I don't think it makes a difference. Yeah.
these Plague Bros. Plague Bros crawlers,
Interesting.
'cause I'm 100% gonna do
We didn't know which
this, you have what, 2 over here?
Glenn's just asked whether it was the
You have
case
2
that
on
all
this
be
point.
within 2 inches
No.
when set up.
Pink
That's what I found in
connected.
Alpha rulings from last March.
So,
Anything?
the post-in alpha rulings says that they're all set up at the
Rip.
same time.
Spin down.
That by itself
Spin down.
doesn't entirely answer the question
gone
because the two interpretations
Am
of
I going
that
to go down in a sec?
are that they're all set up at the same time and therefore must
just
all be
cable
within
that far.
coherency of the
That's what
models
you
that
guys
were
are
there
fine.
before you set any up,
Ah.
or that they're all set up at the same time and therefore there is no coherency check until after you've set all of them up.
Yeah, no, it's the latter. I remember this conversation distinctly when we had it,
Oh, it was me.
Cool.
because I was playing this this
That's
army at
interesting.
Roth
I
at
would
the
have
time.
assumed the former.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because Necrons are different in that they could be set up 1 and then 1 and then 1, right?
Correct, which is why we said
Alright, join.
specifically that it does not like reanimation protocols.
So you can actually do
There's
better
that.
stringing with Poxwalkers than you can with Necrons because Necrons have to.
Complicated password error.
If
Yes, absolutely.
if you've got a big unit, you've got to bring each one you bring back individually within two inches of
Alright,
2
I'm
other
back.
models. Whereas a big unit of Poxwalkers, you can string out one, string out one, string out one, and then have 2 at the end.
Thank God for that, because Necrons really
Back on blue.
just had too much going for them, you know?
Right, so that
Needed
was
to rein
that.
them in some.
Am I already touching this point? I am not touching this point. I still need to decide what I'm gonna do with this Demon Prince. I think it's just gonna be what. So he'll advance.
Glenn, it is for us to ask the questions and for
Charge.
greater minds to debate and decide and pontificate.
So we'll do that.
I mean, calling us greater minds is a bit of a stretch.
I was just talking about pants, but it's all good.
So was
even-
Ryan.
Even further stretch at this point.
The helmet
Plus, the
never mind.
advantage of having rulings
This
and
might as well
judges
be
is
good.
not only that
It's good.
they spend their
Okay, so
valuable
that's
time coming
him.
up with
These
solutions for
guys-
us, but if we don't like them, we can say, "Oh my
these
God,
guys
they're
just don't
terrible.
really
This is
care.
awful, isn't it?" But we never have to think about it further.
He's just gonna touch right
Phew,
there.
he has remembered to put someone on the
Let's
home objective.
Thank God.
That's that.
It was very interesting
Okay,
that
I
they
still
didn't
have all
deploy
this
on the
stuff
home
over
objective and
here.
thereby
I
give him
don't
the ability to control it from the start of his
know
command
what
phase.
to do. I think it's
Maybe he
literally-
fell into the trap that I did
Yeah,
one time,
so
which is
the,
deploying
the
on the
cultist doing
objective
the actions
literally
for the
because
cycle,
it's
right?
there, and then getting turn 1 charge
Yeah,
because
right.
it was
Yeah,
nearer
you
the
have to be
line than
touching
I
the
just
button
had to
over
be,
here.
and I could have just
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
forward onto it later, and I was like,
So-
"God, I need to stop doing that,"
Yeah,
because
so-
Harlequins are
So
scary.
10 over here. Then we said this was gonna be a 5.
I was against Liam. That did not go well.
5-inch and then -2/7.
So I think there's a reasonable world where we see these two
I don't know
blight
what to
drones
do.
on the flank with the Volkite Contemptor going down this turn.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
And then again, it's the same
Possibly this other blight drone going down to the 3 PVC shooting.
7.
It can't be just that. He's going to have to walk the tightrope of making sure that he puts enough damage into it that the bloat drone can finish it off in melee, but not so much damage into it that he kills it and leaves the bloat drone unable to charge onto the point.
because
This is true.
don't forget this is the one of those where you control the objective after. So if you don't get on it, you lose it, and you can't flip it.
Yeah, he's got to contest it, both to hold Minimooks to a 5-point primary and to prevent him from controlling that objective forever.
Yeah, no. Unless the Poxwalkers fling themselves forward, there's not really anything else on that flank at the minute.
The Poxwalkers can't get there.
Yeah, I mean, I meant for future turns. Obviously, they're not going to
Sure.
get there now.
I think I'm just gonna move my 7 over here.
Welcome to the stream, Philippe. 3 p.m. That's relative,
And then this
but
guy is just gonna
welcome to the world today.
scoot back. Okay, cool.
3 p.m. is rookie numbers. You've got to pump those numbers up.
Alright, that's all that movement.
In the
so
immortal
now the
words
question
of
is what to
Ford
do
Prefect in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so.
this. Planeswalkers. I can hide them for another turn. These guys move 7.
I had a great set of sleeping habits when I was at uni. I woke up one day to find it was still dark, and I was like, "Excellent! I can go back to sleep." And then I checked the clock, and it was 7:30 in the evening.
Oh,
Whoops.
don't want to be talking about those days. Dark days, literally and metaphorically. I don't think I saw the sun for about 2 weeks. Anyway, here we are afterwards, and everything's great. So, Poxwalker's going up to man the barricades.
Hide!
Now, those models are small enough to hide behind the barricades unless you've got something tall that sees over them, like, say, a big old bloat drone.
Okay, and then what does this
That
do?
is the only tall model around, though. So if that goes, then those Poxwalkers will be relatively safe.
7-inch.
A 7-inch charge.
Well, relatively safe, apart from getting charged by possessed.
Probably makes it
That sounds fine to me. Not a problem.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like all of that. So that's gonna be everything for movement. So psychic. Alright, well, I
It
think
is a
it
challenging
is-
charge.
Yes, Philippe. Death Guard versus Death Guard.
I really do. worry
The
about
Imperium
this one.
fell,
This one
and
not
they're
so
just
much.
fighting over the scraps.
This one I do worry about.
No, you got more stuff that can shoot this one as well.
Yeah,
It's very
this one,
entropic,
'cause I
isn't
can
it,
throw
really?
here, and then I think it's just gonna be like mortars trying to kill this thing.
Okay, so he's going for the fetid bloat drone in the middle.
Okay, yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll toss the skull here.
Okay.
Oh, he's plague sculling it, is he?
Yep.
Nice.
So
that's
that's too
9.
many dice.
Yeah.
'cause there's already 2 over there. So 4 ups.
So
that's
4s and 5s do immortal wounds. 6s do
4 ups.
D3 mortal wounds.
6 ups.
Oh,
Sixes.
oh, okay.
Okay, 1 plus 2 D3, not too bad.
2d6
Depends on the D3.
So yeah.
or 2d3.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be
Okay,
5,
6
6.
mortals, not
6
bad.
mortals will do it.
That's kind of what I was looking for.
That is once per
Yeah,
battle.
just over average.
He has
It's
lobbed
sad.
someone's skull over a
And so
wall,
then we'll
which is a
start off
great
with
throw.
this smite here.
The
Realistically,
last 2 times I've faced that relic, it's hit me for
5.
9 and 10, respectively.
Oh.
Try and deny.
I think the last 3 times I've used that relic, I've scored less than 3 mortal wounds each time.
but what you got to remember, the key question here is he throwing it overarm or underarm? Do you reckon?
Splendidly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big old wall.
Okay, so then now we got this next one.
Well, I like to kind of think that you just float it, like use those big booster packs on the back of him, float it right up to the top of the ruins, and then just sort of slam dunked it on him.
Oh, excellent! Yeah,
I think it was a drop kick.
Could be a drop kick. Well,
Okay,
alley-oop
so
by the
what we're
malignant
gonna
plague caster.
The caster, so this one's on a 6.
Grandma 2 hands behind the between the legs shot. Yeah, absolutely. And he took about 7 swings because it's Nurgle in order to get it over the top.
And
So 2.
Yep.
Just build up the momentum.
And then we'll do my asthma. This is
Played
on a
baseball
6.
in his youth. Fantastic.
And
Yep.
that goes
I've always said that Pants has a great voice for radio, and a fantastic face for radio too.
These pox boys.
That is very kind of you. Until the end of that.
You're a very
So
handsome
for
man.
Psychic, so we'll go to shooting.
So, before we've even started the shooting
So
phase, not
if I
only
do
has that first
Disgusting
blight drone
Force
gone down to
here,
3,
it'll
but the
help
greater
me
blight
kill
drone's gone
this.
down
I'm
to
gonna get a
4.
lucky mortal wound
Wow.
It's a
here.
very painful movement and psychic phase.
That is impressive, and that is exactly what Seal needs and
I do
wants.
have the option to shoot there.
So interestingly, I
Shoot
don't think there's a way for this
stacks,
Contemptor
straight
Dreadnought to shoot
garbage.
this Blight Drone without taking the penalty to hit.
This guy's
Yeah,
gonna
because he
hit
can't draw to all of his base.
Pretty bad stuff. Okay, so
Yep, that's correct.
this guy's the worst.
Oh, Tom's come up with a good idea. The
The
Poxwalkers forming like a human pyramid, and then the
Human, huh?
Demon Prince human. You know what? Sorry, Poxy pyramid. I don't know. Demon Prince scaling up it, cheerleader style, slamming it down, and then I imagine backflipping off the top as you would in that situation.
As you would.
All right, what are we looking at here first?
Alright, I think, yeah. Let's just go ahead. I need to do 4 wounds to that, so I think the most. If I shoot this. So this guy can see both. He does not get minus on this. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll start with this Plague Risk Crawler.
Okay. Blue.
I'll put both Entropies and the Sluggers over here.
2 entropies
So,
and
yeah.
sluggers.
And I'm going to put Disgusting Force Mortars over here.
Disgusting Force Mortars going into
So
that
that'll
bloat
be 1
drone just
CP.
to
Just to make sure
Really
you can
try and
finish it
finish it
off.
off.
Yeah, absolutely.
These sluggers
It's
over
an
Makes
here.
interesting choice though, because if he does kill both of these, he is
Four
going to be
sluggers.
giving them
These will be on 3s, reroll nothing.
Epidemius a lot of points.
That's
Yep.
helpful, and then these will be
Maybe
on
we
5s,
talked about
reroll
playing
nothing.
around it a lot,
Okay,
but
cool, buddy.
with rolls
Well,
like that, you
you
don't
do
have to
it
worry
just like
about
that.
it. Oh,
Disgusting
dear.
Force, a number of shots.
4 shots.
4,
That's
I'll
alright.
take it. And then these are going to be on 3s, rerolling nothing.
Oof.
Oh,
Do
baby.
you get the splash?
I do get the splash, and then these are going to be on 3s, rerolling 1s.
Oof. Rerolling ones. Plague
Oh,
weapon.
Come on, please.
There you go.
And these are on 5s.
And on
Demon
fives,
save. 1 save.
Makes
So
one.
Save 1,
So
save
Takes
this
2
guy
damage.
1.
Yeah.
Do I take a?
And then we'll roll for this guy over here. 4 up. Nope.
No.
Okay, cool.
Did not.
So
No
that's
luck
my
on mortal
shot.
splashing for either player.
That's
I mean, I'm calling it now, ladies and gentlemen.
So this guy's
A
already
mortar is no
minus
match for drop kicking a skull at someone.
hit, so it'll be -2 to hit into this.
So if you're hitting on 5s, yeah.
No.
And this is why Imperial Fists suck at the minute.
On 6s, right? Because his weapon skill goes down. So his weapon skill's 4. Oh wait, no, you're right. What am I talking?
There are more armies than just Imperial Fists who don't drop kick
Um,
skulls.
Do I just try to? Okay, so
I was
can't-
More just in case Chris Helgren never watches this. Just wanted to fling some shade at the Imperial Fists to make him
bad luck.
sad.
Well, considering he doesn't even play them anymore.
That's what makes him so sad.
Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna do mortars.
He
over
keeps
here.
we're part of his team, and he keeps trying to come up with lists that might make them
Then we'll
work.
do the entropies
And, they
the
won't.
sluggers
And everything
over
else
Ever.
on
here.
here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Sadly. Alright,
So
here we go.
Let's go with the entropies and the sluggers. These are on.
We mourn the
4s.
fallen. How have the mighty fallen?
Just give me a whole bunch of 4s. Yeah.
Oh,
Alright, got a couple of hits from the entropy cannons.
yep,
And then
with
these
the
are
red
going to be
dice.
3s,
Threes on the
rerolling
reds.
1s, and then 5s.
Oh,
Threes.
A couple of wounds from the entropy
full
cannon.
conversions
Two hit invul.
on the important ones. No
We've
5
got
up.
no saves from the entropy cannon.
Do I want
Do you want to
one of
reroll?
those?
Is he going to re-roll it?
It's... What else you got? You got red dude.
Now, do
Kinda
you
want
think
him
this
to
is
stay
the call
alive.
here to
Nah,
re-roll?
he's dead, dude. Just take your tally.
We've only seen two of the
Tally.
PPCs shoot, right? I
Alright,
think
yeah,
this blight drone is
over there.
dead either way, so I
Yeah,
probably
I'm
wouldn't do it
actually
myself.
You're gonna reroll? Okay.
But he's trying it
So I'm down to 5.
Ah,
Doesn't
with
work.
no luck.
let's
Okay,
try.
so then
I do think,
2d2
I guess the
two.
worry is that it
Two
gets
threes.
low but doesn't die.
Come on, give me 2 5s. Alright,
No.
cancels
So
out, so 8.
3, 8. Yeah.
Well, we took it down to 1.
Okay, so he's down to
That's, I mean, that
1.
seems ideal for Seal.
Ah, it really
Yeah.
is.
That was lucky.
That was beautiful. That was like a kiss from a rose.
If he
Okay, so
killed
You've
it,
been
he might
waiting.
re-roll one of his own damage rolls to
You're
try
right.
and get less.
You have been waiting for that since the start of the stream, haven't
I
you?
really have. I really have. I have more, but I'm not sure. A lot of Seal puns are pretty niche, but they'll come out. Don't you
Yeah.
worry.
Or I could do other shenanigans.
He's considering it.
Oh,
What
okay,
if I do
can
the
I
charge?
the
What if
other
I
one?
try and kill it
Just
now?
this one
Two.
guy.
Is
Well, I
that
have to split this.
Yeah.
Mephitic
So then
blight
the other
hauler
thing I
touching
could do
is the
is put a
question.
charge over
Oh, absolutely.
here.
Oh yeah, he's in the
That-
objective.
that's why we're talking
This
about
way,
contesting,
be
not
able to
about
touch that
Not
point.
about taking.
taking that
Sure.
objective.
I could do that. Is there
But
a
that
reason
still
why
is the
that's
5 on the primary
better?
with the
It'll
2-3.
put me covered
Step away and miss
Exactly.
something. What happened? Plague Skull went berserk.
Okay, so we're not gonna shoot this anymore. So then this
And,
red guy is just gonna
did
blast.
6
So did
mortal
Psychic?
wounds here, and then the psychic phase did 5 mortal wounds there. Then there was some uninspiring
So
shooting
this
with
one's
disgusting
minus
force to do a
1
couple of
for
mortal
hit.
wounds here,
Yeah.
and then
Those are
this
that.
plague
This
burst
one's minus 1 to hit. I
crawler
still
here
have the blow drill and the charge and fight over here. Okay,
reduced
so
that to
what we will
1
do
wound.
is,
Nearly killed it.
oh, I
Not
never
quite.
did the mortars for this one, did I?
What was
sorry,
the
okay,
charge
yeah,
roll
yeah,
for
yeah,
this
correct,
thing?
Correct.
Let's
Fairly
get a 6.
7-ish
Kill this
maybe.
blow
So
drill,
maybe
I
he
don't
was
have to worry about
hoping
it
to get in
anymore.
and do
Let's get a 6.
to kill that.
There you go.
Oh, 6 shots.
These are on
That's,
4s.
that's how those work then, is it?
So right down the middle, and then these are on 3s. Rerolling 1s. All right, cool.
And on
Let him die,
5s.
please. All right,
Yep,
cool.
he
He
did.
dies. Does he explode?
There goes that drone.
Doesn't
Yep.
really matter.
Nurgle.
Yeah.
And then tally goes up 1.
These
Up goes the tally.
there it is. Epidemius.
So the first tally
yeah, anything
is
else?
is nothing.
This guy.
Yep.
first tally is nothing. Second tally is reroll
Now
ones to
now,
hit.
now we're deciding this.
Yeah.
So
Second tally is
immediately I want to get this.
I'm trying to
down
remember these off the top of my head.
to
Imagine that
1,
reroll ones to hit if you had
and
3
then
plague burst
off the middle.
crawlers.
That is the dream.
Yeah, or
Or Volkite.
you know,
Cannot really do 1 wound.
Volkite
That is-
Contemptors, or a whole bunch of fetid blowtrones with flesh mowers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Same thing over
Pretty
here.
good.
Okay, so we'll do both
Yeah, it's
entropys
not
over
bad.
here. And then
Also,
we will
putting on that
do
note, flesh mowers, once Epidemus gets to +1
sluggers
strength,
and
that means that those
mortars.
fetid blowdrone flesh mowers are strength 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way I would do 4 wounds with sluggers and mortars. Okay, cool. So both entropies here, sluggers and mortars over here.
Okay. So entries will
Uh,
be hitting on 4s, sluggers and
yep.
mortars on 3s.
Okay, so let's do
Here
the
we
entropes
go.
first.
This is red shooting there.
Fours,
Entropy
reroll nothing.
cannons. Both hit.
Sounds
Lovely.
good. And then on 3s, rerolling 1s.
Gets that
Alright, cool.
2.
And on
then on
5.
5. And
Nope.
you
Fails
use
to
your
save.
reroll.
Yep.
So good, 3 damage.
3.
Yeah, that last one,
Yep.
Glyn. That's the one you really want.
Okay with that, and then now we got.
Yeah,
another
unfortunately, the
shot.
reroll
It's
destructively
gonna
resilient
be
rolls is a little bit
4
redundant these days.
of
It still does
those,
something for
and then
Epidemius
6
himself.
of
Well, it also
this.
does stuff if they
Just
bring a Nurgle
two.
Demon's army, which is what he's part of.
Taking away CP
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
So these
that
are on
that,
3s,
that
rerolling
Chaos Demons
nothing.
Codex is going to have
Okay,
to do
that's
quite a
why
lot
we
of
miss CP, 'cause we're just gonna miss 'em, and these
lot
are
of stuff.
5s.
Rejigging.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So nothing happening there.
Yeah. All right. So that's.
That being said, I
all
think I will miss
that
the bell
shooting,
being
so
able
then
to
all
bring back
that's left
Mephitic Blight
is
Haulers from the
this,
dead.
and
It's just
this.
and that.
Last
So
thing
I
to
think
shoot.
Then what we're probably
Foul
gonna
Blight
do
Spawn and
is
the
all kites
Dread,
here,
as we expected.
and then both rockets over here.
Okay, so he's splitting his fire,
If I do that,
or considering putting the rockets into this thing and his Volkites into
kites.
the one at the top?
Yeah, I think
maybe I'll
he's
do
just worried about
3.
overkilling things here.
I need to get mortal wounds. Is what I need. I need mortal wounds over
Now,
here.
importantly,
and then I just need
this
rockets
killing things with the Contemptor
So
doesn't
yeah,
change the
both
Epidemia's
Volkites
counter,
into this
right?
guy,
Correct.
and then
Yeah, it is not a
the
demon.
rockets into
Killing
this
both
guy.
of these with a
So
dreadnought would be
everything is at
lovely.
-1, but I'm at +1, so everything's
Is there a
fine.
way to regen wounds on a demon engine?
Okay. So we'll do the Volkites first.
Is that not
Um,
something that
Shots.
exists, or am I making that
Yes,
up
there's
in
a
my head?
relic,
Nothing.
which
Explode.
Let's see.
which actually I think he has the Leech Spore Casket.
Nothing. 6s explode.
So yeah, additional 3.
So that was ringing a bell in my mind, just thinking for this PVC here. But I mean, he's
Okay.
Yeah, each time an
pushing
enemy
back.
model is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer, select one friendly inexorable vehicle within 18 inches of the bearer. That model regains one lost wound. No more than 3 wounds can be regained per turn due to this relic.
So 2
Interesting.
mortals.
Oh, here we
So
go.
it means that the Demon Prince has to kill stuff, but yes,
And
you
then
can
there's
regen
5 saves on
wounds.
3s.
That many 3-ups, yep.
Okay, here we go. On 3s. Oh,
That's pretty good.
That's
5 total.
Oh wow, that's exactly perfect, dude.
3 wounds, and then it was 2
Oh, wow.
mortals. So 5 wounds takes him down to 1. Oof. And that's
Yeah, he set up 2 really easy kills
Fire
here.
twice stratagem, so I can shoot twice with this guy.
well, he can do the
Okay,
charge.
So then, yeah, the 2 rockets over
2
here.
rockets.
See what the rockets do.
Again on 3s.
On
Yeah,
3s,
very
6
definitely on 3s.
explodes.
Very
Oh,
nice.
he gets another rocket.
And then this is gonna be on 3s.
again.
Stratagems on the
rolling
blood
nothing.
drones as well. Oh, yeah, okay.
And then these are gonna be 5-ups.
5s.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I can't
wow,
really
this
see
is
Ooh, that
this
should
today.
be
maybe okay, so
probably
I
a
need to
dead
make sure I do 5
drone.
damage here.
Double
So
1 on
it's
the
like
wound
Yeah.
roll, not a plague weapon. Rerolling.
Oh,
No.
oh.
CP reroll, and that's a fail. Oh dear.
This to die to the Contemptor. Okay.
Oh, that's a whole lot of ones.
Not looking good. And then
4
okay,
does it.
perfect. Wow.
Whew,
Yeah.
that'll do.
Exactly
Just
what we
about perfect
needed.
efficiency.
Alright, cool. So tally does not go
up.
up there.
Nope.
So then now over here, this guy is gonna shoot everything into that. So
That
this
last
is
wound
going
is
to
going to get
be
taken off by a
six
flamer.
shots.
And is that
Yep.
DeathGuard is winning, Moose, and
These
Moose
60
Stradamus,
shots.
that you predicted it.
Is it greedy to reroll? It is not greedy to reroll.
Here we
I
go.
will- no,
Is
I'm
the
not
Flamer
gonna
going to
reroll.
do
In
it?
worst
The
case
Foul
scenario,
Blight
I can
Spawn's a
finish him
demon,
with
I
the
assume.
blowdrone. Again, you can
No,
do
I don't
that
believe
with
he
other
is.
Or is he a
So
started?
these
Okay.
auto
alright.
hit, and then
Yep,
these are going to
so-
be on 3s, rerolling 1s.
No, he is just
no,
a-
so you got Viscous
Yeah,
Death,
just a
yeah.
Plague
3s
Marine
reroll
basically
ones,
with a big flamer.
3s, rerolling 1s.
Okay,
So we're just
size
gonna
doesn't
do
matter.
3
Come
2s.
on, let's not. Oh no.
Just want to. Come on, please.
Reroll.
Please, game. Alright, cool. I should, on
and the
average.
5s.
Oh,
Wow,
and
Down
it
it
goes
goes.
You're not
down.
making any 5s.
Alright, so
Painful
that's,
turn for Mini Mooks.
That's pretty stellar.
Yeah, painful.
Yeah, and
alright.
Seal has managed to get at least 2 of those kills without
Everything, I
using his
got
demon
that,
engine, so
which
that's
is
a big win for
worrisome.
him.
So
Absolutely.
then now we're going to charge phase. So then now
Oh,
we
sorry,
also,
I forgot to score it, but I got. Oh, no, somebody scored it for me. So I got the engage point.
we got little
We got
angels
helpers,
in this
yeah.
guy. Yeah, watch it.
You hear that? You hear that,
Okay,
Pants?
so
You're an
then it's
angel.
going to be the charge into this.
Why am I an angel?
You did his engage points for him.
I did
Is that
disengage points,
the
this is
only
true.
thing you're charging?
Can't trust these
I think that
pesky
is
players to
literally-
sort their
oh,
own
yes,
scoring.
when
I mean, you
I'm
may
only
you may
declaring
say,
this, I'm only declaring.
I was
If I
you know
wanna
coming
get in
along for
combat with
one
these guys, I'm
cast
not
or
gonna
one
charge them
stream,
on
but
consolidate
I'm
until
not going to let
it's
you
something
not
I'm
do
gonna
this from now on
try to consolidate.
because you're so helpful. Just so you know.
Okey-doke.
I just have to make sure I stay out of 6 inches over here.
Yeah, which basically means you're probably not going to be able to. get
So
past this
he's
point.
staying
I'm not gonna be
outside
able
of
to
6
do that
inches.
shenanigan that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Is that
Unless I
because of
got
a
some
stratagem
ridiculously high
or?
charge.
Yes, Fetid Blood Drones have a stratagem to heroically intervene with 6
Yeah,
inches
As I try to stay out of 6 inches.
for 1 CP? Or no, sorry, for 2 CP, I believe.
Still definitely something you want to play around.
No.
Yes, because you don't want one of those things heroically intervening into you.
And
No
because
UCP
of the
turn. It's gonna
mission
stay
being the
for
way it
me.
is,
I mean, yeah, I'm a big believer in that.
I'll put
leaving
some
a
Yeah,
point
put it on
doesn't
the queue, that's
actually
fine, that's
abandon the
fine.
point.
Little thing. Let's be honest. Odds are you're going to make it. Odds are.
Only once
Um,
you've held it in your command phase.
Oh, once
Which
you've
he
held
has
it in your
not
command
yet.
phase, which he hasn't done yet.
Alright,
Okay, so that's
then
fine.
listen to
Yeah, this turn.
I
So,
need
actually putting
5
yourself
for
in
making it.
range where you could get heroically intervene, but without letting him stay on the point, if you could figure out that spot right
Okay,
there,
so
Yeah, that would be pretty
now
good.
That
I
would be-
do,
He's thinking about it.
Looks like that's what he's doing.
So
Moose,
there's
Unfortunately-
no
the
way-
tinted boys to your left
I guess so,
are
right? I come
Seal, and Mini
and
is on the right.
then when I pile in this way, and then I consolidate this way.
Oh, He's
Does that sound reasonable? Are you okay
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
shenanigans?
Potentially, yeah. I know we got to measure it out, but yeah, like
Yeah, yeah.
in the theory behind it.
So
Is
you
okay.
would
So then
pile
just give
into
me 1
this,
inch over here.
and then no problem.
I-
And then
I-
get
I-
on that objective and
just measure
contest
with
that one
the,
instead of this one. Surely this is safer.
Okay, so then
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused by this. It's like, surely if there's something you want to end in combat with, it's a mythic blight hauler, not another blight drone.
Well, I'm sure he
the-
has a reason.
The one argument I can see there is it
Alright,
does
so
put you in the dense cover.
then
Yep.
that is
Very-
4 charges.
very true.
There's literally no legal
That's true. He
limits
doesn't have
to
to
that.
pile
Oh,
into.
and I
Well,
forgot to
yeah,
mention that, but yeah,
very
this guy
interesting. We'll see. We'll have to see what he does.
Yeah, you said that's fine.
Okay, so then fight phase.
Bearing
so
in mind
I
that
will
these
pile in, so then
these
I'm
don't take
point,
the minus
1
penalty
inch
for
away,
dense
so
cover,
this
do
is gonna
they?
End up
Full
0.9.
What don't?
So that would be
This
that, so
fetid
then
bloat
this is
drone here.
3.7, that's 4.2, so then I'll
They
put
don't take the
Uh,
-2 movement, you mean?
Yes.
Yes,
I
no,
mean,
they
no
have
one
one.
takes the
I do
-2
this,
movement in
if I
pile
don't
in and
order this,
consolidate,
totally
but
fine.
yes, they don't ever take
They
it.
don't
because
ever
they
take
fly.
it, and why is that?
Things will go well for me.
Because they fly.
Well,
Like an
difficult
eagle,
ground.
would you say? Ooh, seal pun number 2, ladies and gentlemen.
That's enough.
Just give me average. I'll take 8. Alright, 8
9.
above average, even better. And then this is gonna be on 3s again, re-rolling 1.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only
I'm
the one
happy with
wound to do
everything
here.
that has transpired so far.
It's a
Yep,
good start.
definitely happy.
Oops.
So we're looking for a mere
Uh,
8
yeah.
5-up saves.
Sounds easy.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Okay. there
I've
we
seen
go.
Creeper
Both
do that
sides
to me
that's fine.
multiple times.
Just ask Glad.
Alright, and then I'm gonna come 3 inches this way and touch this point.
Yeah.
And
which
touch the
is
terrain.
good.
So he is going to go in and contest that objective.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a
No.
way.
Oh, is he going to manage it without actually engaging?
Yeah,
He's-
he
yes. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't-
Oh.
That is the
don't wanna be that person.
cheekiest little tiny bit in there.
I don't. Am I not on
Beautiful.
point there?
I
don't
love
think
it.
so.
But that is beautiful
Or am
play.
I? I
Yeah,
can't tell.
fantastic. Well played. Well
I see the
measured.
red
you're
And
not. Yeah,
Okay.
your red turn the circle off.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so then you will get to activate.
Yeah. Now.
Oh,
you're in.
oh
He's
no,
giving
he's
him
not
activation.
managed to
Because
do
the
it.
red
Okay, but he's
circle
gone
is
for it
the-
anyway.
but
Interesting.
your
Yeah.
Thanks, Glenn. I absolutely will.
Go for it,
And
dude.
don't you worry.
Land me.
But I'm not going to force them in. I
will
would never be so
attempt to.
crass.
Right, let's have a look at this. So it's. Oh,
Okay, Moose has asked a
that's
question.
fine.
Do you guys have a list between these
that
two
is
that you
another
like
one for
more? I'll
today.
ask you guys first, and then I'll go
Sure,
for it.
so you get to reroll once now, dude.
As
No,
a
I'll
resident
roll
Death
the
Guard
other
player, what do you reckon,
Baby.
Orion?
Just if you don't roll ones, I don't have
I
to worry about
like
it.
playing
Same as these.
mini
Alright,
mugs'
and then
list
these are
more.
threes,
I
reroll one.
think that in the mirror matchup, Seal's list is all considerably better.
That's pretty good. So then I
Okay.
take 5.
Yeah, that's fair. And Pants, what do you reckon?
I couldn't have put it better myself. I
Uh,
love
Yeah,
drones,
but I've
but
got
this is the
so
wrong
one,
match for me.
two, which probably
Yep.
would be
Even
about
even
The
with the
problem-
Epidemius.
In any case.
Even with
Okay,
Epidemius,
so
the
then
problem is the
round-
drones are
They've
really
got to
thinner.
survive for Epidemius to be,
Yeah.
to be useful for them.
The drones are great into a lot of the meta armies right now. They're really decent into AdMech. They're great into Dark Eldar.
No, I
They're
didn't take the
great into
Custodies?
well, basically all form of elves, to be
I did
honest.
do Rob Entry,
You did
And they're
right.
good into sisters.
Yeah, you're correct.
these
The problem
five
is they are
things were-
terrible. I do mean terrible into
Fine,
Death
I did
Guard.
that in a second. Yeah, cool. Your
Yeah.
turn, dude.
Yeah.
I'll roll for CP.
Although this
Yeah.
blood drone did just take 5 wounds off the one that had to consolidate into it.
No for you, no
No
for
for
me.
you.
No
Alright,
CP.
cool.
The tally is not doing well.
I will answer myself by
right.
saying that
That was a fairly.
I
simple start.
would love to say that I like Moogs' army more with the
was pretty good.
maneuverability and the drones,
Yeah.
and I do,
That's pretty good.
but I'm a sucker for playing defensively with to the last,
Uh,
and then choosing where you want to fight
five.
and having deep striking
that's
stuff
quite good.
coming in. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
going
was
to
about
go
to
with
say, I was
Seal's
thinking
one there. I
Yeah,
think
one.
his list is
Okay,
amazing,
that's slightly better.
which is
Um,
another
Yeah,
Seal
I've-
pun there, by the way. That is a song amazing. Look it up. It's a good song.
not
Anyway,
far
go on.
phased, but definitely so.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think
Okay, so I get 2 for data.
that whilst even in
And,
general, I think that
tally
the
again,
Seals
everything
list
within
is still
range.
very strong and it's still a very strong playstyle for Death Guard.
Okay.
I just find it
Then you
very
get 2 for
dull
data
to play.
intercept, and then is
Like,
this a 1-2 more,
And that's
or
no
a
criticism on the
2 for
list or the
data
people who play it. It's just my, having played it a
yeah, it is,
lot,
yeah, so I've only
Okay,
got
so
five,
I
so
am
you get
bored
five.
of that
Yep.
playstyle personally.
Oh,
So you
that's
get 5
fair. That's
there,
entirely
and then
fair.
you'll get 2 for data
I
intercept.
mean,
That's
I
like
have
assassination.
I have to admit I have a dog in this
That
fight.
was, that's an ambitious one.
Yes,
in
it's
that
feeling it. It's feeling
Seal
that
was the
way.
one who topped my group.
having lost all my
Stomped all
forward
over my
elements,
damage to anti-admech Custodes
I don't
list.
think
So
that's one of the
the
issues
further
with
he
this,
goes,
it's
the better I
broad.
look.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yeah.
fair.
This doesn't score very well. What am I on?
One thing that's going to put a lot of these
Yeah,
Death Guard
one
lists
kill
a bit into a troublesome spot is Thousand
I
Suns
helped
next
with me.
season.
Yeah, you did. I mean,
Those
Because
two are my
Death
kills.
Guard tradition, well, not traditionally, 9th
getting in with
edition
the Contemptor and
Death
then
Guard
the,
do not do
the
well with
that
mortal
was-
that was
wounds.
pretty big.
Yeah,
That's chef's kiss
absolutely.
right there, dude.
Sorry, just to answer
Yeah.
Grandmaster Torch. Yeah, we've got the players on
So,
quite
yeah,
quietly, so when we're
so
quiet,
you'll
they
be
can
able to
talk.
do that.
If it's
There's a lot
messing
of
with
very
you,
tedious
please do
things
let me
to
know. I can
learn.
turn them
Yeah,
down
the first
at
2 to
any
3
point.
turns are always
That's
not
not a
fun.
problem. Please do let me know.
Right.
But yeah, Pats, what do you think about the new Thousand Suns? And what do you think Death Guard's response to
Use
that
plague
might
spell, so
be?
that I have that going for me.
That's
Yeah,
a
but
really
you
good
gotta
question.
focus on the million
I've been
plague
too busy
resist.
thinking about my own response to think about anyone else's.
I
Yeah,
can
but it's
I can
often that
maybe
he's,
talk about it a little bit.
Getting
it's
I've
the second,
I
the
was
second
looking forward
wave
to
as
the
well.
Grey Knights
okay.
Codex more because I love their lore, but
to
to be honest, the Thousand Suns one really inspired me more. It's so interesting and there's so many different things you can do. So I've actually got a Thousand Suns list that I'm
Never.
running in a pod. Right now I've played a couple of games with it and I'm really enjoying it. I think there's so much play there. The mortal wound output can be absolutely bananas, even if you're not building for it. I mean, personally, I like the Cult of Duplicity and the Cult of Time, and I'm running a big alpha brick of Scarabs. I'm running Magnus. I have no regrets. He did nothing wrong. And I've got that Volkite Contempt over the full rerolls. Even though it's not focusing on smiting and what have you, just the ability to use Cabal points to get that extra D3, push the range, have everything going around, reliably doing mortal wounds. It's devastating. I think it's really, really strong. I don't know how Thousand Suns would deal with it. I don't know if they have any deny stratagems or relics, maybe, that they could tech in.
Death Guard, not really, no. Despite being, famously anti-Psyker.
Yeah.
Sort of tempting.
Yeah, that is interesting. It is very much their shtick. Not a fan of the
Basically
Psykers.
it's one of those armies where it's like, there's a lot of shit here that I'd like.
Well, Typhus did nothing wrong, but yeah, they don't like Psykers very much.
But we do have the reroll ones active, so we're gonna call that.
Typhus.
Probably the
What a
most
guy.
important one.
Such a cool
One thing that-
name for such a bella.
I feel like you get the toughest
Anyway,
one
sorry,
for
go on.
everyone more.
One thing that probably
But in this
won't prove
particular
relevant,
case, you should
but
be able to get the
might,
toughness
is the
without
fact that
anyone.
Seal has used 55 minutes of his clock on deployment and turn 1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also, like, basically my entire army.
That being said, Muggs is not far behind him with only an additional 10 minutes going into his turn 2.
Yeah, I had a very similar list. I just feel like you need 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, though.
Oh, they're doing the
Yeah.
Plague Burst Crawler discussion. 2 versus 3.
Vastly disagreeing with you.
I think the difference I did with my list was
2 versus 2.5 now.
I ran a battalion with 3 groups of possessed, and then.
So the question is here,
like,
right?
2
You're in
groups of
Moogs'
cultists and then 1
situation.
group of Poxwalkers. That way you do have that action
sorry.
element
Before we get into that,
it's
Moose,
super hard
just need to run Colexus Assassins in almost any Imperial army.
not
That
to
is
feel
fair.
like if you get the full actions, it sucks.
Interestingly, one of the things to ruin my own army that I'm playing at the minute, T-Suns,
So can you give me
one of the traps that you can fall into is you can think, well, I'll need some denies or something, so I'll take an Inquisitor,
let's just do straight
maybe
line and see what it-
Greyfax,
so put 'em
who
back
has +1 to denies, I
to
believe.
straight line. So if you move
To
7,
get in that
so
ability
best
to
case
prevent some
scenario, if he was
powers.
able to go straight, it
But
would
the
be
problem
9, so
there
I would
is
assume
that
you'd be
at that
least
point,
Wrath of
2
Magnus.
going around this.
yeah, exactly. There's the secondary that the Thousand Suns have, where if you have a Psyker,
Why was
they can take a
Why am I getting
secondary
this?
that
Yeah.
every
Oh,
time
yeah,
they
3D?
kill more models in the psychic
yeah,
phase
no, you
with
just
mortal
got
wounds than
Poxwalker.
you, which they will,
Okay.
they get
Always will.
always
Okay.
will.
Like
They get
points
3
on
victory
top of
points,
that,
and
so like
interestingly, it's models,
maybe
not
like
units.
a 9.
So you can kill
Yeah,
3
it's-
Poxwalkers with a
Put 'em
smite
out.
and
Put 'em out where
or
you want
4,
'em to go.
and suddenly the other Psyker
It's
has
the
no
issue is
chance
I'm
of
not
matching
sure
that.
if I can get. Hold on, let me just get rid of these.
Yeah, it's incredibly effective. I don't think there's been a game in my practice games with Thousand Suns where I've taken that secondary
So
and
straight
not
line
scored
would be an
15
8
on it.
there,
Yeah, it's
then you would
crazy.
have to
Assassins
this
don't
is
count. Well, the
like
Colexus on
counts this.
Psykers, so yeah, that's why it's. I'm saying I'm
So
agreeing with you.
1.5
It's such a good
there,
tech.
and then from here- Yeah,
Very
1.5,
interested to
so
hear
if
your
you got- it's
reliably
gonna be
scoring
like
15. I
9.7,
kind of assumed
so
that
you
you
lose
reliably
9.
score 12. Did
Well, yeah,
you-
it's reliably
And then
scored
minus
max.
2
Sorry,
would be
yes.
11.
But I don't get.
I always forget it's 12.
Oh yeah,
I'm-
that's right.
I'm-
those
I-
are
No,
all-
you
these
can
are
score
actually
15. It's
combined.
just
Yeah.
if I were against Wrath of Magnus, I'd be trying hard
Boys
not to give them
possessed.
anything to smite turn one.
Worst case
And
scenario,
there
they
are-
charge and we got a
Well, the list I'm running makes it very difficult to avoid that.
Fair enough.
Because Cult of Duplicity plus the Teleport Relic
Umbrillific Crystal.
allow for some shenanigans, and then with Warp Sight and all that kind of thing, it's very difficult to stop if you want to do it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So, despite my claim that it was a challenging charge, they're going for it anyway. Possessed are going to try and take out the Obsec over here.
So what?
Yeah, I think it's definitely. I mean, it's difficult to say, but I think it's the right call.
So we're talking about what, a 9-inch charge here?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not guaranteed. It might even be 10.
I think it's a 10.
But let's talk about Moogs here and his response to that turn, because that was actually a pretty devastating turn from Seal.
All these
Obviously,
hands,
he's
get
done
outta
what he
here.
needs to do,
Yeah.
which is push
Grubby
forward
little hands.
and hope that the shoot back from Seal wasn't that large, but obviously it has been. So how does he now adapt? Obviously, it looks like he's going for a slightly bomby charge, which I think, to be honest, is kind of your only option for those possessed. You don't want them sitting around there doing nothing. You don't want to go across for the fetid bloat drone, because then they're stuck in the corner not doing anything, and it will take them 2 turns to get back up this way. So is he kind of boxed into that situation, or?
Sorry, Kool-Aid man.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have very many options. He has to hold these 3 objectives he's on right now. So he has to take out this fetid bloat drone, but he can't commit the possessed there, because the possessed need to keep moving forward and being a threat to the honestly to the while we stand,
Yeah.
or to the
Yeah,
last
exactly.
points.
You-
Because
Yeah.
if he just lets him have the
That's fine,
15
tell
points
me.
for
Scrawler,
to the last,
Contemptor.
it's going to be a very difficult game, because he's
Yeah.
not going to be able to score all the secondaries he wants to this game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
if his gambit on taking early
Yeah.
primary control had worked and he could have taken an early lead there, he might have been able to afford to leave those Plague Burst Crawlers alive to the end, but now it's failed and we're into the attrition game on primaries. There's no way he wins with a 15 on to the last.
And we've got to be worried about the Death Shroud coming down.
Yeah,
Because-
absolutely.
Because we're running out of units a little bit. Engage, how are we scoring that this turn? By making the charge, it looks like.
Yeah, that would appear to be the plan.
So, I mean, this can often be the case when you have a list that's designed to go forward and go fast. List design comes into it, you've got tanky units that are hard to kill and what have you, but if someone's got a list that can
I don't
put
know,
out the volume and the
technically,
threat
can
of
you do
fire into
Oh, no,
you,
fuck the
like
walls, the walls,
like
yeah,
Seals
yeah.
does,
Yeah.
and the rolling goes
Sorry,
well,
sorry.
that often puts you in a really bad spot.
8, 8. So it's about 8.2 about here.
Straight away, and you don't
Something like that,
often
yes.
have necessarily a fallback plan.
Yeah, because we said this was a.
But
Yeah, we said that was a 5.
he's still got a lot of tools to use.
Let's leave him there.
Well, yeah,
for the
can
You'll
moment.
just
Keep it all
remind
or
you
nothing.
that despite having temporarily removed them, those flaws in that ruin do still exist, and the Demon Prince can't just phase through them.
Plague Burst Crawler's coming.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's a demon. He can
Yeah,
do
so the
anything.
bases, I think, are over an inch, so I think you're fine. Yeah, these are some fatties.
I would love for this demon prince to fling himself forward into the other
Yeah, just
demon
tell me which
prince, and
wonders you
let's have a
want
demon
to
prince off.
watch for, so you get an idea.
Yeah, well,
One here,
Hellforged
here.
Sword versus Double Talons. I think
Yeah,
I'll
so
take the
this will probably
Hellforged
be all
Sword.
covered 'cause
Yeah.
of all those other guys.
That's
So
true.
this, even this is still covered here.
Hard to kill this particular
Yeah,
death
yeah,
prince,
yeah.
demon prince. I threw an Alaris bomb into him and didn't kill him.
Done.
It's very upsetting.
This would be the closest you would be able to get.
Demon prince duel.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to advance the Playcaster.
Playcaster's advancing.
5.
10.
Yeah.
And that Plague Burst Crawler has ensured that no Death Shroud are going to turn up and rod in that quarter this turn.
This
It's
might.
good.
Yeah, it doesn't. This closest visible.
I
one
forgot.
is-
I should have
You can't see this guy.
maneuvered this guy. Which one is,
Do we know who rodded
got
first turn?
12 inches of movement.
I presume it was the
But I
cultist in
didn't, so
the.
that's fine. Do I fall him back?
Did he even rod
I
on
think
first
he
turn?
didn't rod
Yeah,
first
I
turn,
don't
because I think he needed the cultist to data intercept.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, they're not 6 inches away
If you
from
don't fall
the.
back, I get
middle
to
Exactly.
fight
border.
first, Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
That does leave you limited in turns.
Smite in 2 casts.
Yep.
Am I in?
But the
denial
cultists at the top will be
range?
able to rod this turn,
Yeah,
while the
so-
cultists at the bottom data
you would
intercept,
have
and
two
then
smites,
if
right?
those red cultists at
Yeah,
the top
that's fine.
survive
It
again,
depends.
they can
It
then do
depends
the
on how you
data
position
intercept,
this guy.
and
If you
their
get on the side of the wall,
green
then you won't be able to
friends
see him, but yeah,
can rod over
you have
that.
that play.
Doom Prince
Yeah, I
going
think
along
that
to
actually-
support.
That solidifies the idea of having him.
Hold
back
that
here.
objective,
Okay, perfect. And now you're gonna perils, and then
back
that's all
up the
gonna go
Mephitic,
disasters to
and
the wrong.
kill that bloke
Yeah,
drone.
well, could well happen. Curse of Leopard's not gonna happen. So
The only thing is, you are within deny range. Over here.
yeah, you got 1.
Yeah.
I think I have to give you the 1,
Alright.
and hope that I've got 2 smites plus hopefully 2 pestilential fallouts. So I've got some options.
Now there's space for the Death Shroud to arrive in the bottom right.
Yep.
And then this is gonna go. Okay,
The
so
question
I think
is
we're
whether,
gonna-
I mean, sometimes you do say with these what is it, 170 point unit Death Shroud?
probably that's 2 inches
Uh,
for
they're
the rotate.
Yeah, they're 150. They're 50 points per
To
model.
get to swing
150
glass
point
around the
unit. You
corner.
know, they come
Okay,
in on
one
the
inch of
board
movement,
edge,
so
they
that's
rod,
3.
and then
So I've got
they
6.
don't really move anywhere with the slow movement speed. But they don't really need to do anything other than threaten that objective, and
Exactly.
and they've done
It's
enough
gonna
in
be
the
a-
game.
That bit here.
A real headache
So
for Mooks to
battalion
have them
is going a
arrive
little bit here.
rod in a quarter that he's trying to own before he can really own it,
Yeah.
and then threaten one of the objectives that he desperately needs to hold.
Yeah.
Okay, so those guys only move 2 inches.
Yeah, I think one of the
Yeah, and
problems
they're
is
gonna
these
advance
Mephitic
if they
Blight
need
Haulers
to.
aren't really going to be able to get much done versus this list.
Actually, let's just
Um,
roll their advance now. 'Cause they're not
Realistically, what they want to be doing is they want things to be coming at them.
Okay,
Yep.
so they've got 7 inches. He's just moved 2.
Because they're not quite, I mean, they are fast, but because of the fact they don't have fly, they have to go around everything.
Yep.
Again,
So they're not
again,
quite fast enough usually to be able to get where they need to in, a
Get the old profile up there.
reasonable amount of
Okay.
time.
Yep.
Denial envelope. He's fine.
Well, they do have weaponry that can put hurt on Plagueburst crawlers.
They do, but it's taken them, 2 turns to get into range, and even then, they're
Some shaky,
in Melta
shaky
range, but
features.
not in Melta range.
So it looks like
Melta.
Yeah.
it's
This
doing
guy's
what
holding
we
everything
feel
there,
like
so
we
it's
have
fine.
to do if we're Moog surely
He's
here
my
to,
boy.
to
Yeah,
get the
that's what
win,
he's
which
thinking.
is
Absolutely
get that
fantastic.
possessed bomb in and threatening the Playburst crawlers who can't get away, and suddenly we're in there causing problems, killing them,
Yeah,
15
and-
down, and that's the route to victory here, it seems.
Well, actually,
And at least the Mephitic Blight Haulers, multi-meltas, and missile launchers are rerolling ones now because of that second tally.
Yep, that's true.
Okay, that's
Epidemia's coming in big.
Shooty.
Orion, is it yourself who can set up the poll, or is it someone else?
So we
No,
start
that
off
is,
with mind bullets
I think I can, but it aggressively does that.
onto your,
Okay, all right. I don't know if aggressive you're here
so
still
smite
watching,
can
but
be referenced onto
Rurik
So, time out,
Faes,
who's doing,
if I pronounced
data
your name
intercept?
wrong, I do apologize.
Oh,
Likes to think that when Death Guard fight, it's because they know which stinky cheese Papa loves most. I'd be interested in finding out which stinky cheese we all think Papa loves most, whether you're talking a Gorgonzola, or you're talking a Brie, Camembert, something even worse. And by worse, I mean better.
Let's have a little quick look see.
But if aggressive isn't here, that's not a problem.
Am I
do the
gonna-
skull.
If you've got any
No,
ideas,
I'm
chuck
not-
them
I'm
in
not doing
chat.
the skull
I'm
now.
interested to hear it.
Cool.
Also, I think he's out of range for the skull in any case he is.
Yeah. Alright, so then now we're going
Cool.
for smite.
What do you
Smite
reckon,
for
Pants?
Demon Prince.
Smiting's going on, that's what I reckon.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Smite does go off from the Demon Prince, but it's not a. It's
Seven
only a
is
7,
average,
and
Heavy
there is a
denied.
deny
7
range.
is average.
Thank you for the follow, Zeldor. Appreciate
so
it.
then
Good to
what
have
am I
you.
hoping for? I'm hoping that you would roll a 6 or a 5.
7 is the
on
blessed number, let's not
Winged
forget that.
Plaguecaster.
It is the blessed number. And you'd have to get an 8 to beat the
Yeah,
blessed number.
I'll go
Which is
ahead and
tough.
try to deny the 7.
He is going to try and deny it.
8 on the dice.
So I need 8 on dice.
No.
Gets another
blessed
7.
number.
Alright, just give me one mortal wound.
Does the one
I
hold
don't like you.
Nice.
You're
You're
very
a
good at telling the
nice guy.
dice, telling what to do.
What a
So
nice-
Took a
we're gonna have
mozzarella. I
smite
do
with
love a
the,
mozzarella.
Playcaster.
Buffalo.
Mozzarella,
It's
the
a
very
7,
stinkiest
not
of
range.
cheeses.
Depends
It
how
is
long you
well
leave it
known
out
for its
for.
pungency.
Yeah.
Another one.
Depends how long you leave it out for, guys. Any cheese can, but yes, that's a
So
fair
2
point.
is
Good
down
blue
to 1.
cheese. So what are we
And
talking
then
about,
we'll
Bleach?
do
Stilton?
Master
Are we getting
Pestilence.
English?
No.
So here you
I'm
need
a
to
good
say
fan of a nice Epoisse, which is a.
Plus. Yes.
Reroll. roll.
a very,
Punish
very
him.
stinky cheese.
Punish. Give him 5. Alright,
Fuck's
I'll
sake.
take the 40. I'm all on this, dude. I'm all for this.
It's taken
Yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of psychic.
it
And
appears it's gonna
still
be one of those
standing.
days. The dice
Still standing,
will
but
maybe come back
should
at
be
some point.
real. I was just about to say it should be relatively easy for him to kill it now, but he would have to look at charging his Death Guard Demon Prince into that, so that he doesn't get swung back into first.
But he can always
Two-
charge in, kill it, and then consolidate away back towards these
so
mythic
then
blight
shoot
haulers
Yeah,
down the
he
front.
absolutely can.
So it shouldn't be
Kill my
too
boy
bad.
Green.
He is out of
Monster,
range.
monster's a good shout.
Unless you pay 1 CP.
Yeah.
You got rockets here if you don't want to use CP.
If you don't like it, you're a
Yeah.
monster.
Over here.
Ooh.
So here's another question: where's Disgusting Force going this turn? Do you think it's going back into the Plagueburst Crawlers?
I reckon so.
It's pretty
That's
close.
where you want to get your damage, I think.
So you can see with both of these, but they're both out of range.
I
and
would
mortar's
be
on range
waiting
with
to see what the Blight
SCP.
Haulers
These
achieve
guys are range,
first.
got rockets.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
So I think we're. I think
Especially
they're
because
agreeing
there
that
is a line of sight from this
Somebody
Plagueburst
roll
Crawler
or
with the
something.
entropy cannons into that Chaos Contemptor Dreadnought, and it is in
Love
range.
to see that Dreadnought go down.
He's
Yeah.
out. Okay.
Because that's a big threat to his list right now.
Ugh. Where can we get some kills?
You know what's great with the Volkite Contemptor Dreadnought? Full Chapter Master rerolls. It's
Yeah.
a shame that there's no way to.
So we are going
do that
to
outside of
put,
Primarchs.
One very cunning thing that Plagueburst Crawler has achieved is it has actually
Start with
completely
Plagueburst
blocked line of
Crawler.
sight on the
Wait, we're
Poxwalkers
going
behind it.
Master
Oh,
Dead.
fantastic! That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's one advantage of Plagueburst Crawler. It is a literal wall.
Here's a question: Who's
So we're going
who's
to put
doing Vital
the
Intelligence this turn?
entropy cannons into the Contemptor.
This one over
Um,
here with this guy?
it
Yeah.
could be
Okay,
Epidemius.
so both entropies into the
Makes
contemptor.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly solid shout. It's probably going to be Epidemius.
Yeah, I think we're going to put everything.
I don't think you're wasting.
Okay.
I mean, Epidemius has nothing else to do. That's the reality. He sits there, he counts things, and he,
Okay, so
How did the
Into-
Tallyman
entropy
take a win?
mortars and
Yeah.
then slug.
I believe he perils his summon.
Yeah.
So disgusting force.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, dude. Spend 2 CP again.
Here we go. Disgusting Force going on the Dread
Yeah, I know,
from
but
that
you're gonna
Plagueburst
get a
Crawler.
one and then you're gonna reroll it, is what I'm saying.
Minus
So he
one
is
to
going to
hit.
try and take out that Contemptor, yep.
So let's have a green die for the
Mortars.
Morses. So Morses into the Contemptor. How many? Okay.
Oh.
Your weird demon control of the dice roller has stopped. Okay, so looking for 4s but rerolling 1s.
It's okay.
Okay,
No
I
ones.
have got the splash. And then 3s rerolling 1s.
All 3
Okay, so all
wounds.
goes
Sounds good.
through.
Alright, so I need a whole bunch of 5s here. At least 1 5. 1 red 5, please.
No
Ooh.
saves.
So
Does he go for the CP?
Those all go
I
through.
did not reroll. Pass it over to me. Do I care if he dies?
That's not a
Slot-
guaranteed kill, but it's a
slot
solid chance of one.
Particularly with the damage.
Yeah, well,
reroll.
it's minimum 2 damage.
Least 1 3 up on 2 dice.
Yep.
So it's 4, 8. Oh, sorry, 3, 6, and then 8. So it's a minimum of 8. He only has to do 2 damage.
Yeah,
Sorry,
like I
roll.
said,
Yeah,
a 3
yeah.
up on either of those 2 dice.
Yeah, no, that's,
The question is, can I have
But do you roll it for the, what is that,
live?
33% chance to ignore it?
I think you do.
Oh man, so
It would be really tempting. And being on 7 CP, there's not that much else that can go into this. He'd force an entire other mortar onto it just to
to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest,
try and take off that
Contemptor
last
is
wound.
not that good in
I think it's
I
worth
think
the
you're right.
point.
So
But the
I'll-
question is there anywhere else he wants to re-roll
Yeah,
the shooting
counters
phase that
and
might be more
ones.
important?
That's how we're gonna do it.
Maybe with the multi-melter into the Plagueburst Crawler, which is why he's
Yeah.
spending it. Oh, and that's a bad miss.
That's
regular
a very
explosion.
dead dread.
That-
Don't even
So,
need
yeah,
to
regular explosion.
Oh,
Oh.
And it
Oh,
explodes!
and
He
it explodes
explodes as
And also
well.
there's a splash, right?
it's gonna be a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a splash as well. Now, an explosion on these things isn't very
Yeah,
big.
they
It's
do
only
3
1
or
within
they-
3 inches, if I
uh,
remember rightly.
Yeah, but we'll still
they're
kill a
just
cultist and it'll damage the Tallyman.
Importantly,
one.
doesn't that mean that the
Alright,
Tallyman could go down to
so,
the Disgusting Force?
fuck you, and
No, it's only
It's only a
One
mortal
more.
wound, is it? It's not D3
Yeah.
on a
Then
floor. Okay, fair enough. That
So
makes
for the
sense.
splash damage, because that was the disgusting force,
Yep.
Tallyman, does he take another morsel?
Takes a
Oh,
wound.
that's the Tallyman halved.
Cultist on the green, also take a morsel.
Actually, time out. This guy was in cover. Let's leave this guy in cover, just in case that's irrelevant. This guy was on the point, so he can't go. So it's gotta be.
It doesn't really matter anyway. No,
Yeah,
because
you
you've
got- I
still got the
mean,
point with that guy.
He's thinking
Yeah,
don't pull the
yeah.
guy who's on the point, which makes sense in his
Actually,
general
this
good
guy.
play, but frankly, that
Let's get
fitted
away
bloat
as
drone's not going
far
down
as-
anyway,
yeah, you know what?
so
We
it
can
doesn't
do
make
the
that
two
much
I
of a
did.
difference.
So 2 died. And
No,
then one
but
was
It's good.
it's always
Good
good to
point.
have extra things on points for unexpected
The
situations.
dice are
Yep,
back on your
absolutely, for
side.
sure. Completely agree with
It
that.
is more important, though, to
And then the
maintain
Tally
lookout
goes
sur protection on the Tallyman.
That's true.
Tally
It's
Duggar
his-
does go up, so now
And those 2 wounds could go
Tallyman
very
should
quickly.
be Tallyman should be on 2 wounds right now, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep, he is.
Hit, threes,
Or should
full
be.
wound.
He should be.
Okay, 6s. 2 wounds from what?
So that was the sluggers from this guy.
Oh, did you do
He
a
rolled
mortal
for it.
with the?
The splash damage, yeah.
Okay, yep. Sounds good.
And these guys, so both took
Okay.
splash damage.
Now let's
Okay,
bear
yeah,
in
so
mind
that's what
here
you guys
that
did here. Okay,
Minimoves
that's
has
good. And then you
assassinate.
killed
Exactly.
Three
Which is
Yep.
why it's so important to protect that Tallyman.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Why not? 1, 2. What do we got over here?
Assassination,
I
Indonesia.
don't really want them doing.
12 inches.
But no, that was a very
Plus 3.
critical play, really, that went very, very much in Minwok's favor. So I think it's statistically
I think
unlikely
I
that he
need
gets the
PvP
kill there.
to,
Yep.
Yep.
might deal with
But
that.
sometimes you got to go for things.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think he was expecting a kill. I think he was just hoping to hurt it enough that he could maybe mortar it down with the other one.
Unlikely that with
most likely.
2 frag missiles and
But we do play a
another
dice
mortar,
game.
there's a decent
anything can
chance I might
happen
kill
within the
those
realms of the
cultists, but
dice.
not a great chance. And also, does it really change things that much? Not really. I think I need to kill some of your other shit.
Discussing what to do with these blight
Sort of.
haulers.
I do need rod over here, so these cultists are actually really important because I don't really want to do data intercept with.
If they're talking about
anyone
rodding,
else,
they can't. They're not within 6.
Well, I was more thinking if I could try and kill the green
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Right? That's.
But you just
Well, they'll be able to
fly.
move before they run.
Yeah.
So
Just
do
something
we
to bear in mind.
cower? Yes, I think we could use cower for the moment. So I think we're probably going to have to put the entropy cannons into the fresh guy.
Blue one.
I will start with the PVC.
Yeah.
Entropy cannons into blue. And where does the mortar go now that he doesn't have a contemptor to kill because he did too well already?
Quite tempted to put the mortar into these green.
I mean-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'd probably be going into the green poxwalkers just because there are 3 of his characters around there.
Yep.
Assassinate is going to require that those poxwalkers go down.
Which is why there's the -1 to hit on him.
6.
They are -1 to hit.
But
They
it
are
sounds
minus
like
one
he's
to hit,
doing the
yeah,
same thing.
That sort of
And
puts a nice little.
But they are
that-
blast, and
cool.
it was
Exactly.
a,
Okay, right, we're
it's a
gonna put
guaranteed 6 hits with the mortar,
Yep.
or
into
6
the
shots with the
back.
mortar, rather.
I'm going to put the other guns.
Basically, everything that he might consider shooting is -1 to hit. So.
this is
Yes,
true.
exactly.
But it looks like he's going for green PBC.
So,
I'm not entirely sure I like that decision, but I can understand why he wants to get rid of it. I mean, it's a 5-point
Two
swing if he
shots.
Very
kills it.
solid. On 4s.
2 shots.
Reroll
rerolling
once.
the 1.
Real ones.
Okay, cool.
Hold it.
Epidemia's not coming in big there. Entropy
Is
cannons.
the guy at the front in Thingamy?
Neither.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
he is.
Okay, cool. Well, cheers for that, mate.
That's good. Dice
and
don't like you
his-
anymore.
No.
Sluggers.
had
Okay,
the,
these are the heavies. These are the
Swing on the
heavies.
dreadnought and the roundabout on the PVC.
Yep.
That's where I
And
get
then
my
5s.
5s and 6s.
Okay. This is a 4-up.
Yep.
This is a 4-up.
Loves
Oh, wait.
Loves it.
Indestructible blue.
So it's where these
Yeah,
blight haulers go
so-
that's interesting. Next.
They didn't do anything though. We'll
Yeah, I
put
mean, there's
2
plenty of
blast
options
guns
for
into
'em.
These guys.
2 black. Can you
Good
see
lord,
him?
is
I don't think you can.
surely he's not actually going to shoot red poxwalkers, is he?
Can I see from the top?
He
of
might.
the thing? No, probably not.
No, you can't even see them, so
What?
that would be...
Yeah.
Blast guns aren't going to be effective anywhere else.
But even if he could see them, it would be a terrible idea if he wants to charge with his possessed.
Well, I think he was going to say the bile starts are going to go into them.
Just the two
Let's just have a
rockets and the
little look
meltas.
over here and see
Yeah,
what we
Melter
can
here.
see.
Oh, you
rockets
can
into
do
green.
melt on red if you want.
Doesn't look
Just one of the-
like it to me.
Yeah.
No melt.
So 4 Melter into blue rather, and the 2 rockets into green.
So 4 melt into
So
blue.
he's doing Melter into the blue one,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
the
4
unharmed
Melter
one in
into
front, and sending his
Let's get a
crack
bunch of ones
missiles
and
into the
twos.
green one.
Alright, twos are
Well, that's
good.
considerably better shooting already.
Yep.
4s.
Okay. Cool. Alright, so these are 5-ups.
Oof, fails on both.
Ooh, 2 melters go through.
So then these are what?
Just D6.
each. No, I want to save my green boy, dude. I don't want to get one shot by a rocket, so.
Yep,
Okay.
not
Give me
going
damage,
for
give me
the
your wars.
CP.
Okay,
Okay,
so
This is
5
gonna
damage.
be 1.
4
and
damage.
then
4
this is gonna
damage.
be 3.
It's okay. It's not much.
1, 2,
It's a start.
4. Cool.
Yep,
I'm okay.
every little helps.
Yeah.
Ah, I see
and
you've been
then
shopping at Tesco.
Rockets.
Okay, that one misses.
I legitimately thought that was Asda, but yeah,
That
okay.
one also misses.
Was
Pretty good.
Dawn French for Tesco, wasn't it? I think. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, you're right.
That's Asda price.
Yeah, yeah.
And pat your ass.
I don't know. I don't think I would.
Wait,
CP
when you say pat your
because
ass,
need
do you
a
mean
6
you
to
pat
kill
your
it.
own ass, or
So
everyone has to
really,
pat my
Yeah,
ass?
it was more
Very
the
unlikely.
I
Sadly, I
mean-
mean, you have to pat your own
continued
ass.
shit that you need.
God damn it.
While
You never really, you never
tilting
really
it to the
map
camera
yourself with
suggestively.
one-shot
Excellent.
crawlers, it's more about.
Do they still run those adverts?
I don't think
They're
so.
alive at the moment.
I'd be amazed if they could get away with it these days.
Yeah.
We've got 4 wounds there.
Alright, so then
Yeah.
charges.
Charge phase.
I also suspect
so this is
Iceland
a
might have changed their
minor,
old,
but
so that's why
the
mums go to
Yeah, I
Iceland.
think
Yeah.
9 seems fairly
Probably.
reasonable.
So
So
we are. I
8 and
think
a
we're
half
looking at a
here,
9 here, right?
and then another half-inch.
Yeah, I think it's a 9.
Yeah.
9 is-
Yeah, yeah, I thought so.
Let's just
So,
roll it. If you get a 9,
what he
then we
gets.
gotta
Yeah.
be a pain in the ass about it.
That
If
is-
you
Hope he
don't
gets
get
through.
nine
That
pat,
is
then we don't have to worry about it at
Not
all.
a 9.
Actually, hold up.
It's nearly as far away from a 9 as you can possibly be.
Do you want to reroll?
I think
that?
you do re-roll this.
You're gonna bring these fuckers back. It's a very easy tag. There's gonna be quite a lot of.
It just depends on how many you kill and how many you get
Yeah, I
in
mean, if the
combat.
possessed don't get in,
'Cause right now they're at a good number.
then he's going to lose that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you.
I could mute and strain.
You have
and
to- you
respond.
have
That being said, Mephitic Blighthaulers are not like slouches in
Yeah,
melee
it's mutant
combat.
strain that's the
Sure,
issue
so
with
they're going to
it.
kill some boxwalkers. It'll be too late.
You need a density
This is true.
of numbers, so you need the strain to be
Yep.
good.
Yep.
But the idea would be that if I manage to wipe them.
I mean, I think for the measly cost
14,
of 1
how many attacks did
CP.
you get? 4.
36.
Well, that is a third of his remaining CP.
Oh dear. Yeah.
No,
It is, and mutant
Uh,
strain is
I-
still a threat.
Oh, you only have 9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
He's going for it.
36, Maybe.
He's going for it.
Maybe like
I think it has
28.
to be done.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh.
No.
No.
That's it.
Blessed number.
CP and reroll. So I think that is unless.
It's a disaster. Yeah, alright, now I'm gonna murder this guy. I'm gonna do 9 damage. And
So
live.
no engage.
So we're gonna have
That
to
is
go into
sad.
the drone,
Yep.
with the Demon Prince.
7-inch charge.
Okay, there's not
Here we
anything
go,
I can
blessed
do about
number.
that 'cause he doesn't suffer, right?
No.
He
Ooh.
doesn't
dear.
suffer bubonic.
Correct. Failed that.
Okay, well, never
That
mind,
was
that
indeed
was-
the countdown timer. You get all the
Yeah,
references on
yeah,
this
so
stream,
he can't
Rick.
charge. These guys did not advance.
They did not.
They could come back, and he didn't advance. But I can do.
That is an
actually
issue,
those
and
guys.
those possessed are out in the
yeah,
open
so
a
I'm
bit,
gonna
so
have
the
to-
PBCs
I'll do
can
this.
kind of inch to the side
I'll
and start
put
shooting
one
them
CP to
if
get
they want
lucky.
to.
Yeah, fair.
Let me get lucky, please.
I mean, I think at least 2 of them already have shots lined up.
So you needed a 6 minus 2.
Yeah,
and
that's
8,
true.
and you got a
And
7.
it's going to be raining mortars.
So I think that's.
And I imagine
Okay,
Moogs is
so
similar
I'll
to
fight first.
Seal in that he can't stand the rain.
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna one-shot this
So-
blood drone.
That and also the plague bursts have kind of run out of good targets for their mortars a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
that
gonna
was
make much of a
just for
difference, but
everyone who's
to
counting.
get
That
the
was the fourth
pile in,
incredible Seal pun this stream.
I think the
Good
only
song.
shenanigan I would want to do is I would want to come over here to make sure I can consolidate into that.
Yes, indeed, it was a shame about Sean
What
Locke.
am I? I'm like at exactly 0.9.
Yes,
so I'm gonna end up
that
at
is a
0.8.
shame.
Can you measure me 0.8?
Yeah.
And make sure you pass it over to me because I'm using your time. 0.8.
Yep.
So like that. Okay, and then I won't be able to get in. So okay, it's not
So he
too bad.
didn't
Fortunately,
charge
although
it.
this is
So
cost
12 on
Moogs a bunch of
threes.
wounds on his
Rerolling
drone,
nothing. That is very good.
it's
And
going to
then
be
on
very difficult for
threes,
that for
rerolling
Seal's drone
ones,
not to
that
go
is
down
not
in this
as
combat.
This is
good.
true. I always thought that he
But I'll
charged the
take 6 damage
Mephitic one
possibly
in.
4. You missed
Rerolled one
one.
of those. Yep.
Okay, cool. So he takes 5. It's pretty good.
5 wounds.
You thought he would charge the Mephitic Blighthaulers into the
So
float
then
drone?
now,
It's just 1 wound, right?
I will.
Yeah, but it's going the
What do you
opposite
got here? I
direction
want
from
you
where he
to
wants to be
move.
going.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
just
I
he
can
measured
suggest
it,
something in
and
there. So I'm
I
just
thought he
gonna
was
come
going
up
to do that.
base
Yeah,
here.
I think he was debating it, and he was
Close
just,
it all,
yeah, I
which
don't know.
means I should be maybe able to squid some death shroud over here. Okay, so I'll pass it over to you. So you get your
Okay.
12 attacks, rerolling
12
ones,
attacks.
killing my boy.
Rerolling the ones
Oh,
because
baby,
of
that's a lot of ones.
Epidemius.
very good.
Oh,
Only 6
crap.
hits. That's a lot of
That's
wounds.
pretty good. Alright, so I just need you to
It's
roll
not that
fast.
many.
I got
4
this, dude, no
wounds.
problem. Oh.
Lucky it was down to 1.
That was close.
He
Alright,
goes
cool.
down.
So he doesn't matter if he explodes, so see you later. So then
No,
you get
and I
one more on the
can't.
tally.
Yeah, I've already done it. Yeah.
And you would have to move this way.
So
so
the
he's just
reason
gonna
for
stay where
the
he is.
explosion
Yep.
not being rolled there is, correct me if
And
I'm
then
wrong,
at the end
because
of
the explosion
everything,
doesn't hit
morale, I owe
Nurgle
you morale
units.
That's
on
it.
Yep.
these three
And,
guys, 'cause
friend or
they
foe?
are the worst.
Yeah,
So
so
they
with the
lost
tally now
2,
going up to
so
4,
they fell
Fail
on a
5.
4.
not only do they hit
Right.
reroll hit rolls of 1,
Oh, wait,
their
wait,
move,
wait,
all
wait,
the
wait.
Nurgle demon
To
units
make it
have
easier
+1
for
to their
this round,
move,
just keep killing ones closest to the
and now
center.
also +1 to their
And
strength.
they
And
are
they'll be able
above
to move
hash.
it off anyway.
Yeah,
Gee
yeah.
golly, wouldn't you have liked to get
So
Summon a
7.
One
one more
more.
on that tally for +1 to toughness?
+1 to
Oh,
toughness
yeah.
would have been huge.
Oh my god, fuck you
If he
guys.
could have gotten the possessed in there and wiped that Poxwalker skull.
That's the thing. Like, yeah,
Oh.
Oh, look at this.
That's the thing that you
Look at
went
this
on.
morale failure.
Oh,
Like, it's
jeez.
all fine. That's all they're gonna need.
That
Alright,
tally
cool.
man is
So
out in the
that's the
open.
end of morale.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, I mean, it is
I
about
don't
to be
think
Seal's turn,
Yeah.
so that's not
engage.
engage, where were you at? Not here, not here, not here. Okay, so nothing to engage, and then anything else. Assassination, nope. Okay, cool. So pass it over to me. Bloop.
bit of a sad
So
turn for
then
Moogs there,
I
scoring only 5 on
control
primary and 2 on data intercept.
3.
Yeah.
You
No
also
engage, no
control
assassinate.
3. So
Yeah,
I
it's
cannot
a
control more, but I will
little
get
bit
10,
rough.
and then I will get 3 for data
3 for
intercept.
data intercept for Seal.
Okay.
And he
So
still has
Seal
that
start.
15
I
on
don't
to
have
the
anyone that
last
gets
sitting
+1
in the
to hit,
bank.
'cause,
That was
that's
exactly
the
what
thing.
I was going to say. That is
It
the big
works. The question is,
elephant
do I
in the
want
room.
to do
Big mortar-bearing demon engine in the
whatever
room.
the fuck it's called. Mutants.
Yeah, the
Well, I do
question
want
is,
those
how
on
does he
property.
protect
I will
them?
pay
How
1
does he
CP
keep
for
them
that, but we
alive
both
for the
need to
rest of the
roll
game?
for CP since we did not
Now,
get it.
here's a question. Do
I
you...
got it.
Obviously, we're looking at Rod
I take
with
these dice, those are
the
good dice.
Death Shroud and bringing them down probably in that
Do you
bottom
get
right-hand
it?
corner there,
You
where
do
we
as
know there's a
well.
bit of
So
space.
then I will
Is
spend
there an
CP
argument to be made
res
for bringing
Poxwalkers.
down a unit of Death Shroud in your deployment
76.
zone, screening out those
There we
PVCs
go,
from the
so
possessed
not
next turn,
bad. So I get
assuming you
3.
can't
I'm okay
shoot
with
them all to
that.
death?
So
Well,
then
exactly. I think
just need to
plan A is probably shoot them all to death.
Yeah.
And also, you've still got the Poxwalkers who are going to be likely pushing into them with mutants
Yeah.
during this turn.
So the question is...
I think the Poxwalkers are going the other way. I think they want to tie up the Blighthaulers and get on that objective.
There's
Well,
certainly
they will,
two good
but
players.
Everything already
I think
puts you
if the
on
shooting the
invuln
possessed
because these guys are
fails, the
in
Poxwalkers will be
cover
there as
save.
backup.
It would help me with
Yeah,
these
with
guys.
pilot and consolidation maneuvers, you
Um,
can
I lost the
string them
Contemptor,
along
so I
a
don't
bit
really
so that
get
you can
any
get that
benefit
charge if
from
you need if
that.
to get into the possessed, and if not, then you charge around the Mephitic
What is my goal
Blighthaulers,
gonna
pile and
be
consolidate,
here? I
and
think
you
the
only need
goal
one
is
model on
gonna
the point to
be
take it
to kill
because
these
of the
Mephitic
obsec.
blight haulers with the foul blight spawn.
Also, to remember, there's 3 Plague Burst Crawlers worth of entropy cannons with not a lot of targets apart from those Mephitic Blighthaulers.
You only have one mower
Yep,
left.
that's true.
I do want to kill that mower because I think that's the only.
And they
thing
don't
that
have
can
a
very
5
well
on the tally yet for the
possess.
+1 toughness.
Yeah, that's a big miss, unfortunately.
Okay, so I
for
will spend the
Moogs.
2 CP on Flash Outbreak, and I will give it to the Poxwalkers. Alright.
Okay, so he's
then
flash
end of
outbreaking the,
combat
I'm
phase.
assuming Ferric
So
Blight?
we will go to movement phase.
Yep.
So tell us
So
about
we'll
that.
start off with the easy stuff. these guys.
That is whenever an attack is made by a friendly and inexorable model, improve the armor penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So,
Six.
I'm
Okay.
assuming that
Which one
is
hide 'em?
yeah. So that will affect the possessed and the mythic blight haulers there, which means that those mortars and the heavy sluggers are going to be AP3 and AP2 respectively.
So it goes straight onto that demon save.
Okay,
Yep.
so I gotta
Even through the fact that they are in light cover.
Yep.
stop.
And for what was it, 1 CP?
Flash outbreak. It might be 2.
I think Flash Outbreak is 2.
That's a good stratagem still. If it was
It
1,
is
it would have
2.
been pretty damn crazy.
That's also good.
So I'm assuming those cultists are going up there and then
This guy probably won't be there.
either rodding or data intercepting.
Required
I
amount,
imagine
so
you
that's
would
fine.
rod.
So they'll go there and they will
Yeah,
rod.
well, you don't take an action with something that has to last until your command phase with 3 cultists.
Yes, yes,
Again,
yes.
it's
Just
true.
talking it
Good
through
direct
so that
fire.
you can explain why it's not a good idea. Sorry, frog in my throat. Rod in my throat. No, definitely not that.
This is a 11-inch charge. That's not happening. This is a 3-inch charge.
3-inch, yeah.
That one's reasonable. That one's also. I need someone to hold.
It probably is, however, going to be very difficult for Seal to get 12 on Rod.
I think maybe what I can
Yes.
do is this guy moves up.
I think
this
that's
lane.
right. And that's why I was talking about the Death Shroud potentially coming down somewhere else. I feel
This
like
Tallyman.
with the way it's
I can
going,
tie this up and not have to worry
if you've
about
got this
shooting
advantage on primary that you
people.
seem to potentially have and you've got the second turn, you
What's
don't
the movement like over here?
really
I think
need
it's
to
a
be
little
stressing
bit
out
better.
as much about Rod as you otherwise
So
would.
this,
If you can
so
protect
the
your
all
to the
6
last and your
entries,
characters,
that, and then the mortars
then
have
the
to go
trade-off for that one
to
secondary
this.
for the 2, in terms of points,
Yeah, and I'm just gonna keep scooting back.
can
on
make
the
can
board.
make
So I'm just
as
gonna
big or
pull
more
up.
of an impact.
He's gonna stay touching.
Yeah, because he's certainly going to be able to get 8 points on Rod without much trouble in terms of getting, because he only has to get 2
Same
quarters
thing
for that.
here,
Yeah,
stay touching as well.
3 quarters
quarters
rate,
for
but
3 quarters for 8, but still fairly achievable.
Yep.
That's good
Yeah.
there.
Whereas you could potentially lose
That
10
guy
points
is
from
pushing
to the
forward
last
again,
by
so he's gonna
failing to
do-
protect these 2 wounded plagueburst
You're not
crawlers.
gonna
Yep.
move, really. I guess I can get.
So is the additional 4 points worth losing 10?
This is
Is kind of the
reason.
argument.
Yep. And Tallyman and Epidemius probably have opinions about that. They like maths.
They do. Got the abacus is out and everything.
I'd say that with 2 units of Death Shroud, it feels a no-brainer to me to use one of them for Rod in the quarter where that is the only way you'll ever get it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so they'll go there.
Yep,
that
one
guy's
down there,
marked
and
on
I
for
would
a
use
reason.
personally. I would probably
So
think
they'll
about
go
one
there,
coming
they'll
down
do
defensively.
that.
Not necessarily this turn, maybe the next turn, and just seeing if you need it
And
or
you
not,
gave
depending
me
on
a
what we
little
do with these
slot over here.
poxwalkers
This is all well.
in red.
Yeah.
Personally, as a more aggressive player, I'd be thinking
I
I've
want
managed to
what
keep
this
him
guy
from
have.
holding this bottom right objective in his command phase so far.
Can I
So
fit
I'm going to
back
bring
here?
in
This is
both
just-
units
I'm
of
not
Death Shroud
going
down
to
here
the
and see if I
reinforcements
can
phase, I just need the plan.
Yeah,
I
you
can't.
can.
finish off that bloat drone as well.
So I could do that if I
Interesting.
wanted to.
Rod with
Might
one,
be
and
an idea.
then
Be aggressive with the
Alright, so
other.
then these
I mean they do
guys,
have the pistols,
I'm
but the
going
pistols
to
are kind of
charge.
Yeah, the
useless.
flamers aren't
So
going to take 4 wounds off a
these-
bloat drone.
you guys need to
Yeah.
get out.
Sadly, no,
Okay,
they
so
are
these
definitely not.
guys-
And you're kind of relying on a
They
9-inch
will
charge
advance.
there, and my concern is well, at least for myself, I would feel potentially worried that I'm overcommitting.
Wow, they move a whole bunch.
Oh, we roll a 6 on the advance for the green
So
squad,
They're just gonna come up,
pushing up.
and they're just gonna stay 1 inch away from the wall.
Okay.
I think it makes much of a difference, but come up. I'm just gonna stay 1 inch away.
Being careful to avoid them being chargeable through the wall.
Yep,
I'm just gonna
just
make
in case
sure
those
that
possessed
this is
survive.
full amount.
Yep, and screening his demon prince in the process.
Yep, just good play all round.
Well, yeah, these 2 players have not made it this far in the tournament by being sloppy.
This is true. Which is weird for DEATHGUARD.
Yeah, it goes against their instincts for sure.
Okay, I think I'm cool with all of that. So then now let's see what advance we get here. Blightspawn will advance, hopefully another 6. I'll take a 3, so that's 8. So he moves 5. here, and then an additional.
Getting up with the Foul Blightspawn.
That puts
Wants
me
to
within
get his
range, doesn't
big
exactly what
flamer
I
doing some
want.
damage.
Unfortunately, it's not quite within range of the Mythic Blight Haulers, but I guess it can go to the Possessed instead.
Playcaster will also
Just
advance.
about? Maybe not.
Yep. No, he can. He can draw line of sight and range to 2 different models, I believe, can he not?
No. You have to draw line.
Oh,
of
it's the
sight.
same one, but you don't have to draw the same line.
Isn't there a strat to increase its range though?
There used to be. I'm not sure if it's still in the game.
But he's fight last, right? So it's you want to come in here. You're gonna fight last.
Well, he wants to come in there anyway, but
Yeah.
I was
Overwhelming generosity. 1 CP. Add 6 inches to the range of plague weapons for 1 unit.
Papa Nurgle is generous.
Papa Nurgle is generous.
So there you go. This is the thing. You can heroically intervene in and stop someone from fighting, and then they're going to get hit by a fetid bloat drone, which nobody wants.
Plus, he's also baiting out one of the Plaguebear's Crawlers and Mortars this turn with those Deathguard cultists sitting on that point.
Well, the question is, what happens here with the Talisman? Because that looks to me like it's 3 victory points sitting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though, given the mission special rule about continuing to hold it, those 3 cultists are now having rodded. They are now irrelevant.
Yep. And nothing's
but
getting over there to take it away.
No, true, but if you're not paying attention, you forget about the fact that this mission does allow you to control points after you've left them. And people do make this mistake quite often.
Yep.
Those Plaguebear's Crawler Mortars could go into that Deathguard cultist unit thinking it's going to deny him the objective.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bait. He does get the 4.
Right there.
Taliman is a 5-inch move. He does not ignore difficult ground.
Why does he not ignore difficult
Is
ground?
he inexorable, isn't he?
not? Oh, is it next world? Oh, did they finally fix that?
Yeah. The big FAQ recently rewrote difficult ground in such a way that inexorable advance.
Oh, actually does something. That's a
The
good.
what? Pants? What did you call me?
To tie everything.
Yep. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Like that.
So the 5 kind of comes up, and then we're looking at what our charges are here.
So what is this? This is a forge charge, but I'm literally gonna be fighting with like 3 guys.
So
It's a little premature to be measuring charges into the possessed because you're going to shoot them a bit first, right? You don't want to send Poxwalkers into a full unit of possessed.
no, you absolutely do
No.
not.
No, that's 18 wounds. I think even your best day of rolling, you're not getting 18 mortal wounds on the squad of possessed.
Also, we're talking. I don't know if you heard him say 4 inches, but then we get 3 in. I mean, this is the interesting thing when you've got models in a unit deployed like this. Yes, that minimum charge is low, and you can get there with pile-ins and consolidations. But if you do roll low on the charge, even though you get in, suddenly half your unit's not swinging, particularly on a stratagem requiring bodies in there for mortal wounds. It's just not going to do the job.
Yeah, I mean, ideally he's hoping to probably get something like a, let's see, 4 inches to there. Yeah, he's really looking at like a 9-inch charge belt to wrap around these Mythic Blight Haulers.
If he's going that way, yep, absolutely.
Assuming assuming he goes that way.
Because I guess I could put 1 in cover.
So these Death Shroud coming down, getting on cover just a little bit.
Does that keep them outside of 6 in the middle?
Could put 1 in cover.
That's
this
a
is
good question.
9-inch
Yes,
charge.
yes.
Yes, it does.
So get 2 of them on cover. It just says, hey, you're going to have to shoot a lot of
These guys to rod.
stuff at me.
These guys to
A lot of stuff you really don't want to shoot.
yeah, don't rod with these red guys.
And stuff that's just going to be a pain in your back line for probably the rest of the game.
Yep. It is certainly interesting using the Death Shroud as rod because, early or certainly immediate conventional wisdom says, hey, throw away units like a 40-something point unit of Scions or something, Rod and
Or
Forget.
like a Lictor or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Rod and Forget, fantastic, nice and easy. But with these, it's Rod and then also
So psychic
cause a
phase,
decision
we'll
or a
start
problem.
off
I mean, you're not expecting them to completely take over the
here.
opponent's backfield, but you're basically saying if you don't do something
So
about
these
me,
guys go down to
I'm,
4
you know, in
toughness.
this situation, I'm getting into your Plague Burst Crawler and I'm tying it up.
So I still.
Oh, hey Ed, welcome
so
to the chat.
Smite is still gonna be what it is.
I
Alright,
am
so he'll smite.
absolutely an expert of
Yeah,
Death
yes.
Guard after listening to
Smite
Oirien
on
and
a- Actually,
Pants
his
talk for a
smite is
little minute.
worthless. Let's start back here because I really want to smite.
Courtesy of Osmosis, Chris is an expert on all things 40k
So
now.
we'll smite.
Absolutely.
We'll start off with the Millennium
Osmosis is the
Plaguecaster
best.
on
Yeah,
a 5. It goes off on a 6.
I will attempt
Oh, here we
to
go.
fly.
Sounds good. You just need average, and you
Keep
get a
saying
6.
shit like that, and I keep fucking it up.
Alright, so D3 mortal wounds.
D3 Mortals on the Mephitic Blighthauler.
Solid 2, I'll take
It's
it.
2.
And then we'll go with my asthma.
And then he's casting
So
Miasma now.
Miasma's on a 6. I really want this. It goes off on
Perils.
a 12. You know what, dude? I'll take it,
Ooh.
dude. It's the worst that happens. I'm gonna
He's
take
taking it. He
3
takes
mortal.
3.
Big 3.
That is the worst that
Now,
happens.
bearing in mind the assassination for Moods, that's
Boy.
big.
Trying to kill himself. I'll do the -1 to hit on these poxwalkers.
That is
Okay.
1 wound left for old
What else do we
Malignant.
got? You know what? Maybe I can get
And this is an argument for taking that relic,
strength by Beatrice, whatever the fuck
which
it is.
I'm
Just
pretty
right.
sure exists,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
Death
that's
Guard
for sure.
actual experts can tell
Anyways,
me. Isn't there a relic when you
it's
take
fine.
perils you
So
don't,
we'll
but
smite
you
with the
potentially heal?
Demon Prince. Another
Um,
fucking 12.
sure there
dude.
is.
If there is,
Ah.
it's one I've never considered
It's a
taking.
super smite though.
That
It
is a
is
super
a
smite
super
with the
smite,
Demon Prince into the
What's
possessed.
gonna happen is I'll roll a fucking 2.
There is another
Uh,
perils though.
And I'm gonna
Yep.
take like D3 mortals. Last time I was greedy, I did this, and he fucking ended up dying in like 1 turn. Oh my goodness.
Though he's lucky that Malignant Planecaster hadn't taken any chip damage
Dude,
beforehand and
he's gonna
killed
take
himself on the perils. Otherwise, there would be
Yeah,
a
dude, you're
lot
gonna
more
take-
mortal wounds going
But
around.
Three.
what you're
Well,
risking
Well,
here...
the disgusting force onto the
That's
poxwalkers is now looking very
That's
interesting.
exactly what I was going to say. The risk here is that disgusting force. You never know. A 4-up to just kill
Disaster.
that.
Alright, shooting phase. This one's
Oof.
gonna be quick and easy. Are you gonna declare anything on these
And
guys?
despite the super smite,
Beginning at the shooting
Yeah,
phase,
He
right?
does
I know.
as
It
many
is,
wounds to
it's
himself
based
as he
on that.
does to the
Thing
possessed.
is, it only actually affects your
It
mortars.
affects the mortars and the heavy sluggers. It'll affect this spewer.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, I'll declare it.
Okay, cool. I'll pass it back to
Oh,
me.
that's not it. It's
Alright,
not
so then you pay
prevent
1
mortal
CP for
wounds.
that
It's basically once per
shenanigan.
battle
Alright,
you can
so
regen D3
I think
wounds if you successfully cast a spell.
we have
That's what it is.
options
Putrid
over here.
Periapt.
If this does die in
Yeah.
shooting,
Oh,
you can
yes,
charge
yes,
this
yes.
type
Putrid
of stuff,
Periapt.
which I'm
Yeah.
100% okay
So,
with.
so in my head,
just
it's basically the
will go
anti-perils
for this,
thing, but I didn't, you know,
except
because of
for
what it does,
the
but
mortars.
you know, not literally.
The mortars will go into my boy over here.
Okay, so we're shooting blue
Okay.
PVC
Alright, so then
into
2
Bloat Drone
entropies
and Mephitic, I assume.
and 2 sluggers.
That would certainly make some
2
sense.
entropies and 4 sluggers.
3 sluggers.
Oh, that's right, dude. We were just talking about this. On 3s. Okay with that. And then on not that. Alright.
1 wound to the
interchangeable.
entropy.
Don't give it to me.
Oh,
Ooh,
he
drama.
dropped a 6 twice. That doesn't count.
Oh baby. You're gonna reroll that.
I mean, I can't make a save at the moment, so no, I'm not.
Alright, dude, that's alright. Give me a 5 or 6.
Oh, he gets the
Alright,
6.
take 5.
Ooh, boom.
Right, so then mortars over here.
5
This
wounds.
will be on 4s. Give me another 6.
Oof.
Oh my god.
Mortar
we are on
rolls
fire, dude.
6.
We are on fire. Alright, 4s. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And
3's
then
rerolling.
3s rerolling 1s. Okay.
Gets that 2.
Alright, 2
5s.
5s.
Boom.
Oh,
Saves them both.
Saves
let's
them
go.
both. That's a spike.
Wasting all your saves on that guy. I'm okay with that.
Mm.
So what else? What do we got then?
Same again
So
from
then
the
we gotta do
second,
the same thing again.
I would
Just gonna do the
assume.
same thing
Yep.
with this guy. Just everything into here except for the mortars.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to kill some of these poxwalkers. I'm tired of these guys fucking screening everything. what else would I want to kill? Possessed? I think killing possessed is.
So
gonna
taking a
be
second while we're
these
doing this,
trophies aren't
Oirien,
too
how did
bad.
your other playoff game go? This was another
Charges.
quarterfinal, right? That you were playing?
Because this is what at 6 inches, so I do get the extra rend. So that's this green guy. Can you shoot the sluggers into them? Can't shoot the sluggers. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Entropies into here. Sluggers into here. I think I might have actually fucked up. This guy
Who is
can
our
shoot
first
sluggers.
semi-finalist?
I'm an idiot.
Our first
Okay,
semi-finals. I'll
so
let him
entropies
reveal
into
himself.
here,
Try
sluggers into
Arion.
here,
Good man.
and I really do want to kill this bloat drone.
I'm not letting him reveal himself.
I'll let him reveal himself.
He's already revealed himself in
Start with
chat,
the
but I'm
entropes.
not letting him reveal himself
on
either.
4s 'cause I'm
Hell no.
bracketed.
Oh, he's
Baby,
won.
we're going
Fantastic.
full, and then these are on 3s.
I
we're
didn't
going
know
full
that.
dog, we're
Congratulations.
gonna be on
Congratulations.
Okay.
Fantastic to see.
So
With a
first one
scoreline of
is
77 to
fire. This
50.
one dies,
Oof.
and then the second one is
Low
gonna
scoring
take
game.
5. Now you
So
got
just to
this.
highlight, that is Sisters having a
Uh,
48% win rate across the whole tournament, but
it
making
needs 4 red
semi-finals
ones,
anyway.
actually.
Well done, that
Okay,
man.
and
You must
then
have a
everything over
fantastic team
here,
around you, surrounding
we're
you to back you up.
going to get 4s of those, and then we're gonna get a d6 of these, at least 3.
Oof.
Oh baby, 5, dude.
5
These
shots on the
Viper
mortar there.
scrolls are on fire. These are on 4s because he's bracketed.
That's a
pretty
load of hits.
solid. And then these are going to be on 3s, and then these are going to be on 2s, rerolling ones. 2s, rerolling ones. So these are on 3s, alright? And then the
So all the shots into the
reds,
possessed.
if you take them on the guys in covers, will be 4-ups, and then...
So we do now know that we have Sisters in the semis. We obviously know that we're going to have Death Guard in the
Because
semis.
there's a guy
Yep.
who's on 1 wound.
The other 2 spots are
Yeah, but
up
the
between
blues will be at your invul. The
Admech,
reds are at
Custodes,
4-ups,
and
the blues are at
Drukhari.
invul.
Do we
No,
know
they're both at 4-ups, 'cause
what
I'm on
the matchup is?
Yeah,
What the Sisters are likely going to go into and what the Death Guard are likely to go into?
Sorry, apologies.
Well, the Sisters will either go into Go Faster or Bassman
okay.
UK, which I
Alright,
believe
I don't
is
care.
Admech
I didn't
versus
specify, so
Drukhari.
Yeah.
you pick
Go
one.
Faster is 185 Vanguard.
Oh, that one.
And
So
Drukhari, yes.
4-ups then.
Oh, that's a 4-up.
So
He saved it.
9
That's
And
it.
Death Guard will go into Admech as well. So it'll be
5s.
possibly
Actually just do them
Dark
all.
Eldar, but most likely Admech.
So one guy dies
Well,
and one
maybe not most likely, but
Yeah, so he died.
one of the semifinals will definitely be
Let's
Admech.
go with probably him.
What fun.
Okay, cool.
Oh wait, no,
So that's all
Citronade's.
his, so then-
Custodes.
What's Citronade?
Citronade's Custodes.
Custodes,
What's
Custodes,
left
yeah.
is this
My apologies, yeah.
last one. This
So
guy.
yeah, Admech versus D, and then Admech versus
Can
Custodes.
you see those guys as well?
I hate to say it, but at this point, I'm firmly predicting to see 185 Vanguard in the final.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's a distinct chance.
Except for
Is it the but this was before the Book of Fire came out, right? The list.
It is not veteran
It's not
cohort,
veteran
correct.
cohort, exactly. Siegs took that,
this
I
Dustin
believe,
Force over
recently
here isn't
to a
very
win, which was horrible.
Yeah,
appetizing.
it
We're
is
just gonna do Disgusting
also
Force over
before
here.
the FAQ though.
Right, so everything into these guys and then Disgusting
Right,
Force
yeah,
over
of course. Glenn,
Okay, so it's
whichever
gonna
one of these
be
Death Guard
2
wins is
and
going to go into
3.
Lucius or Citronade's Custodes Dreads.
2 and 3,
Yeah.
and then these are going to be on 3.
The only relevance of the
These are gonna
FAQ
be
to
solid,
this
and then these are
list
gonna
in
be on
particular
3s,
is the
allowance.
enriched rounds nerf.
I guess we're going to give you a tally. Oh, wait.
Oh,
It doesn't matter. I think the blue, there was a 4 blue. Okay, so you save 1. You take 1. Do you want to
Although chickens not gaining benefits is
okay, I
relevant.
will take a
It doesn't have any chickens.
Okay, so
No,
you
but
take
Glenasiers does.
3.
Right, but when I say this list, I mean...
Oh, you're specifically
Okay.
meaning yes, okay.
No, I was at 5. So I took
Okay.
4.
oof, down to
Okay, so I
2
was gonna
wounds
say,
there.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're at 4. Okay, yeah. So you're down to 2.
Close.
I'm okay with that. Oh man, do I reroll? If I reroll this, I would just need 1 damage from that guy.
Considering the reroll
okay,
on the
yeah, I will
damage
spend
roll.
the CP to reroll this.
And he's doing it.
He's going for it. Interesting.
Okay. Don't punish me. Alright, don't punish me. Alright, so he's down to
Takes
1.
an extra
more.
one.
Okay, and then I'll pay 1 CP to increase the
There
range.
you go.
of my
As you
Blast
said,
Oh wait, we're not done yet. My mortar's over here.
Pants.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yup.
Okay, so D6 a shot.
Increase
Extra range on Cowblight Spawn.
1 shot,
Oh,
and he's
fuck,
already
and I
done a
wasted my
CP
reroll
reroll.
punished
Yeah.
on 4s.
Big punish. Does hit.
At least
does hit.
And it wounds already.
Yes.
That does
But
wound,
the
doesn't
Foulblight
it?
Spawn does Viscous Death.
5 up.
And it
Okay,
works.
so he takes 2. And there's no one within splash range. Alright, so then now I'll pay the 1 CP over here.
The Foulblight Spawn
Mhm.
doesn't need a CP to reroll its
Base
number of
range.
shots.
So then D6 of shots.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
a different
minus
shot
one.
then.
Baby,
Okay,
a
oh,
full
6.
6
Oh
minus
dear.
1, so
5,
back
yeah.
down to 5.
Okay.
These auto hit, and then these are going to be on 3s, rerolling 1s. On 3s, oh, this is actually really close. Oh, baby.
5s.
Fails
Oh,
the
fuck,
1.
reroll that.
It goes down. Oh,
Is there any point
considering a
in rerolling it?
CP.
Basically not. What more have you got?
There's
to
always
shoot?
a tough. You're always in a
What
tough spot
else
with a
do I
demon
have
save when
to
you're considering the
shoot?
reroll because it's a 5
Absolutely
up.
Yep.
nothing, 'cause these guys perform in action. These guys are. Oh, I have this thing to shoot. I'm gonna
Yeah,
try to get
that's-
lucky
that's
over here.
six. So now
There's
let's
nothing
see.
else to shoot, but the question is,
Faith.
what about on your turn?
We're not interrupting is basically the call there, in which case, yeah. Yeah, we'll reroll
He's
it.
going for it.
Alright, punish 5 up.
Ooh.
Does work.
Gets the 5 up, stays
Alright,
alive.
that sounds amazing.
That's pretty
so
big.
that, and then these last guys, so
Although to me that says the
3d6 over
Poxwalkers
here.
can charge in there on a
Yep.
5 or a 6 and take that point now easily.
bloop. Oh wow, you're on
Fucking hell.
fire, dude.
They were
7.
probably going to take that point by wrapping around the possessed anyway.
Yeah.
And then these auto hit, and then these are going to be
6s
on
rerolling.
6s rerolling because you're not within
I think
contingency.
you can, yeah, you can get a Poxwalker
6s
base
rerolling. Just give me a billion 6s.
in
That is a
between the
billion
Blight Hauler and the
6s.
wall and be on the point.
Alright, you just need to fail what?
3s.
Average?
Oh, so this is the Plague Spurter Gauntlets.
Oh,
Wow.
you
Wow, that is unlikely.
That is unlikely. He's
so that's
strength
the end of
3,
shooting,
but
so
didn't
we'll go
rod
to
with them,
charges.
interestingly. I guess, I don't
I
know who
need
he's
to do
rod.
a double
Oh, he
charge
was
here.
rodding
You
with
said it was
the
6
cultist,
either
wasn't he?
way.
Oh, yeah.
5.
So
Of
didn't
course.
need to. But that point
you
is
do pay
still
-1
Moogs's.
to make it
No, it's not. He's never controlled it in his command phase.
Of course he hasn't, because he got charged on turn 1.
Do I really?
Exactly.
It's gonna be tangled up.
That's really painful.
That is incredibly
Consolidate
painful. All he
into-
has to do is get 1 Poxwalker onto
And
this
that
objective, and
is
you're looking a
kinda
0 on
good.
the primary for
0 primary and
Moogs.
1 on data intercept.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
So I'm just gonna
that
declare
could be the
possessed
death knell.
with
Yeah.
the Poxwalkers.
Death Guard now.
So that's a 3-inch
Sorry.
charge. You can pay 1 to make it
Is it also a seal song?
Seals the deal.
so then
Ooh.
it's gonna
Whey!
be
That's an easy one.
I get an 11.
Don't want to club you over the head with these references. Okay, alright.
Okay, so then I just wanna be
It's a bit of a
one
difference.
Yeah,
champion.
I need an invite to your team Discord because clearly it's just plenty, and I want that.
Yeah, this is called the House of Pun.
And then
Should be. Except we have Swedes in there, unfortunately, and they don't get it.
They don't get humor, yeah.
That's such a lie.
everyone.
11 on the charge is huge here because you get a lot into base with the possessed, so your strat does a lot more. And you get those back Poxwalkers that were way far back coming in and just keeps everyone away.
This one would be a 5 as well.
And then you're still letting
Is
your
that what it was?
Demon Prince get in with his talons and start slashing up some
5.
possessed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
5.
it's- okay. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so then yep, this into this. Are you okay with that? No CP?
Yeah, he's Bubonic Status, so he doesn't.
Oh,
He
yeah,
does need
that's
to keep note of the fact that
Alright, I need
Minimux
5.
does
Ooh.
have enough
Baby,
CP
reroll
to.
it.
Interrupt.
I need
He
a
did
5.
have enough. He only has 1 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he
I get an
re-rolled that
8.
Is that you
this.
out of CP or is that?
So they're
lost
both
one?
out of
I got
CP, it
one.
looks like.
They've got 1
I got
each.
exactly
Yeah, but not being able to
saving for
to
it.
interrupt here.
Okay,
Yep.
so then that's all that, and then we just need to get
that
really lucky over here
means
with
that
a
this
9.
possessed bomb is probably dead.
Yep. It's true.
Oh wow, it's a 10-inch charge. He gets into the Plagueburst Crawler, I think.
Hoo-hoo!
So
That's...
I don't think he can do that and get onto the point as well. I think that's too greedy. I don't think
I
you.
don't think you need to,
10.
sadly, at this point.
We'll have that guy
It's
there.
huge.
I guess it doesn't matter. They'll get the pile and consolidate. You don't get to interrupt.
They're inexorable, so they ignore the dents.
Out of the way. And then he gets to move 10. Okay. so all goes
Does
there, I
Inexorable
like
ignore the
that.
dents in the charge?
So then we'll go to the fight
I believe it does
phase.
in
You
in
I believe
can't
it does.
interrupt,
advancing
so
charging.
it
Yep.
really
And also
doesn't
ignores
matter
Tanglefoot,
too much.
which is Great.
So
Yeah, but it always did that. That was the only thing it did before. Now it actually does other stuff.
I know, I'm just still sad.
do I really care where this guy's at?
Ignore any or all modifiers to its move characteristic, advance rolls, and charge
They are
rolls.
in defensible runes, so they will take a +1 to hit.
Okay, do all of them have to be in it, or just one of them?
I think it's just the
To be
models
clear,
that,
because Death Guard have to be confusing in
Okay,
this
so
way,
then you'll
when
have
we
to
say
apply
because they're
multiple
inexorable, we mean
bases,
because
yeah.
they
So
have the
I-
inexorable
the
advance
baron.
ability, not
Oh, the
because they are from the inexorable plague company.
Yes.
Although they are as well, I believe.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
doubly
What we'll
inexorable.
do is we'll have
You
the
cannot
Planeswalker
X
go
these
last,
guys.
so bubble wrap my Demon Prince.
No matter how hard
So
you
Demon
try.
Prince will go first. He'll get 8 attacks.
You cannot XOR them.
These will be on
X or
twos,
what?
rerolling
Why?
nothing.
No. Okay. Here's Demon Prince going into the possessed.
That was a tally up to 5, which puts me up to toughness 5, toughness 6 rather.
Toughness 6, and you go back to 5.
Yeah.
So
So it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but it makes it means I'm
Yeah.
not toughness 4.
Yeah. Okay.
in
Cool.
these fights.
Okay. So then I said 8. Is that what I had? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 8 on 2s, rerolling nothing. That's pretty
All hit.
solid. And then these are going to be on 3s, rerolling nothing.
On 3s. This is where
Threes,
the
rerolling nothing. Wow,
talents
that's
come
super
in.
solid.
Lots
And
of
then
hits.
these are all minus
Lots of
2.
attacks.
Yeah, so on the ones.
Yeah, but they're only doing 1 damage
Good,
each.
So you
Yep.
take 4. I think
Four.
there's only one guy on a wound.
There was.
So that
we'll
only
get our hands out of
kills the
way.
2.
Let's see. There we go.
So whilst you get less attacks with the sword, each one is killing a
And
model.
then
That's the
another guy,
difference.
and then a wound.
The sword does how
So we
much?
wanna
Flat
try
3.
and avoid that. So
Flat
we'll
3.
Yeah,
take
so that's pretty good.
him and a wound there.
Okay, cool. And then he'll just come in and he'll. I don't know.
Right, I think he's
He
basically.
can.
he's-
Yeah, he can only base this one guy. This guy is outside of the geometry. All right. So then we will go with my red dude.
It's also AP3 versus AP1,
So I will
which is
pile
also a
in
fairly
as
big
many
deal
as
for
I
the
can. I'll
save
pick
on those
TP for
possessed.
the
Yep.
constrain.
Yep.
So then we'll just.
So
pile in
he's
as
going to be
much as
spending
we
the TP for Mutant Strain, as you would expect, getting those, fishing for those mortals on
I'll
6s.
be able to fight through the wall, right? These walls are so thick.
Now he's out of CP.
These walls are so thick.
But at this point, there's probably not a lot he needs to do with that CP.
Nope.
Oh, that's what
This-
Once these possessed are dead, he can tag, or assuming he kills the possessed, even if he doesn't, he should be able to consolidate into melee range with the Mythic Blight Hauler. He's already tagged the Plague Burst Crawler,
I think like this
which
is
leaves
like-
him
Yeah.
the
I think it'd be
Probably
Fist
use
Stragglers.
3.
Demon Prince, the Malignant Plaguecaster, and the Plague Burst Crawler to basically try and do
So
all of the
these
work
three
next
aren't
turn.
attacking.
And I just don't see that happening.
And
It's
then-
There's way more than
Rather more of an uphill struggle.
And let's not forget
Way
that there's
more than
another
I'm gonna
Death
get
Shroud
in.
Terminator unit coming down next turn.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yeah.
That guy was
Seal.
actually. I think I needed that guy to.
And
save
they
the other way.
Are probably going to be able to arrive on
Try
that
to
point
get
now,
to,
Andrad.
Yep.
As few as possible can get in.
Mistakes were made. Okay, so then I'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I've got 1, 2. Sorry, yeah, 1, 2.
So just
3,
counting up
4,
how
5,
many
6,
are actually
7,
able
8,
to
9,
are actually
10,
eligible
11.
for
Yeah, I buy
Mutant
that.
Strain.
So
Alright,
these,
22.
I'll make it
it's
10.
basically this row
10.
here that can't.
I think they're doing
Alright,
11.
22.
But-
Cool.
Sixes, a lot of them.
Gets
Alright,
4.
they cancel out.
Oh no, it is 11.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's half an inch and half an inch. Yep.
Gets 4. That's 2 possessed down.
Okay, and then 4 ups, and then now it's gonna be what, 5 ups?
5s, yeah, I'm toughness 5.
5 ups. No
'Cause I did not
AP.
do Futurist and Vitality.
That
Punish.
5 on the tally helping to
Would
stop
still
this
be
being a
fine.
4.
It would
Or
still
does
be fine.
did the flash outbreak? Does that just apply to shooting?
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause
Yeah.
wait.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's toughness up 1, down 1.
Yeah. I gotcha.
It should apply to everything.
It applies to everything, yes. Which is why they were only saving on 5s,
Yep.
despite the
So that
Talons only
so
being
that picks
81.
up another possessed there then.
So 3 guys. And
Which it wouldn't have
then
done
I'm going to
otherwise.
Take 4 mortals. I'll save 1. So
So
With
you
the
get
two
three
the
guys.
2
3
3s
die,
being
3
rolled because it's AP minus 1.
3
right?
guys, 3 back.
3 back, so I don't get anything.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty big.
And here's what I was
So you
talking about
have
earlier with the
have had 3
Death Guard, with the Poxwalkers losing
No, but
3
I'm gonna
to
lose
their
3
own
from the
strat,
mortals, so
but
the
the
3
fact
that I
that they
would get,
killed
they
3
cancel out, right?
Poxwalkers,
So
would
I-
they
I
killed
don't
3
get
possessed, we'll just bring them straight
Yeah,
back
okay.
again.
Yep.
Well, as in you can put them. 3
Oh
of
yeah,
them
I see
die,
what
so
you.
you can
Yeah,
you can
I'm
remove them.
gonna reposition 3 if that's what you're talking about.
So
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
string these to
It's
wrap
just like
and
me.
protect his
Just get
demon
some
prince.
here.
Okay.
You still got to take the 3 that died off as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna pull the ones
Uh.
that weren't in.
Now he is going to put someone on the point,
Why
right?
be
No,
able
he
to
probably.
consolidate
It's
that
not
way?
obvious that he
Don't think
can
anyway,
because he
so
didn't
should be
quite
fine,
kill
should
enough of
be
the
He
fine.
could have
possessed.
set them up
So
on
I'm
that
gonna set
side.
3,
Closer.
so I'll do these
Can you?
3,
Yeah, you could set them on
Yeah.
here. You could set them up on that side. It's probably 3 inches.
Yeah, that would have been better.
But he can still consolidate like that.
So you
Does
were-
that get him within? It looks
Because
like
that
it
gets
does.
him within, and it also gets him
okay,
closer.
cool. So
Yeah,
then
that's fair.
everything should be in combat.
The other alternative
last but not least,
to
over
wrapping
here,
the possessed there was to try see if you
26
could string them out weirdly
attacks,
into
or what is
coherency
it? 'Cause
to
now you're back to
stop
8.
the demon prince being the
you'll
closest
be winning
unit
on
to that
5s, by
plague
the way.
burst crawler.
Yeah, okay.
But
so
I
yeah.
don't know if that's possible.
So 26
And
attack.
their damage 1 either way.
Yeah.
So
The only thing that Minimugs might have going for him is there is a small world
Oof.
where Seal actually clocks himself out this game.
Yeah.
Rerolling ones. It's
What?
been
How's his
solid.
time
I will
running?
take,
He is at
He's
14
down to
minutes.
14 minutes, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end of the world if he does clock himself out, to be honest,
Yeah.
because he's already achieved most of what he needs to just
Yes,
sit
this is true.
Yeah.
I think I'm saying that there's a small chance of that happening, and maybe that gives him enough to get back into this. Otherwise, I think this might be hung, drawn, and quartered, as it were.
Come this way.
Yeah.
definitely not drawn.
okay.
Yeah, we're not very artistic.
Everyone's in lack cover.
So the 2 surviving possessed are both touching the cover.
Well, you never know. Those
Yep.
poxwalkers might be being artistic with the the guts of those possessed.
Haven't killed, so they're not quite the
And
actual
this
attack
one
yet, so,
is a sunset.
8 attacks on 2s rerolling 1s, and then 2s rerolling
Oh,
1s.
-1
Here
to
we
hit.
go. This is the possessed.
Okay,
Fighting
attacks
back.
on
-1 to
3s
hit.
rerolling 1s,
So hitting on
so 7
3s because of the
hits.
miasma.
and 2s rerolling 1s because they're strength 6, your toughness 3.
So 2s, rerolling 1s because of
What's,
the
so
epidemius,
6
I presume.
wounds?
No, plague.
6
Badger.
wounds.
Yep.
And they're 1 damage each.
2s because of Epidemius, rerolling
Yep.
1s because they're blade
Exactly.
So we'll take 4.
So they 4 go
And
down.
then you have your other
Isn't
guy.
really a problem.
Yep, who's got 4 attacks?
And this is 4 attacks,
this
presumably
is
from the
the
Mephitic
2.
Blight Hauler.
This is what's gonna be 2s rerolling 1s.
All wound.
Three.
And then these are 1 damage each, right?
Correct.
Ooh, saves 2.
Baby.
I can guarantee you that Seal said, "Oh baby." It's his favorite thing to say.
And then, yep. I think that's everything. Morale, I don't owe you. You owe me morale on those
So
guys.
How
I've
was I
lost
supposed to
7,
know?
Can't do anything about it with CP, so it's pretty fucked here.
Okay, one moves away,
Does
and
the
then
other
on
guy
1 or
go?
2.
Yes, of
course they
course
do.
he does. It was just a 1.
Oh
because
dear,
Death
both of
Guard
them
got
run,
attrition,
rolling the
so-
1 there on a
Ah,
102
yes,
because
that's
it's
the
lower
thing
than
I needed
half.
to
Oh,
That's
no.
very unfortunate.
So
That might not be
who do they
unfortunate,
got?
actually, because now it means the Poxwalkers can be shot.
No,
They
they're
don't-
in combat
they
with the
don't-
Mephitic
they
Blight
are
Hauler.
not- They weren't destroyed by.
Yeah, but that can fall back.
Cool.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
It can also shoot into combat. It can also shoot its blast weapon into combat.
that's true. I can shoot its blast weapon into combat because it's not a vehicle.
Because it's the stream. But,
No, because it has a special rule on the Bowspur which says you can shoot this blast weapon into combat anyway.
Lovely. What is it
You-
called, this
you were
blast
there
weapon?
In my command phase.
The bile spurt.
So
You were
it
still
vomits
alive.
on you.
So that I don't actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's-
Exactly.
Delicious.
It's 5 phase, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Delicious
I
and
control
nutritious.
the looks of it, unless you've managed to get onto this one as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what the gnashing maws are there for.
Mm.
Of course you have. Cool. So no.
You don't give a tank a mouth if you don't want to eat stuff.
We will start a data intercept because why not?
Did we roll the
and
Death
let's
Shroud
just
into the
play
PVC? We
for-
did, and took 2 wounds.
We did. They did. They
Oh, we
did
gotta
2
roll for
wounds.
CP.
Doesn't really
'cause
matter.
it's
Do.
good.
The most important thing is that it's
You
locked up.
don't. Do I? I do.
You do.
We get a CP for Moogs on the Tallyman.
Right.
Start the
he's
next battle round, and
good.
let's see what he does.
But not one for Seal.
Nope.
He rolled a 6.
4, 7,
Wow, Seal, you know. For him, it's all about the vision game.
uh,
He doesn't want to see bits, he wants to see all.
Wow.
Can't do anything about that.
Ah, dear.
I think that was genuinely impressive.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So,
He cut.
is there any world in which you can see mugs coming back into
I
this.
think he's doing the
I would-
right thing here,
Am I
which
getting
is
anything
he's
from
looking
Marco's
at
answer
getting
before,
forward
uh,
and trying to kill, I imagine, the
Flashing
characters
would dump all
um,
CP,
with what he
giving
can
me
do,
9
but
into bubble,
probably not.
which would give me
Exactly. Honor demands that you
10.
score as many points as you can, and assassinate is the most open route here, especially since it helps with engaging as well.
Yep.
But no, I would bet a significant chunk of my life savings on Seal at this point.
Do you get extra
Excellent.
movement?
I
I do,
won't
yes,
take that,
point 11.
but if you want to just hand them over, I won't say no.
Yeah, what do you get? 5? 5 is.
So that's an 11-inch move
Just
then?
one more.
An 11-inch normal move, courtesy of Epidemius.
Of course, with the +1, right. But the problem here is the one heck of a seal of approval. Amazing. From Pants's, amazing. Rurik, fantastic.
It's going to be a good time.
Ah.
Alright, where's my bad
I'm
button?
being outdone by chat. The thing here is obviously the foul blight spawn does have his fight
So that could be like mortars
fight last,
here.
or take it out of
Oh yeah. So you just have to get lucky. Declare
what's
mortars
the word
here.
that I'm looking for?
Oh, but you can't even declare it.
Eligibility.
Yeah, see, as I said, the mortars are going into those cultists.
Impossible.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been relevant, except for the fact that the Taliban advanced far enough that they're now providing lookout cell protection. So the cultists
So,
have to go
yeah.
down in order to finish off the Taliban.
Oh, you're gonna blast.
So yeah, I think he is declaring the mortar into the cultists
Blast
with
boy.
then.
Well,
I
I've got a
think
bit more
he's-
movement phase first.
But
Use
no,
the
well, he's
Or, yeah.
considering it.
Cast
The,
his
the
points.
problem here is unless
Ask
you
for
kill
much.
the cultists first, you then can't target the Taliban unless you use Disgusting Force. But presumably you want to use Disgusting Force into the Poxwalkers to kill the Malignant Playcaster. If you're going, I'm going to score as many points as possible. You go for the points. I would have
That are
thought.
freely available. Yeah.
But it's still
Fall
risky.
back.
Falling back with the Blight Hauler makes sense. Holds the point.
Fall back 9 inches.
Also
Prevents the Death Shroud from arriving
for
on
sure. Willie 24742 exclamation mark. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
None of this is great.
The exclamation mark is part of the thank you for following rather than part of
No. I like to read it out.
You have to be. You have to make this charge.
Yeah, no.
That's very interesting, full stop.
You're not
You
only
know that I was lying and trying to cover my tracks. Question mark. Period.
No, I'm boarded.
Interrobang.
Blasted all that CP.
And that's number one.
Blast.
Okay, so
Just make
what do we do?
Well, I
We
think
do
he's
we
ready
keep that Plague Burst
Yeah.
crawler there and shoot into combat? I feel like we have to. There's nothing.
I ain't gonna cry about it.
No point falling back.
Exactly. What is it
you're
going
gonna
to
have stay in combat.
ever achieve again now?
You're gonna.
It can't escape the Death Shroud. They have nothing better to do than to keep it locked down.
Yeah. Yep, it's very true.
This is a little bit foobar.
So it looks like the other thing he's
Can't toss it.
considering, as I said, was the Plague Burst Crawler coming in to get closer to the Demon Prince,
This
try
is
and get
gonna
some
let
shots in,
me
pop him up with
suicide
Assassinate.
himself into
Seems sensible.
much fun
Um,
Poxwalkers.
So this playcaster does also have a Plague Skull Glitha, which I don't think has been used
It
yet.
has not.
Because it's the outside engagement range, but
So let's see if we get those 5 mortal wounds. Was it? It was 5. 5 the other way, wasn't it?
Where could he have got to?
I don't.
I believe so, yeah.
I think it was 6.
Okay. Well, the key here is that there's no longer a wall in between, so he can yeet it straight in between the eyes. So it should do more.
No, he can't because
I
the
should- I
Demon Prince
shouldn't
is
have
facing the
even
wrong way.
mentioned
Ah, fair enough.
I
just
could have
coconut to the
right.
back of the head.
Yeah,
Is that what we're
yeah.
talking about here? Or you?
Cool. Okay, so he's gonna.
So
do some
if
shit.
he's going for that,
That's
then
done.
maybe he doesn't
That's
need to
just
move the
upstairs
Plague Burst
as it
Crawler,
is.
and he can keep it so it can shoot elsewhere. Is the thought?
I hate him. These guys haven't moved all game. I hate them.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Ryan, can you check with the players whether
they're-
Mooks
they're having a happy
forgot to
time.
score a data intercept point?
Yeah, I can.
Can't do much about this. They're sufficiently screaming for the moment. What's this saying?
Someone was. What was that? Can you say that again, please?
They're sufficiently screening. Over
Oh,
here.
your data intercept points. You would get what, 1?
Oh yeah, sorry, I do get data intercept. Yes.
Hurrah!
That been put up.
Yeah, I just put it. So you should get
Huzzah for accuracy.
Wonderful.
Because you only controlled 1 point.
Yep. Okay, we're going to go with that. I don't think I've got anything else that is going to move because I'm going to have to rely on some fucking dumb luck here. Because otherwise I just retreat and you just tag this instead, which is actually worse for me. So,
Yep.
it is theoretically possible that I could kill them.
I-
And then and it's unlikely.
How do you kill him? Explain it to me.
A plague burst crawler.
Both
so
entropies.
The entropies take out one each, and then the
And
four
then
shots.
the sluggers take out.
Yeah, theoretically possible.
I mean, it's not impossible.
It is absolutely
I'm
possible.
ready for
This
it.
requires some phenomenal-
Also, I mean, you have to remember
Plague
those death
burst.
shrouds are only toughness 4 right now because of the contagions.
Mm.
Okay, average. And then
And
1d6. Yeah.
yeah,
or 1d3.
so,
Oh, baby.
okay,
Takes
that
back.
kills him.
There's a nice 5 into the 5
Explodes.
wounds remaining Demon Prince.
Yeah,
The Plague Skull does the work.
Well, that's
We're gonna we're gonna then move to
was that the Warlord?
From the
Chris Leper. Okay.
Demon-
Cool.
The Plague Skull?
Defense. Okay.
No, the Deathguard Demon Prince. I believe that was his Warlord, was it not?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was. Yeah.
Do you
So that is
buy-
4 points on Assassinate.
That's pretty good. That's a good start to the turn that we need.
I can hose you down, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Putting him very temporarily in the lead.
Oh, you can't hose me now, of course. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, we're gonna re-roll that. Sad, Thomas.
Oh, baby. Now you're gonna fail it. Oh, no, you got it.
Okay, goes
Alright,
off.
cool. On an 8.
Do you care to deny?
Got an 8.
Interestingly,
I didn't- I didn't-
although
you're good.
the Foul Blightspawn will obviously
Okay,
have the fight
four
last
pushes after
aura,
wounds.
Seal does not
Yeah,
have the
lag.
CP to either Overwatch with that scary flamer
Wounds.
or
Do-
heroically intervene with the Blow Drone.
Mm.
So that Demon Prince will be able to just splat the Foul Blightspawn.
With our lives.
Yep, that's absolutely true.
Doesn't matter if you fight last if the thing you're fighting against
3.
just
It's terrifying.
flails at you.
And then a smite.
That Foul Blightspawn is not remotely scary in combat.
Caster.
Like it.
Miasma.
Miasma Pestilence here we're casting. I believe that goes off.
There's
Goes
one
off
to
for
6.
Any on a 6.
Yep,
You
should
get
do.
to deny. It's my last cast, so
Yep,
you may as
there's
well.
no reason
He's
not
gonna
to.
try and deny it.
On average, I'll beat it.
And we'll fail.
No.
Average, I tie it.
So we'll probably give it to the Demon Prince.
Oh, it's Smash Captain.
WS
over here.
Minion. Sounds like a good plan, man.
Well, I
cool.
kind of need to. Was your Demon Prince your Warlord? Oh, yeah, it's already been given.
He was, yeah. So you get 4, right? For assassinate.
Good plan.
Okay, shooting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excellent.
Perfect.
So
Did they
we'll
do
chuck a
the
grenade,
pestilential fallout from that?
with the Malignant Playcaster.
Which one? The Blight Grenade?
From which cast?
From
So
the
4 shots.
These are on fours.
miasma.
They only rolled a 6 on Miasma.
Oh, of course, yeah, it requires a 7 or higher.
Looks good. And then these
And
are
then
on 3s, right?
Rerolling
Reroll on
ones.
ones? Yep.
So 2 go through.
Okay.
Okay, so I will get double.
For those wondering
So
what that little
let's
exchange was
mark
about,
it.
the Malignant Plaguecaster has an ability that says whenever he successfully
Two
manifests
fours,
power with a 7 or more,
2.
he does just
6.
chucks out a random mortal wound to the closest enemy unit within 12.
Good for him.
Cover.
Oh yeah. So it's gotta be this guy.
And I think you just threw a blight
this
grenade
guy.
into that squad of Poxwalkers and took out another couple of them.
Cool.
Nice.
Getting them down a little bit,
Malignant Playcast is also surprisingly scary in melee.
We'll be finding out.
I mean, four attacks at strength 7 when they're reducing your toughness by 1. Sure, it's only AP 1 and the damage is only D3, but that's not that bad of a
I
profile.
mean, that's good into Poxwalkers. The AP is irrelevant, and the D3 damage stops the Feel No Peens from being that relevant. But that is not enough attacks to wipe that squad.
Targets.
No, sadly it is not.
Oh, because you murdered this guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, no. I did think about moving him.
So it's discussing where to shoot the PVC.
I don't have anything.
Yeah,
else
I think if it's going into anywhere but the Poxwalkers or that fetid Blowtron,
ready, so there's nothing
Yeah.
I can do about
I would
that.
struggle to justify that.
Just hoping
Yeah.
one lives. That's all I'm hoping for.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do discussing force.
Disgusting force being used
Okay,
as we
I
thought.
like it. You gonna try to finish off the green guy?
Oh, and it's going
Yeah,
into
I think I'm
the
gonna have to. I think I need to sort of try and put
the
some
plague
force in
burst
there.
instead of
We're gonna
trying
do
to
disgusting
pop
force
that
over
last
here. No,
wind
I'm
off
gonna do
plague
disgusting
cast.
force into this fetid blow.
Nope.
No, he is going to put
Oh,
it into the
no,
fetid Blowtron.
he's
And they are
doing that
able to
instead.
everything else.
Makes sense.
I guess you can see these green guys, or the red ones, yeah.
No, into the
Might
red
as well
ones.
go into
So
the red
disgusting
ones.
force
No
into
point trying to kill
into
the
that
greens if you
bloke
can't.
drone. How many shots?
Plague
do I need?
drone shots. Here we go.
Wait a minute. I need to spend the CP.
See, this is the interesting thing. I understand wanting to kill the
Three.
Blowtron,
Average.
I'll take it.
but you're probably going to be doing
3
Sounds
hits.
good.
at
Yeah.
most.
Three
Ooh.
rerolling ones.
Oh, we get the reroll.
Threes rerolling
Oh, it's a
ones.
2.
Okay, yep, there you go. Fives.
Does do?
Alright,
He does 2 damage.
Yeah, you're not going to kill it.
Okay.
though.
I understand not
Snapping.
fighting and shooting them into the Poxwalkers,
Green.
but just on the risk of not
No.
getting enough shots, you don't have a lot of
Flex
CP to burn here.
No.
And then
If he'd
Flex-
rolled a 1 for shots and then
Oh,
missed,
okay.
Playcaster is the one that I was
he would
worried
not have gotten the
Yeah.
pestilence or the fallout at all. Or not the fallout, the
What a beast!
mortal wound
The
Well,
spread.
he just,
Splashes
he
achieve
just rolled a
nothing.
1, 2, 3 on the splashes.
there's
Wow.
some,
So,
cultists as well.
unfortunately, that didn't come up
Yeah.
for him.
Cultist, no.
Ah,
Of course
those
they did.
cunts.
Oh, he kills one cultist.
That is
God damn it! Now they gotta take
well
morale.
deserved,
Yeah.
but not.
Cowards.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's really annoying. Could have had at least one in there.
So that kind of puts pay to that. That's really unfortunate.
Okay, entropy cannon then to the
Killing
entropy
one
cannon
cultist
into
does give the
Poxwalkers.
cultists a 1 in 3 chance of
One
failing
hit.
morale.
And if he rolls as many ones
Yeah,
as last time,
One very dead poxwalker.
that's a dead Poxwalker.
Do you want me to roll the
Evaporates.
damage?
Are you trying to?
And then presumably
no.
Stubbers.
The
Stubbers.
Or Sluggers, sorry, I do
Okay.
apologise.
Rolling the 1. 4
Yeah.
hits, 3s, not re-rolling 1s. 2 wounds.
So this is gonna
AP,
be
wounds
so
on the
just a
Poxwalkers,
just a
let's see.
shrug.
no
Another 2
shrugging.
dead.
2 more die.
Losing them fast.
There we go. Now
Oh,
it's
they were minus one,
possible
yeah.
for the plague caster to
Yeah,
finish
it
them
was,
Yeah.
off.
it was, yeah,
Okay.
it was.
Seems likely,
This is great
but
guy.
not necessarily.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It doesn't seem
the-
remotely likely, but it is
I don't
possible.
have anything else to
Yeah,
shoot
the
him.
miasma
I
makes
need
it
to- I need to
extremely
kill all of them.
unlikely. He's only hitting on
Very
4s.
All 4-ups followed
Oh,
by
he's only
4
got 4
twos.
attacks,
These guys
right?
are all gonna
Okay.
die.
I see.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
true.
gets 4
Okay.
attacks.
Right, we'll declare the mortar onto these.
I
plague
see.
bursts,
So when
onto
the
Poxwalkers, rather.
when the slugger
Um,
and the mortar kill. Oh, no, wait,
and
they
then,
can't.
yeah, so the beginning of the
They
miracle
can.
run.
They in theory
And
can.
then
Theory.
On 4s.
the miracle
And they
run.
don't.
Dream's still
Oh no,
alive.
no, he gets a
Real
reroll.
Epidemius and
And they don't.
Synthesis, yeah, sadly.
Dream's dead.
Now he
twos,
can't.
Does wound
Okay.
on 1,
hit 4,
Four
and that's a
rolls.
4 bit
Up
That's
blast. Terminator armor is pretty good.
4s.
Sluggers. And on 3s. 2 wounds, AP -1, so 3s.
And this gives light cover, right? So I guess that would I still get light cover if we're engagement range or no?
I think you do. Yeah, go for it. I mean,
So
If you're asking about
it's
cover,
still a
you do
ranged
get light
attack.
Evil
cover.
2s. And yes,
Yay.
they're absolutely right that they do get light cover.
Alright, so I'll put it on this guy right here. Bleep.
That's 1 wound, a little plink.
Blink!
And then this guy fell back. This guy already shot. This
I
guy
had a
shot.
sister
He doesn't
hit
have a
my
gun.
Scarab
Okay,
Occult Terminator over the head
so
with a
charge
multi-melter
here
in
into
combat
Floodlight
and do a
Spawn.
wound. It was
Go for it.
very
dude.
upsetting.
Give me your.
You should get some nicer siblings.
So yeah, why not?
6.
That's obviously
That's
just a fail.
6 is a fail.
Of course.
Perfect.
Here
Reroll
goes
that.
his last CP to try that again.
Oh!
No!
He's a 7.
And
Wow.
Lurgo was not with him.
No. And that is
There you go. He did it in the wrong order.
not it.
He declared the.
Playcaster gets in, but that's got to be
There.
it. There.
Okay, cool. So then fighting. I guess you get this one, and I'll get this one.
Playcaster.
All hit?
Obviously misses
No,
with those
because of the
three.
miasma.
Oh,
Asthma.
he's only hit on 3s.
One hit, otherwise it would have been
And
all
doesn't
hit.
even
Doesn't
wound.
matter 'cause
Oh
it's
god, and it's all
broken.
falling apart there.
Alright, so
Yeah,
26
that's got to
right
be
here.
insult to
Six
injury right there.
Yeah.
rolling.
Oh dear.
And then on 5s, you're rolling 1s. So pretty solid. I will take. Wow, I will take all of this. Alright, and then this will be on 4-ups.
Oh,
Wait, wait.
ouch.
So you take 7.
That's a heavily wounded Plague Burst Crawler.
That's,
And then
Those sides
I'm not
can
even gonna waste
do
my time
the
fight back here.
work.
So you want to fight back here?
I forgot to see that last time. No, fuck it. You're on. Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna have to touch the point because why not? Alright, cool. So then morale, I owe you a morale on those cultists back there.
Okay, the cultists do
and
pass
2 plus 1
morale,
is
so
3,
they're not
then
going to
that's it,
run.
right? So pass over
Yeah.
to me.
And we come round to
Boots couldn't really
Seal's
catch a break
turn.
that turn.
Engage or anything.
I roll for CP. I don't
Doesn't
get
get
it.
CP.
I control 1, 2, 3, 4
15
points,
easily, yeah.
and then 4 for data intercept. 1, 2.
He's getting a 15 on the primary. He's also getting 4
alright.
points.
And a 4 on
Data
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 intercept.
intercept,
phase. I'm not
exactly.
gonna do anything, so we'll go to the movement
And let's bear in mind that we
phase.
haven't put in the to the last
There's
points
not
yet
much
either.
to do there
So
either. I need to.
He was also he's
This
rodded in
Malignant
2
Bloodcaster,
zones
and I
now, or
just
just
the
one?
No,
one.
just
at
one.
the minute.
White Hauler, I
We are
can't do
likely to
that.
see the
Just gonna
Terminators
move
rod
forward
in this quarter this turn.
7.
Yep, I think that
I'm
is
just literally gonna
a
put
fair assumption.
Yep.
everything into that Demon Prince.
So that Demon Prince
And
is
the
still
firing line is being set up.
Yeah. That is a range.
Keep my options open.
Someone has shouted pull, and a Demon Prince has flown up, and they're getting ready to shoot him down.
And if that somehow fails, there's a Fetid Blow
I
Drone
need
to
to
charge
make
into
sure I
him.
not lose any characters.
And if it
So I
doesn't,
need to keep
boat drone off it
screening.
goes into the Playburst Crawler to tie it up.
So I think these guys are just gonna hold.
Yeah,
this
what's really
one.
unfortunate is he's just. I don't think anything has happened to allow the tally to go up to 6.
These guys
Yep. It fell just short.
Which, yeah, unfortunately, one of the things you really want to do with the army that Minux is playing is one of the reasons it does so well is that
these guys,
the blight drones are great into shooting low toughness MSU units,
Mm-hmm.
and then these guys
which allows you to build that tally really quickly and get up to that 5-6 tally on turn 2 usually.
Yeah,
like this.
that's just not
The
possible
Tallyman
against this
will
list.
do data intercept.
And just into Death Guard. Death Guard into Death Guard is a
Table
slugfest.
Is
maybe
that a
6
pun to
inches
do
away
with
from
Playburst
here.
Crawlers?
Need
Because
to
I do
rod
appreciate it
with
if it
these
is.
green guys.
I mean, only partially.
Excellent. Well played, everyone.
A heavy slugfest.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Okay, so I'll do rod over here.
One thing I would like to note though,
Um,
for next season, a slight change. If you want to like, zoom in on this Malignant Plaguecaster Poxwalker little combination going on over here.
This one over here.
these guys.
Yep.
Want to
Yep.
fall
So
back,
at the way we currently have the rules,
or do I want
these
to stay in
Poxwalkers are gaining light cover from the ruins here.
Yes,
I think I'll
touching the outside.
For next season, unless there's a lip on the exterior, which some of the terrain will have and some of the terrain will not have,
if I fall back,
you will not
what
be
am I
gaining light
trying
cover
to do
unless you are
here?
standing upon the terrain feature
I might
for
be able to
ruins
shoot this as
specifically.
well.
Interesting.
Put 2 entropy into that.
Where the distinction is, the ones with windows have lips on the outside, and the ones without windows like this one don't.
The idea being that you are hiding beneath the lip of a window.
Yeah, we'll fall back.
I'm just
Stay
talking
fine.
theatre
yes,
of the
and
mind
also-
here.
Well, that and
Okay,
specifically
last but not
for
least,
rules
is
interactions,
root
if it didn't
test
have that lip,
routes.
you would not be able
I
to
still
actually
think they
touch
fit
it and
over
see through it
here,
unless you could get your
but this
base
is literally
through like a
where
doorway.
Makes
people
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. I always found it a bit
I just
bizarre
need to
that
get a
my
lucky charge or
I could
something.
put my shield custodies with their backs to the wall, and I always imagined, you know, military style, just backs to the wall, shield in front of them, somehow giving them cover. But it didn't quite chime. But that's an interesting change. See how much that changes the way people play.
I just want to put the champion in the front.
Now this is interesting. Instead of going for Rod in the quarter I predicted, Seal has gone for Rod in his home quarter, probably in the hope that he finishes off that Plague Burst Crawler in combat across these 2 turns. So in his 4th turn, he can use those Death Shroud to Rod in this bottom right corner, while these Death Shroud have walked into this corner and can finish it off on the final turn.
Yep, that seems to be the way. He's playing for the all 4. I was going to say you could see that. I mean, both players have played well. And Seal's still, even though it looks really tough for mini moogs, He's still not,
Yeah, so we'll
being
just go
lapsed, and
with
he's,
the
low on the
miasma on
timer.
him.
He's
Hopefully we get a
still
12
protecting
or
his
a
characters,
7.
making sure they are in the right place,
Miasma
going
on
for
a
the full
10.
points
Do you
plays.
want to deny? Okay, so one more to wound this
Yeah,
guy.
And Moogs is still going, giving it his best shot to take out as much as possible. It's a great play from both of them.
Cool. One more to wound.
Okay, do I think I'll just actually probably just leave -1 on those guys.
So that's
Why not? And then we'll do
He
Peaches.
can't see them.
I don't. Do you need visibility for miasma? Usually blessings don't require vision.
they're talking about miasma now. Whether you need
no,
vision,
just with an 18.
you don't, as far as I'm
Alright,
aware.
Okay,
so
my bad. I've been fucking that up.
How the clock's looking?
Peaches at Vitality.
I will scroll
goes off
over
on
and we
another
can
10,
have a
so-
little look. See.
I'll give it to.
Yeah, the clocks are absolutely
Oh,
working.
they are upside down. That's how they're looking. They are Australian clocks.
Yeah,
No.
I'll give it
But
to
yeah,
you.
we've got 10 minutes left for Seal and 18 minutes left for Mini Mugs.
And then there's another mortal
Plenty
wound
of
on this
time
guy.
to do what needs to be done, I think.
Yeah, I'll just give them. Okay, you've got
All
So
that
okay,
Seal
so
actually
it's
needs to
psychic,
do
so
is to
we'll
take
go
that one
shooting.
wound off that Blight Hauler to make sure
Shooting,
that
we'll start over here.
Seal never,
Easy one.
Moogs never scores any primary
Just
again,
thing into that,
and
so
preferably
26.
deal with that Demon Prince in order to protect his characters. And then he doesn't really matter if
29.
doesn't really mind if he times himself out.
Yep.
And this is gonna auto hit, and it's gonna be on 6s.
Rerolling those ones because of the plague weapon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, one of the things that is
everything
a
for you,
legitimate
3d6 as well.
tactic when you get this low on clock is, ignoring the things that don't matter.
Yep.
This one's much
Absolutely.
better. 12.
These poxwalkers, you don't need to worry about. You don't need to think about them. Foul blights, pummeling, like, you don't really need to think about them.
Fives, you really want.
Just
Yep.
get. They're not going to do anything special. Make sure
Much
they're
better.
safe, and that's fine. Leave them. Don't move
Get in
on.
the box, please.
Yep.
All right, so 3.
So you got
6
that's 3
Sixes,
wounds on
that's two.
these poxwalkers with the plague
Actually-
spurt things.
Yeah. You get 2 6 up, right? Because you can take these guys in light cover. So you can roll
True.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Or you can roll these 2. There's 2 of them you failed.
Yeah.
Okay,
That-
doesn't make a
It's
difference.
fine.
Yep.
It means it's
So-
going to be these guys.
So he loses a couple.
So 2 guys die.
Well,
That's fine.
That's
Okay, so shooting.
slightly cheeky
We
there.
just need to do 1 wound over
Why, what?
here.
Seal reminding Moogs that he can have 6 up cover saves if he allocates the wounds to the models that are at the back, and therefore thereby not increasing the charge range.
This is
You're
true.
Cool with this guy, seeing this guy.
Also, specifically, I think not wiping the squad.
The mortar he's
hold
able
on,
to see
sorry.
over
Well, he was
there.
never going to wipe the
I've
squad,
got the wrong people. I've taken the wrong people off.
Yeah.
because, I shouldn't have bothered taking those saves.
and only did
Okay,
3
that's fine.
wounds.
If you fail them, I don't care, man.
No, but yeah, and
wanted to take care of these guys,
Okay, fine.
Moogs has now thought it through and gone, actually, no, I should be pulling from there. And Seal said, oh yeah, cool, not
Sounds
a
good.
problem.
Cool.
Great, fantastic
Okay,
sportsmanship.
and then this guy is seeing these guys. You can see him
Uh,
with the cannon over the
Here we
barricade.
go.
yep, I'll buy that.
Gonna shoot some cannons into
so
this
then
Mephitic
what we're
Blight
going to
Crawler.
do is,
He does need to get something on the
kill that,
point
but
to
you'll still
hold it,
the
right?
point, Or did you take this after your command phase?
After the command.
It's
phase.
after the
So
command
then
phase, so it never actually sat on it.
Yeah.
Same thing as
Yeah, he
before.
still
Yeah, he
never
still
held that
never
in the command
held
phase.
that point.
Okay. All right. So then, yeah, we definitely need to blast that guy.
That's,
So I will do.
Early consolidation into that drone on there
And
has
then I
proven
will
prophetic.
Yep.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
This is
Very true.
your turn 3.
Everything else over here. Yeah.
And profitable.
Cool. So turn 3, which means it's 6.
It's different
He's not,
type.
so he is.
It's
He
right
is there. He is there. Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not
It
too
would have
big.
made a difference because he's T8.
Oh yeah. So he's
yeah,
still
but
on
it doesn't.
T7.
'cause- Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So both entropies into here, and then everything else. over
Everything
here.
else into the demon
So we'll start with
prince.
both
Entropy.
Both entropies into the Blight
Yours,
Hall. That's an
because you're
interesting
in cover,
choice.
so I miss them both.
Just trying to get him
And
down.
then everything else into the demon prince.
But you don't need the big damage. So you could have done the
okay, that's pretty
oh,
good.
that's 6
These are
shots on the
threes.
mortar.
Yep.
It's even spread. And
He's -1 to
these
hit,
are
isn't he?
going to be on 3s again.
Shouldn't he have been hitting on 4s?
These will be on
I believe
4s,
so.
Or no, these will still be on 5s.
Shouldn't he have been
That
hitting
one,
on
that one, and these are all
on
good. Alright,
4s there? He got a load
so
of 3s.
These are -2. This one's -1.
I mean, those 3s are 3s to wound, but yes.
The previous load.
4s for the blues. Alright, impulse for the blues. You take 3.
Yep. You're heading 4.
Takes a couple.
Oh, I may have.
Sorry, I
messed
Yeah,
that
Moogs has
up.
just pointed it out. That's good.
Yeah.
Best thing.
I would have missed 2 of them. I don't know. You just want to redo the
No,
whole thing?
2 threes to
What
hit.
were you shooting? Sorry, I wasn't actually watching. What were you shooting?
Yeah, 2 threes to hit, but I don't know if they were the mortars or if they were the sluggers. So you just want to reroll everything?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And you had the,
Right.
well, no, just how many of them were there?
You took you took 3 damage. So if you
Alright.
just want to take 1 less damage, I don't know, whatever you want. Man.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay, so you just take 2. All right.
Yeah, roll
Taking
it.
1 less damage, I think, was a perfectly reasonable compromise to keep the game moving.
Absolutely. Particularly when you've
Yep.
got a
I
low
think
clock,
this
you
guy
don't
can
really want to
see
be
this
spending your
one,
time
so
going,
we'll just put
was it
everything
this,
into
was it
here,
that?
and then we'll put the
Yep.
mortars. in this
Considering he
guy.
only has 5 minutes left.
Yep.
Just
So
get
it's
on
gonna
with
be
it.
2 entropies and then 4 sluggers.
Good way
this
to do
time
it.
on 4s.
What happened to the entropies from the front one?
They missed into the Mephitic Blight
Just remember, I
Hall.
missed them. Just
Oh, you
like,
missed them both. Yeah, sorry.
entropies
That,
there.
yeah, sorry, I got a text. So
I'm doing that.
I
Yeah, that's fine. So on 4s, and then this is on 5s. Cool. And then these will be on 4s. Okay, so
The slugger does the
2
work.
wounds.
and then the
Oof.
mortar, d6 of mortars.
6
you-
shots on the
These are
mortar
gonna be on
again.
4s.
When you roll mortars like this, no wonder you take 3.
Not bad. And then these are gonna be on 3s. Reroll
But
ones,
he says before the
rolling
ones to
ones,
wound.
Okay. And then these are gonna
But
be
both do
fives.
wound.
Take 1. Take 1. Do you want to reroll that?
Down to
Down to
1.
one.
Did you entropy?
What's going
No,
to take
those
this
are the
last wound
mortars.
off the
No.
Blight Hauler?
So it's just 1 damage. He had 1 wound left.
Oh, that is apparent.
dear.
So that's all that, and then this last guy is just gonna put everything
into the Death Guard.
into this demon. Prince.
Everything into the Death Guard. Yes, that does sound
Death Guard
plausible.
Demon Prince. I was
So-
just either let me finish my sentence.
So 2 of these,
I moused over it and read Death Guard as the first 2 things.
D6
It's pretty redundant. Yep.
these, D6 of
3
these.
shots with
These
the
are on 5s.
mortar.
Okay.
Hitting on
and
5s
this
because
will
he's
be
bracketed.
threes, rerolling
1
ones,
wound.
Okay, and then this will be an invul. Okay, cool. So he
Does
takes
go
1.
through,
And then yeah, this guy can see his wing.
and it's gonna all come
So
down to
then
the
he'll
Foul
do
Blight
his
spawn.
shots too.
Yeah. There's no reason you would have moved him out.
5 shots with
So
the big
then
spurt.
5,
Threes
and then on
rolling
3s,
ones.
rerolling 1s.
Rolling 1s to hit. Oh, that's not the good conversion. He does need 3s to wound.
Okay, so he
Does
takes
get
1.
1.
Don't have any in.
And
don't
that
have
is
any
it.
Oh,
left,
did-
so-
Oh, he had only 1 left. Okay, cool. And that's.
And I think
all
that's
of
probably all she
that,
wrote.
So then.
Yep. He would have been nice to kill the Plague Caster as well, because
Tally up to full, doesn't really matter.
Moogs now has a chance of actually taking 1 objective for a little while.
This
Yeah.
is going to be the 8 over here.
Yeah. 3 geese in a trench coat. How do you even win
Does
this
not
matchup?
go
Do you
off
mean
on
as
an
the
8.
Moogs list?
Once
Seems
we
tough.
roll that.
Seems really tough. It's a good question.
Yeah, I do.
Some very, very hot rolling dice.
Yeah.
Roll that.
The game.
Yeah, you roll some
What do I need over here? Like a.
better saves for your
Minor
drones
attack.
early on,
Okay,
and
copy
don't
there.
concede an entire flank on turn 1.
Not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's all
Yeah.
of
It is rough.
So
The map's
then
fairly
you
open
get
when
to
you spread
finish
out,
it.
and you've got
Okay.
no
yep.
lost shooting and things, so you're going to be getting shot. It's pretty much
And
about the
then,
saves.
So then,
Um,
well, you get first
Haha, the
activation.
Plague Caster heroically intervenes into the Poxwalkers for another try.
here he comes.
See,
2 misses.
It goes slightly better than last time.
Oh.
And 2 wins.
Very much better.
but ironically, I think one of the ways that you actually win this
You just go
matchup
through.
with
Yeah, you just go through it.
Muggs' list
Okay,
So
sure.
one
is
Save
you
that one.
deploy relatively
Okay, so
that's 2 die.
defensively, and you pray you go second. They push forward, and you can get a
Okay,
counter
and then I'll
punch.
just get
Yeah, or
1d6
when
on
you
the
do
board.
push
I-
out turn 1, you hold back a bit so that they have to come forward a little
Twos.
bit, but can't get that turn 1 charge there
And
was
fives, reroll ones,
massive, right?
ones.
Yeah, no, but absolutely game changing.
Need lots of these. Don't get them.
No, that's still a very, very high risk sort of
Okay,
play.
so then I get to consolidate a pile in.
Oh, Death Guard.
So
Here they
3
come.
inches this way.
Death Shroud, sorry.
I'll stay on the cover. And then that's it for me.
Okay. Do we get?
Finishes his clock with 1 minute 39 seconds remaining at the end of
Okay, I'm gonna spend my CP.
End of the battle round 3.
Disease death points.
And all he
So you
actually
do damage if you're
needs to
confident.
do is turn 4,
So it
Rod
does
with
go
green
on
Death
two
Shroud,
points.
shoot the Plaguecaster. Turn
It
5,
feels bad.
Rod with red Death Shroud. That's it.
I hate
It's
that.
going to
Yeah.
take
so
you
much.
longer than a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
Pants?
I think
I could do that in a minute.
I've heard that your
Yeah, because you just
There
don't.
are many things I
I've
can
heard
do
your
in a
speed
minute.
is legendary, sir.
Because I'm scoring 0 on primary. I don't really see basically how I'm going to get any
We're
points.
looking at a
Yeah.
discussion concede here, I think.
It would just be you could maybe assassinate this guy with the mortar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's roll that, and then I think I'll.
So they're gonna.
Yep,
call it
they're
a
just
day.
going to figure out whether one more disgusting force shot
Presumably
kills
he has to
another
get the
Plague
Tallyman
Caster.
CP first, right?
That was my only CP, so I can't play.
No, as in he'll get CP for the start of the
Doesn't
round.
disgusting forces and is it 1 CP? Is it?
Yeah,
So
It's
I
one
think
CP.
I think your max.
It
yours
is
all
disgusting.
That is
out,
disgusting.
Apart from obviously retrieve.
To be fair, the
Retrieve
Death Guard
I could
book
still do,
is
right?
a little
Yeah,
bit
as in-
short
as
on
in you
particularly
won't
good
you won't
stratagems, and that is
max
one of
it,
the
so
few
I
truly
might
excellent
actually-
ones.
Yep.
I could probably get data intercept for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
So the retrieve would still be a possibility. Again, I just don't have a lot of time left, so that would probably be the biggest constraint. Because, yeah, you would
So
have to
I'm gonna
stop me
just do
from
that.
getting over here. Yeah.
which will stop you getting that, and I don't think you're going to be able to get these boys in there.
No. So then I would probably just
So
get
they're
this one,
talking
so
it
that'd be
out.
8.
3 courses.
Yep.
8 for retrieve.
So
Yep.
And I'll get. So I would have got 1 more point for data intercept this turn. I probably would have got it.
You probably would have gotten 1 for the rest of the game.
Talking out the data
Yes,
intercept.
because I got 3
Not much
turn
on
1. No, I got 2 turn 1.
engage. Tom asks if the primary
there,
scores are
1,
correct.
2, 3. Yeah, so I'll get 15.
The spreadsheet updates very
25,
slowly, but they're basically
I'm not going to assassinate.
the what's showing on here. No, okay, there you go. That's now
Because you'd have to mortar this.
Yeah.
correct
Maybe
as
then
of
you'd be
the end
able
of
to do
battle
it.
round
So
3,
that's
and
gonna be
we're
one
just
day
going into the
mortar
beginning
this
of battle
one,
round
mortar this
4,
and
and they're talking it out.
So actually,
that's
yes,
what
it
kinda
has
getting
been,
tagged
Tom,
over
it
here.
has been kind of
Exactly.
updating. It's just that there was
I
nothing that
think
happened
that
for
is
in Battle
that.
Round 3 for Moogs.
And
Yeah.
then-
I think
Sadly.
well, you're gonna max.
Yeah, primary would get max, and then data intercepts would get max, and to the last would be the other one that you could possibly take care of, maybe killing one of these
I'd have-
players.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, even then,
You'd have to shoot with this over and over again, which means it would just be your mortars without disgusting force, and then you would have to be like flanking with this, so these guys.
And I don't
again,
realistically, you're gonna tag me here, so I'd only get one. I'd only get 1 effort. At
So-
it,
What's now showing on the overlay
yeah,
is
we'll
what
just
they
say
reckon
that
the final scores would be.
Yep.
Interested.
Yeah, 26 and 93,
Well,
which
you're not saying
doesn't
I'm
tell
not-
you quite how close this game was at the
That's
start.
fine.
No,
Yeah,
But
no,
it does
well
tell you
played,
quite how
mate.
quickly it
Yes.
shifted
I'll
in
be
Seal's
honest.
favor.
it's definitely
That's
one
the
of those
intelligence
things
of
where
literally the
the
last
front
mission I
loading
wanted.
of decisions
Oh,
and,
really?
and rolls in 40k
Yeah,
comes into
it's
effect.
spread-
That
it
turn
spreads
1
me too
charge
thin.
and then the first
Because
turn shooting
because
phase
it's
by
a 2-3
Seal
more,
just
yeah, it is
Yeah.
rough.
was so
Like,
impactful
this list
that
I don't like holding 2,
then
3 more.
you know
Yeah.
then it
You
was
like to
really
fight
tough for
when it
Moogs to come
adds
back
4
in and score the
points.
points, whereas
Yeah, and it gives you
know,
a bit more.
if that doesn't go off, he's got a lot more play.
Data intercept is always a.
Wager is sealed.
It's
Oh,
it was a bad choice. I didn't actually do as
God.
bad as it.
God.
I could have done actually. There's
Oh,
no
Rurik,
fucking games
come
in
on.
this game.
killing me, man.
But it's often win more. I find data intercept. Like you never really score. I don't really can't think of a time I've ever scored like 10 on data intercept and lost.
Well, the game has made
Yeah.
most of the predictions.
See,
Oh,
I-
stop
I
it,
Nice.
Cody.
just play their side of the map.
Right, should we get the players on to
Yeah,
and for a little bit post game?
let's get him on and talk. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, fair.
But again, it's
gentlemen.
just like if both lists have it.
Hello,
What's up, man?
can you hear me?
What's up?
Are you guys all right to jump into the chat channel and do some post game with us?
Yeah, sure. What channel do you want?
You're in the same
just
one.
unmute
Just
yourself?
unmute us. We've been talking the whole time, and mute your Discord, your TTS mic, if you would as well.
What do they want us
Sounds
to do?
good. They just want us to unmute ourselves in Discord so they can talk to us for like post game or whatever.
Okay, cool. What's my
I've volumed you up.
unmute? Unmute.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Howdy,
How you
chaps.
doing? Hey.
Phew, bruised.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. We so just kind of instead of how do you feel about that? If you don't mind, I kind of it's sequentially kind of at the start. It sounded to me like you were looking for first turn Moogs and Seal. You wanted second. Is that right?
I to be perfectly honest, I always want first
All
turn.
right. Okay.
Yeah, the list does play second turn fairly well. But I just like being able to deep strike first, being able to like move up and start the engagements on their side of the map. That way they're not like, I don't want to get tagged with, possessed or like demon prince or like those blow drones. I get really worried when they get to move twice and then who knows, they're like tagging your plague burst crawler in the back. So I always like going first, but I don't mind going second. But yeah, I just like shooting first because if I can get, as you saw, I had a really phenomenal turn one. So he had a lot of units out in the open. So if I would have been able to do that, obviously he didn't get much shooting turn one because I was hitting pretty well. But if I'm able to do that before he gets any shooting, then just makes the rest of the game really easy.
And Moogs, I felt like it was very important that you got first turn, and you had to push out, but it was always going to be into the guns, right?
Yeah, and it's vital intelligence. As I was just saying, vital intelligence was was literally the worst, the mission I didn't want to play, because it spreads this army a bit too thin, especially into some good guns. So my plan, and the fact that I lost all, I lost all, 4 out of 5 bloke drones turn one.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Oh, you lost this one. You lost this one. You lost this one.
And then I lost. And this guy was on. This guy was
in the 5 phase. Yeah.
This guy was then reduced to what? That was much a bigger swing, and also in fairness to Seal, well played in terms of the dice went with him, but you managed your shooting well, so. These 2 bloke drones in this corner were killed by the foul blight spawn and the contemptor, which that prevented me from getting an additional point of movement. That was 2 extra tallies, which would have been additional strength over here, which wouldn't have made a difference, but it was additional movement into my turn, which would have been helpful.
We did talk about that falling short, just short of that strength gain, and the movement just not really, just playing around it was always going to be one of the things from the start.
And very well, to be fair, you played around it really well. That was impressively juggled.
Yeah, it's also quite unfortunate for you because I think the list that you've got really doesn't do particularly well into the mirror match, just because DEATHGUARD is such a hard thing to deal with. Because I think your list kind of wants to grind them down, if I'm assuming right.
It does,
and
yeah.
Hunting like MSU, like low toughness units, so you can build your tally really early with those blight drones, with the bloat drones, with your your mortars, etc.
Yeah, and also the mirror match negates stuff like the drones getting up to toughness 8, so that these blight haulers never got the advantage of being toughness 8. They were always at T3 toughness 7, even when the tally had got there. And having lost so much turn 1.
Yeah, so like 500, 600 points.
Yeah, and it limits you across the map as well with the units. Suddenly your thing's engaging in that.
Yeah. Whereas if I was more expecting probably two of those bloke drones to survive. I had cover here, dense cover here. He was hidden. Short. This guy was hidden from some of these guys, not everybody. And then this guy then took a shed load of damage as well. He got and then assaulted to be killed. So I was thinking that I'd have a couple, and then I would have had sort of the idea is that you have some forward elements. You push the possessed and the demon prince forward, and then you take the board like that. And in that situation, I would have had these back ejectors held. Yeah, you could have deep structured them, but then those guys wouldn't really have done
That was
anything.
one of the things I was
Deep striking rod.
I was going to bring up and ask is I know Seal likes to have these deep striking threats that can rod and be tough to kill there and force you to look at your backline and stuff. Did you feel kind of that pressure because you have units that want to get forward into the opposing army and you got a couple of PBCs and Poxwalkers that you can hang around at the back, but you don't really want people standing around on objectives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I could screen a quarter.
Yeah.
Like I said, vital intelligence. And you can't have an army that doesn't play a map well. But into the mirror, and especially with the fact that the plague skull disparity with you having it on the demon prince meant that you get Which I mean, the list has performed way better than I actually expected it to, because I kind of threw it together as I kind of threw it together as this will be quite a funny demon list, and I didn't really. I was like, it doesn't do while we stand or to the last, etc. It's got really no considerations for that because it's the demon prince, the possessed, and a plague burst. But it's done much better than I thought. Whereas now I've actually got to the points where it's like, I've got to. There is some fine tuning that I could do to it.
It's not the Mephitics. The Mephitics are what? 240?
280 for 140 each.
Yeah, so then wouldn't that be one or two to the last?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, correct. Sorry. Yeah.
And then the possessed are what? 200?
216. And then the demon prince is at 185.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, if I was making the list like hardcore, thinking about competitive angles, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably do maybe MSU, maybe 2 squads of 5 possessed.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's like I haven't played a list like this. It was also quite, I've been using Alpha as to play different types of lists. So I did the WTC with a Morty list, which went quite well, and then did the last Alpha with a Plague Marine heavy 3 squads of 7 men, sort of fluffy, but decently built. But yeah, with Volker.
The thing with the possessed as well, right, is you don't have the best delivery mechanism apart from running forward. You need to have that first wave of drones to soak up the fire and potentially clear screens if they can get there. And if those evaporate too quickly, then suddenly you're possessed or standing out in the open.
Yeah, and if you saw the game against Dark Angels, the Shintil in the last game, actually often the possessed are sort of a distraction kind of fix, because they put pressure on and they give my backline and the shooting, which for the drones it actually becomes quite good. And with the Mephistic Blighthaulers and the Playburst, they're actually very consistent by turn 3. If you put enough pressure with the drones and with the possessed in turns 1 and 2, by turn 3 my shooting's very efficient because a lot of it's rerolling ones to hit and rerolling ones to wound.
Yeah.
But into the mirror, my shooting just wasn't efficient enough, and you had much better shooting than me.
And there's also a lot of dents, it has to be said, which I don't mind on maps, to be perfectly honest, but you're quite often hitting on 4s rerolling ones even, which is worse than the 3s.
Yeah, exactly. You were able to car park your guys in dents back here, which
literally moved
well played.
15 inches the whole game.
There was a scary moment turn 1, I'm sure, for you, Seal, where that Plagueburst Scroller semi-evaporated.
That was rough, dude.
That was a very good. We saw that, and because it is one of these tough decisions. They're very hard to kill, but they're worth so many points, and they're a lot of shooting. So how do I target them? Do I not? And you kind of have to think, if I do go for it, it might not be average. But you did that, and we were like, oh, right, okay, this is on.
Yeah. Then But then I did dump 3 CP on that to get essentially to get 6 wounds on it. Was Disgusting Force rerolled, which fortunately I rerolled the 1 to a 6. And the extra range.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is an absolutely fair point.
And then the I think the 2 missile launchers then did nothing to it.
Yeah, and then you got 1 damage to the other thing for sure.
yeah, and
Yes.
that was lucky to plink it off, to plink that extra wound off.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I failed.
You failed
every
so many charges. Yeah, dude, it was.
I think I failed every single charge apart from the Plaguecaster
Yeah,
into here.
and some of them were
Nightmare.
low. That was very unfortunate, and even with the rerolls, and you got you as you say, you invested your CP early on, and then suddenly you're having to reroll a charge at turn.
Yeah.
That was very unfortunate. And on the other side,
And having to reroll the perils.
on the other side, you've got, and I know this because it happened to me. You've got 6 mortar shots and the oh baby. I don't know if stream could hear that over us talking, but that's a terrifying sound when you're playing against Seal. That means something bad's about to happen.
It did, and it came up a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, dice were definitely hot.
Yeah. Did it go as you kind of anticipated, Seal? I've got a couple of questions from the chat. And thank you very much, Crusader Refan, for the follow. Hope you enjoyed the game. But just before we do that, Seal, from your perspective, it kind of go how you expected, the game plan secondary wise. Obviously, it was hot rolling, but
Yeah, I always like taking to the last because it puts them in that same exact position you're always talking about, right? No one really wants to shoot into Plague Burst Crawlers, and if they're dedicating fire to Plague Burst Crawlers, then that means, I get freedom with like the float drones and all that other stuff, so that's always really nice. Oculus Data, I kind of messed that one up, because I forgot that I took Data Intercept, so I wasn't going to be able to do like Rod here first and then Rod over here the next time. So that was definitely a blunder on my part, but I didn't get punished too hard on that. And then the last one, Data Intercept, I sort of agree with what Muggs was saying earlier. It is kind of a win more, but I think with the fact that I have so much OBSEC, and I have the 2 groups of cultists, I think it's way easier for me to like solidly get 10 out of that. I figured I would do better on primary because I just have so much OBSEC, and he mentioned it too. Like I have more bodies, so I don't even really need OBSEC, right? I just get 2 of anything on a point, and then I'm probably gonna steal it. These Poxwalkers, I was worried that they weren't gonna be able to do anything. I got pretty lucky on that 9-inch charge. 9-inch charge, I think with rerolls on average is like 50%. So that's like so that's kind of lucky there, because that was a huge point swing. I pretty much killed all these guys, and I stole this point, not getting in primary.
Yeah, that was massive. That was really good play with the bloat drone turn one as well, though, to deny that. That objective in the bottom right, the way we're looking at it, never was controlled by Moogs. That whole game.
Yeah.
Which is.
Yeah, no, that was a good steal. And then actually that and then me not killing that bloat drone in response.
But I think it's always going to take 2 turns, right, to kill that bloat drone? Oh, you're talking about with the smites. The smite's super lucky on that one.
Yeah, I mean, rolling. Yeah, that rolling two ones for the smites and then manifesting and then failing to manifest the other power on a reroll.
No, that's for sure. Again,
and then failed, but 2 charges failed, but 1 charge on him on a 6. Maybe in hindsight, maybe I should have got him up. Like I should have retreated with it. I should have retreated with my bloat drone, cheated the extra couple of inches from the consolidation and pile in, and then I would have been able to potentially shoot this guy instead. And I would have had a bloat drone hidden behind here. Which in hindsight, that was probably one of my errors. I think there were a couple, but I think that was one of them.
Hindsight is 20/20, as they say.
They do indeed. These Poxwalkers made a lot of 6-ups as well, which
the green,
they do.
The green ones, there is a lot of 6-ups everywhere.
Seal.
Go ahead.
So you'll be going up against either Glynacere's Admech or Citridate's Custodians in the next round. How do you feel about those potential matchups?
I'm probably just going to fold to Admech, but Custodes, I think I have a winning chance.
So the thing there is it's a dread list as opposed to a damage 2 list like mine was. So how does that change?
It's fine, but it's just 3 dreads, right? Again, it's going to be like it's just going to be very spiky. If I can get some really lucky like entropy cannons, it also depends like if it's a map here where it's like more spread out, because that's one thing that custodes are going to always struggle with. If it's a 5-point map, then that will be a lot harder. But if I get a 6-point map where I can play like more cagey and get a lot of shooting off before like I have to start committing, gonna have to take advantage of a lot of smites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Plague Skull, I'm gonna have to take advantage of that too. I just feel like I have a fighting chance against Custodes. I haven't played against much Custodes. I think I've only played Custodes like 3 or 4 times throughout all my alpha
You're
leagues.
welcome.
But yeah, exactly. You are one of them. But yeah, I think I have a chance there. I have played some games against AdMech, and I haven't really seen the other guy's AdMech list, but I played a game, and it was sort of like Moogs. I was down like 500, 600 points round 1, and yeah,
It's a lot
there's
of
not
firepower
much you
that can
can do.
come out. A lot of it's damage 1
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
hitting you on invols. It really is a problem.
And the
Yeah.
stuff that isn't damage 1 is like damage 6.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say really quickly, one sec. Just if anyone does have a question in chat for either of the players, do chuck it in there. I think there's a bit of a time delay, but do put it in. And I'm sure they'd love to answer it. Sorry, keep going, Minnie.
Yeah.
You were saying.
No, I agree with you. Like, I haven't actually looked at the AdMech list. Well, I have, but I can't remember it that well. If memory serves, it's got quite a lot of infiltrators.
Yes,
And
a lot of
the
infiltrators, a lot of
rust
rust
stalkers.
Yeah.
So I think you match up. I've got to go faster winning the tournament. The other AdMech list who's still in it. But I reckon I reckon you've got play into that AdMech list, and I would back you against the against Custards. I think Custards is a really good matchup for DEATHGUARD.
Yeah,
You're putting them on their invuln quite a lot. Things like I think he's got a Caladius tank, which aren't great into DEATHGUARD.
Yep, they're terrible. If you're going for the damage 2, which you can be, they're terrible.
And the Venatari, the Hawkmen, are like basically useless against.
I think
they're not, but they're for a 300 point. They don't get anywhere near the damage they do against other people.
He might even have 2 Caladiuses in that list.
He
does.
2 Caladi, 2
Glyn, yeah. The threat is the dreads, right? The Galatai are tanky, and the Achilles is the best one. D3 plus 3 damage is nothing to be sniffed at. For sure. But as a Custodian's main player, I can say that yes, it's a horrible matchup. I never want to see it ever. But dreads are what I want if I am going into that. So that'll be that should be a great game.
Yeah, because if definitely we get a map like this, like there's so few units like Screen Deep Strike and stuff like that, and I can just play passive on my side. If like one Dreadnought comes up, I feel like I could easily blow it up with some smites and then the skulls and then just shooting. So I think I just need the time to like whittle it down before I got Dreadnoughts, beating me in melee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Countering them with a mutant strain blob
exactly.
is going to be a great time as well.
That's horrible. I don't know if you remember our game seal as well. Sorry to keep harking back, but it is relevant. My Alaris bomb of like 400 points went into your Demon Prince and didn't even kill him. Not even close.
Yeah.
That
was a good game. I like that game.
If I could ask one of my question, do you guys have like a favorite moment from the game? Just out of interest. A thing that you remember. There was a good one for you, Moogs. That's my favorite moment from the game. But I'm not gonna. I'll let you go first if you want.
I have some painful memories which I'll weep myself. But getting the 6 damage at turn 1 on that Plagueburst Crawler was quite a good time. Putting the single Plagueburst Crawler into the Contemptor and one-shotting it. That was a good time.
Yeah, that for me, that was impressive. And then suddenly you've got a Tallyman who's nice and safe next to a Dreadnought, and he's just about to potentially die. That was
That made me
alright.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get to them, but yeah, the one-shotting the Contemptor was probably my champagne moment.
That's a good way of putting it. I love that. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah.
Seal, what was your champagne moment?
So again, it's gonna be literally what Muggs mentioned, like pretty much just getting that really lucky turn 1 and finishing off both of those drones with non-demon. Like that was like I think I mentioned it. I was like, that was the chef's kiss. That one was definitely very nice. I think that makes a huge difference. Like movement, toughness, strength, all that other stuff. So
no, absolutely.
Delays that.
We've got a question about upcoming games.
The next Alpha League stream should be Sunday.
Yes.
I don't know whether we'll have a show match or a quarterfinals or potentially even a semifinals game by that point. It kind of depends on the players and their availability.
Yeah, this is our first time doing the EU time slot stream. And we'll be doing this every Thursday from now. Because seeing as we're at the end of Alpha League, it's not something discussed. I don't know. I might see if there's EU people who might want to play at some point over the weekend that I could cast. I can't promise anything, and I'm mentioning this, and Orien's here, and I've not said anything to him before. Sorry, but just if people want to see high level, top level Alpha League play, this is the time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And another interesting little tidbit about this weekend, we will be opening the sign-ups for season 9.
Yeah.
Oh, babe.
Oh
Drum roll.
yes. Do not tech into the meta. That's my advice. Play what you want to play.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. That's what Alpha League's great for.
Yeah. Yeah, and play,
But
some,
if you-
play something fun, because I mean, like, I'm now going to run this in real life tournaments because it's done better than I expected. But I never would have played a list like this. I've went and bought all the models because I played it in alpha, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do it otherwise. And that's actually a really cool list.
Yeah.
Or fun
Yeah,
one to play.
And
I
don't
played.
Rocket Jock squig buggies, or I will slap you.
Yeah, the only problem I think that you're gonna have with this list, if you bring this same list to Alpha Season 9, the proliferation of mortal wounds has gone up significantly.
Oh,
Yeah.
T-Suns are going to
Yep.
completely change the meta.
I'm bringing
Yeah.
T-Suns.
Because you're I mean, they were annoyingly, not that I'm chasing, but like they were my planned second army anyway, because I already have a couple of thousand points to them.
Yeah, well,
but-
they've been an army that I've been planning to build and paint for quite a while, and now that this new book is actually quite interesting to play and requires a lot of I don't want to seem. Well, it requires a lot of brain power I don't really have.
Fair.
I play White Scars, Knights, and Death Guard, so Thousand Suns is a slightly higher level than that.
Yeah, fair play. Thousand Suns, they have so much. It's going to be interesting to see, and they will shake up the meta because it's the big psychic army coming out, right? And that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things that don't do well into Mortal Wounds are going to really struggle.
And it's going to
Death
bring back
Guard.
screening.
Yes.
Like you're going to have to play against Thousand Suns in a way that you don't actually really play into anity else, because you're going to have to heavily screen.
Heavily screen for both Mortal Wounds and for redeploys.
Yeah.
Cult of the Blister.
Yep, I think potentially Space Marines might see a comeback with lots of infiltrators and incursors and fast moving melee. Because I've noticed fast moving melee does quite well into Thousand Suns.
Yeah, they don't hit back hard, but then you get smoked.
Yeah, but if you're already dead, you don't smite.
That is
Smoked?
true.
Smitten?
Yeah.
They fall in love with the
Smith.
people hacking them to pieces. It's very masochistic.
Yes, it was.
But
It's
also,
a very
I
bizarre
think-
exchange. We didn't
quite-
expect it, but
quite possibly Space Wolves, because Space Wolves still have a stratagem. Basically, they have their own version of Vengeance for
Oh my
Prospero.
god, are we
Yeah.
going to see the Space Wolf Reavers? What are they called?
Oh, the Hounds of Mordecai or whatever.
Mordecai.
Hounds of Mordecai. Yeah, they could well
so
be well worth
thematic.
it.
That sounds cool. Because spoilers, you do not want to take one Psyker into T-Suns. I think I said it earlier in the stream. It is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to lose 15 points on primary or secondaries.
Which really affects list buildings. Like T-Suns are gonna they're gonna really affect a lot of things in the meta, I think, or a lot of things in play rather, because I think they're a completely different kettle of
Yeah,
fish.
fantastic.
I think Sisters are gonna be more popular. I think Space Wolves will be one of the primary. I mean, these are just my hot takes. Primary Space Marine armor we're gonna see. Potentially White Scars as well, because I think White Scars kind of do the same thing as Space Wolves do, so you don't just get the free stratagem for and ignore everything.
Yeah.
White Scars will also stay good because the D2 will be useful still into
absolutely.
into everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although interestingly, the way that the Unwavering Phalanx is worded,
It will work against them. Yeah.
it will.
Which is good. Thank you for clearing that up prematurely, GW. I appreciate not having to wait a month for that to be FAQ'd.
True.
They already released the FAQ?
No. As in, it's worded correctly in the first place. Therefore, we don't
Yeah.
need one. Which
Oh,
is
okay.
nice.
Yes. Well done for getting your rules right first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those two armies I think are going to see a lot of play. So yeah, Sisters, Space, and SM specifically like Space Wolves, White Scars. Potentially like Raven Wing shenanigans. I haven't really done like the brain math onto how well they do into Thousand Suns.
Oh, what you mean with Watchers in the Dark?
Yeah.
Yep. Good thought. Very good
They're
thought.
also, they're also maybe quick enough to stay outside of 18 inches
Yeah.
whilst being in effective range.
Yep, absolutely. You might see Eldari shenanigans coming back.
Well, Eldar have been showing up on some tables. I've been reading some Goonhammer things of tournaments. They've been showing up sometimes souped with Chikari or what have you, and then you have the Eldar no loss shooting, Dark Reapers, things like that.
Cheeky links in on occasions.
Yeah, exactly. Just chuck a links in, 1 CP, put it up, comes down, gets some shots off. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm tipping Orcs for season 9. I think we'll see some.
Yeah, well, Squig Buggies are a problem.
Yeah,
Squig Buggies are a problem, and I'm choosing to ignore that problem.
Yep.
Kill rigs are pretty good
yeah.
too.
Yeah, kill rigs look great. Orcs were my childhood army, so hence playing Death Guard now is a wonderfully different feeling where I just grew up taking all my models off the table consistently, and now like my shit survives. It's very different. But yeah, new Orcs look great.
The whole way.
I have.
You're a simple man. You see a green thing, you buy the green thing.
Death Guard, there's a little bit of a meta aspect to it in terms of a meta decision. As in, I'm rubbish at painting, and painting Nurgle is quite forgiving because it doesn't matter if it looks disgusting or if the colours all bleed into each other. So that's okay.
Cunning.
I'm never going to take anything that requires clean lines.
A lot of metallic trim, though.
There is, but like,
you cheat and use. You cheat and use contrast paints, and it looks okay.
Right, I'm gonna say thanks for following Farus and Jake's Defense. I hope everyone's enjoyed the game. If there's any kind of closing things to say, are we Oirien, what do you reckon? Let's
Nope. Apart from we're opening signups this weekend it will be determined. Well, it has been determined, but has not been announced. So that will be happening this weekend, which means that the start of Season 9 will be 2 weeks after this
I
weekend.
believe we're changing the format, are we?
The format is changing. It's going to be a 160-player tournament rather up from the 140. Pods will be completely randomized, and only the top player per pod will be going through.
Wow. There we go.
Exciting stuff.
A few little terrain rules, but those have been discussed already. And we also have a completely new map pack for Season 9.
Yeah, going to be very exciting, that. Bit of a change from the ones we've been using for a couple of seasons, which have been great. But yeah, that'll be very exciting. Cool. All right then. Well,
just a reminder to be asking in advance all of the rules questions you can spot about new Orcs, T-Suns, Grey Knights, Book of Fire.
Yeah, can we ban Book of Fire and Orcs?
are
That's up to
Zangor
you.
Enlightened
Yes,
Bray?
please.
They don't have the Bray keyword.
There must be some other kind of goats that ride on discs then. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, cool. Well, if that's all right, can I say thank you very much, Mimigs and Seal, for a fantastic game, and for chatting to us afterwards.
Welcome.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Seal. Well played. Best of luck for the rest of it. Yeah,
Thanks,
good
sir.
game.
I'll make sure to represent us.
Yeah, exactly. Death Guard's into the semi-finals. We
All
both
the
win.
way, so that the man that knocked me out wins. I'm happy with that. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, we've got a consensus on that here. So yeah, for sure.
You'll have to pull for the Custos guy.
That also doesn't go against my beliefs. I'm happy. Let's do it.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm happy to pull against Admech. So
excellent.
You know,
We're all in. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, as I say, and thank you, Oirien and Pants, for casting, and Pants for doing rules things, and Oirien helping me get the stream set up eventually, which is entirely my fault. And thank you, everyone, for watching and getting involved. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hope to see you back for more streams in the future. Watch the stream announcements, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
See you later.
All right.